good. That's also one of the reasons why they're here today, and they weren't there yesterday. Yeah. So, excited to see these guys compete here and how well they're able to fare today.
Definitely. And of course, we'll look back at what happened yesterday, as of course we have Vertus Pro already making their way through into that final, but we can have a little bit of a glimpse as to what they thought about yesterday as well as the tournament as a whole.
One thing I wish I could have told myself when I was starting the game, probably push your guts more. Coming in as a more insecure person in general and like doubting yourself a lot, be hard to put your own thoughts ahead of others if you're having a disagreement or you're discussing something. It's easy to just be with the other people, even though you actually think you might have a better point or a better view. And it's something I wish that I probably worked on a bit more. It's only been like in the years I've been better at it, but just trust myself more. And I think it could have probably benefited me a lot in the first couple of years playing.
Good old Beamy from Vertus Pro, making constant star-studded performances on PGSs, and of course yesterday being able to make it work despite being a slow start. I think it's fair to say Avenger yesterday, but then they really ramped it back up very, very quickly.
Yeah, 3 points in 2 games is obviously definitely a slow start here, but those guys were able to pump it up, and obviously glad to hear from Ibiza yesterday. They learned some stuff from PGS. They had one effectively playing day in 13 days, and then they went on and won PGS3, the most important one, which is obviously massive for them. So yeah, glad to hear him, and I think that's the biggest thing you should say to Beam is, you should trust yourself more and just know that you're one of the top 5 players in the world, I would say, even now.
And 2 teams from yesterday that were looking pretty good, pretty spicy, and almost qualifying on through, but not being able to make it just barely at the very end. BONITO and Ascend, as they looked to try and approach the game in very different playstyles, I want to say. Blank, you pointed out very clearly that, BONITO, they started off much quieter than usual, and then after game 1, they were like, you know what? No more of that. No more of that rubbish. Let's go. Balls to the wall.
Yeah, they're playing kind of peekaboo, right? Honestly, with the games, it was like peek, and then boo game 2, and then game 3 peek, and then they were just hiding and then going hard, and then hiding again. It was weird. I don't think they quite figured out what they wanted to play or how they wanted to play it. And it is funny because the games where they were a little bit more successful was where they had that aggression in the early game they're quite used to, but they were getting those placement points in the games where they played it a little bit more calm. We do have our rivals on screen, Keta, Mr. Ketchup himself versus Slaven. I'm slavering all over Ketchup, me.
Okay.
But good about that from BONITO. I think they're a good team. I don't think this team's found their identity yet, though. I think that's their biggest problem.
Okay. Keta on the other side. I can't believe Avenger has let that slip. He's basically Ketchup. It has taken away some of the mystique. Avenger, just a little bit, but he's still good at the game, so that's fine. That's acceptable.
I mean, everyone knows that. All Danes know that Keta is slang for ketchup.
All 50 of them.
All 55 of us knows. Yeah. So, but I'll say
knowledge.
I'll say this though, as you guys ramble on a little bit. I'll say this though. I have big expectations to Ascend today. I have really big expectations to Keta. I think he might end up in a 10+ kills today. What do you think about that, guys?
Yeah, I could see it. I think that Okay, let me follow that up with you for a question then.
Sure.
For Ascend, do you feel like they've found their footing truly as this 4-man yet? And do you think that they should be able to donk on a lobby like this? Where are you at?
I don't think they've found their footing at all. I think it takes an extreme amount of time to build a team and build a synergy. And that's why we see a team like Twisted Minds that have succeeded for so long, because they just have an insane synergy. PUBG is a game of communication, and the less you need to say, the more information, crucial information you're able to share, right? And this team, you've heard their comps. There is a lot of information that's going through and on during, so I think that doesn't leave a lot of space for more crucial
information. Get out of here, Twisted Minds. Get out of here. Go away.
Yeah, put him away.
You've done your cool. Get out of there.
You're not playing today.
No. When you kind of compare that idea, of course, it's always difficult to go up against Twisted Minds. But for Ascend, they really need to be able to do it today. I would be surprised if Ascend doesn't get top 5 in a lobby like this. They should do. And also, another team that we really haven't spoken that much about, but kind of should be, is still Construction Workers, who have a star-studded lineup up themselves blank and did not hit home runs yesterday when they should have been doing it. Admittedly, some of those games didn't quite go their way, right? Like, even the first game where they crash into the middle of all of those other teams on the western hillside, but beyond all of that, are you still laughing at Pixlix picture? Is
Yeah,
that
no, I think it's too good, man.
It's good.
They committed all the way that it's also his player picture. I think that's fantastic. He's
awesome.
such a great guy.
But they should be qualified today, surely, in theory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that in the cups as well, they were massive space takers a lot of the time, and they could get away with that a lot, where they could have a huge amount of options available to themselves, and each player is individually very good. And I think they're because of that, we're able to hold a lot of positions versus some of these cup teams. I don't think they're able to do that as much here, and so they're trying to figure out how they're going to work and expand with less space to work with, I think. But today, Avenger, I think they'll do better because there is less of these top teams in.
I think that's an astute observation, Blank, and I think you're right. I would be surprised if these guys don't. Obviously, now that Gustav has announced Falcons, and it's kind of obvious that that's a big pickup. It's a big change, and they obviously went through yesterday, so good.
PUBG gleda 1200 ljudi official ovaj stream.
Dobro.
It's a big change for
I viš sad
kako
imaš
to
ko
vidiš?
streamer Hibako, idi na ovo broj ljudi kao što gleda.
O, vidi ovo.
I uračunaj tu još Pokamolodi ako i nije još promijenio onu...
Pa imaće Hibako i Pokamolo i...
Ne, sad Pokamolo igra, ja mislim. Jel ne, on gleda, ne igra. Znači, on će ima druže, sad ima 700 ljudi, nije game ni krenuo.
Ja još gledam, imate kako možda im bilo jasno.
I Nidexov isto, njega su isto dali.
A ja mislim da to svako se doda tu ko doda. Sam dodaje.
Mislim da ne možeš sam. Morate on dodat.
Ma sve da, ali okej, sad je
Zahtjev
jasno.
pa te acceptaj.
Sad je jasno. Ne, meni jučer bilo sumnjivo, mislio sam da botuju, ali ne botuju, nego ovo radi, što je okej. Mislim, ovo ti samo pokazuje koliko ukupno gleda PUBG na svim kanalima. Da, ovo mi je okej. Ali opet je ono, to isključivo rade da bi rekli okej, prešli smo na TPP i dalje imamo brojke, a nemaju brojke. Jer ovo da su radili dok je FPP bio, bilo bi mnogo više. Znaš, jer oni sad ovo urade kao spoje sve streamere i njihov kanal, ne bi li pokazali, rekli, kao znaš.
Ali imaju brojke druže koje su prije imali na FPP-u na svom main kanalu.
To ti pričam, znaš. A oni će sad to da predstave iz fazona, kao znaš. Vidite da se nije ništa promijenilo. Ono ne da nije, nego izgubili sve. Šta misliš, može se složiti neki okej pizza iljad? Pa može. Može. Uzmeš i7, ne i7, kako zove. Kako zove moj procesor? Ovaj Ryzen, kako zove?
7800.
7800 X3D, on je oko 400
On ti je
eura.
sam 1000 eura.
Kako, brate? To je stari, nije novi. 9800 je novi. Nije, 7800 ti je oko 350 eura.
Dobro, okej. Na mene.
Ja. Onda možeš uzmeš 7800.
Ali nije, evo ga, 934 marki.
Koliko je 934? To je 450 eura.
500 eura, 450 eura.
Ja. Dobro, kako je, ali recimo 350, 450 uzmeš procesor, uzmeš 3070 Ti za 500 eura, 600, i to ti je 900 i uzmeš nek... Zapravo to ti prolazi preko.
Gdje ćeš RAM? Sad to razmišljam.
Gdje si Dino?
RAM je sad 500 eura.
Igraju se kvalifikacije za evropsko prvenstvo, imamo Jogu Bonito, a sutra imamo Redline.
Imamo i Vazu i Najlup, oni igraju po pojedinačno.
I dodaš još i Vazu i Najlup, da. I dodaš još nemam pojma. Kako smislim nešto bolje. Možda može 3060 grafu, ona ti je 300 eura. Ovo što ja imam. I evo te, ja kad sjetio sad to plati 1200.
Tad je bila nova.
I uzmeš matičnu oko 150 i RAM 200. Eto, to ti tu oko 1000 eura. Pozdrav, ostaje se like i neću TPP da gledam. Hvala Drume na like, živ bio. Ja sam još na Ryzen 5, ali novi generacije. Pa može, nam pojma. Ma ja gledam da mu stavim baš dobar procesor.
Procesor je za PUBG baš dobar.
Jer ako, mislim ne znaš, ono, na mom je streamu pretpostavljam da igra PUBG, tako da procesor uzmeš jak pa za grafu se snađeš. Napajanje, hlađenje, kućište, SSD. Da, malo je jebeno.
A je, baš ga sastav za 1000 eura da bude i možeš uzeti ovakav ako što je moj. Realno nešto tako. Možda malo je. Starkuru možeš uzeti jače od mog sigurno.
Gledajte vazu slike, da vidite u vazu.
Ovo je 250 eura.
Znate gdje je tu i matiča? Pa ja sam uzeo matiču za 150 ako se ne varam za taj proces. Nešto me jeftino izašlo. Napajanje sam platio, skoro sam uzimao napajanje. Ne znam koliko sam platio napajanje, iskreno. Ali igra Luka, Lux i Nixi. Luka i Nixi su igrali juče i prošli. Juče nam igrala i Yoga, ispali su za jedan bod, danas idu u drugu šansu. Yoga generalno ako i danas kojim slučajem ne prođem opet šansu sutra i sutra nam se priključuje Redline, ono. Ali ja znam da će Yoga prođe danas, ono. Juče su bili baš, mislim ono, ajde da kažemo unlucky, ali sami su srali. A malo su bili unlucky jer lik imao tenka, ono, vozio se BR Diamond 20 minuta sam, nije umro.
Znate, kupio sam sve dioptrijske cvike, prvi put u životu ih nosim. Ne mogu se naviknuti, ne, dite.
Sad nisi da sam nosio nečara?
Ne, nisam. Juče sam saznao bukvalno da trebam početi nositi i dioptriju, sve su nosaču kupio odmah.
Ja sam pre godinu ispod dao za 2000, dao 2507 mjesto, 470 i super. Da, je, to je baš. Je, to je 1000 eura je samo grafik. Ako nije.
300 FPS-a u PUBG-u, šta hoćeš?
Koliko košta 470 i super, je li oko 1000,5, jel? 1000 i I pa on može da uzme neki jeftin SSD, može da uzme... Htio sam reći jeftin RAM, više to ne postoji.
1180 eura.
1180 eura. Danas smo sinoć došao noći uzmeni. Ali on htio 5070 ili 470, nisi siguran. Ali bilo je nešto oko $1000 na Amazonu.
Što znači da mijenja ono 270?
Ja kad sam uzimao sad više me ramovi izašli nego što jeste, brate, ramovi nagađeno skupo.
A jebi ga, hoćemo mi koristiti.
Ja sam onaj... Meni je Grom spržio gaming PC. Ispržio mi je sve osim RAM pločica. Ja sam zamijenio sve osim RAM pločice. Sad imam tamo viška RAM pločice koje sam htio da prodam. Bio si fazona i prodam ih za 150 evra, ono, naš, nove su, jebi ga. Preživjele su, ali mi više ne odgovaraju sistemu jer sam mijenjao matični procesor i sve. I kad je krenuo RAM da skače, samo sam bio iz fazona, ostavi to tu, nikad ne znaš kaj si ti crknu.
Lik fazona, ono, druže, stavio ih na ono postolje i stavio na lasere okolo, da. Da mu neko da ukrade.
Huge respect for the team, and I actually think that they're extremely good. The problem is then they went on to do like 11th place in week 4. They had like 8 points, I think.
Danas su nam Yoga, znači Nodi kristalne slaveni,
and the two of the finals they were, you know, 8 points and 18 points. Now we're talking That should be a 40-point easy lineup for them.
Također Najlup
Team
piće
easy.
nije, oni su baš loše igrali, ne znam zašto. A mislim zašto. Najlupova ekipa je dominirala sa Gustavom, Gustav je otišao u Falconse i ja sam ih jučer prvi put gledao otkad je Gustav otišao u Falconse. I ono, mislim, ne znam njihov pov, ali nije dobro bilo. Nadam se će danas bolje da odigraju, iskreno. Ne znam koji im je sad IGL, a prejebeno je to kad... Bilo kog igrača je prejebeno kad zamijeniš. Ali kad zamijeniš IGL-a, to je ono, nova dimenzija.
Ja sam ništa vidio da su odgali jedne skrine.
Koga mijenio Falcons ima H-Wina. H-Win je dobio shoot card nakon ovih PGS.
Za Copenhagen Wolves.
Because there were a few teams at the top, JOGA BONITO, who took this very aggressive approach, which I quite liked because it qualified them. And I think that other teams could have taken that approach as well. But you have Team Nemesis construction workers sucking up all the points, so it was very hard to qualify because those gaps became super tight between getting into day 1, day 2, day 3 because it was such tiny point differences. For you, on the other hand, I think they could have taken a leaf out of JOGA BONITO's book, and there was moments where I was like, you're such a good team, guys. You can win that crash. You could win that Hail Mary. There were so many moments, and again, we have the bird's eye view, right? We see all the map. But there's times where I'm like, I think they could have just crashed it and they could have taken more risks. And I think that's one thing that Yo did not do. And I'm hoping today, with top 5 on the line, they do take some risks and they do, like you say, rule the lobby a little bit.
Za koga pričamo, mogu skontam? Za Jogu ili za nekoga drugog?
Again, just getting a single confirmation that we are just basically waiting for one more player to be able to get into this lobby.
Call him out.
Ja se ne slažem s ovim. Ako je pričao za Jimsove ekipu. Znači razlika između Jimsove ekipe i Joge Bonite 3 svjetlosne godine u karakteru igrača. Ono što Joga možda uradi, možda niko da uradi ovih trenutka. Mislim, danas u ovom lobiju. Ovi što su mogli su prošli jučer.
In theory, teams like Vitality should be able to soak up a lot of points. And Ascend should be able to do quite a bit. I think some of the Turkish teams should be able to do something like that in this lobby here as well, Martin. But
koliko počinje game, pojma nemam.
Can we talk about put on like 1 or 2 teams that you guys think is in the top 5 here? For me, I think a team like Yo, they have a shot at it, but it's not like, okay, that's one team I actually have in there. I would say even despite of what we saw.
Ima... Ko igra?
Ascend.
Ima Kaj, što vidim. Aduz ima. No, prošli.
I mean, I'll go first. I think S2G finds their bearings a bit compared to yesterday, and everything doesn't rest on just Schiller's shoulders, right? If we look at the ratio of kills, that Schiller had 11 and the rest of them had 1 or 2, but we know that they're capable of getting more than that and being
split pushevi i sve to što se može desiti na Inferno, jer ipak zapravo jako je simple mapa, imaš put ka B, ajmo reći jedan otvoreni put B.
I believe it can be done. They're a fun team. They're a really fun team. Again, I think they need to take a little bit of time of figuring out whether they want to play slow or play fast, because you can't just flip between games, you know, turning the card over each time. But I think that if they find a mixture of the two and able to incorporate into their games, they could be a very strong team. As you can see, everyone was kind of pulling their weight yesterday. And I think even though Noddy is like low on damage, when you watched him play yesterday, he was in a lot of crucial positions for them to succeed in team fights. Like that was actually insanely useful too.
Realno, Noddy ima najbolji spot.
I think this team has a lot of potential. I really do.
Stavljam se sliku kada mu nije do života.
A dobro, ali je fotogeničan.
They just kept succeeding. And you can't fault that.
Ide Yoga danas svoj spot.
Evolution as a team is that I think when we first saw JOGA BONITO kind of crash onto the scene at the end of last year, it was kind of what we thought of, like, oh yeah, but they've got
moraju da prolaze to bez greške.
Having Nailed, we thought to ourselves, okay, yeah, this is why this team's got some success. And then we watched individual components from that team kind of pop off, like Simon, etc., have their moments and stuff like that. So I think that a far more rounded team than we gave them credit for at the end of 2025, especially if they can make this kind of Smash Mouth style work.
Spremate za sutra.
Yeah, that's really what I hope.
Ja imam osjećaj da se vi ne spremate uopšte. Znači ja kad gledam vas kako igrate,
in the
Imam
comps.
osjećaj
And
da
also, if you talk to
samo
a guy
dođete
like
ono na
Luka Rose,
Discord
he's like, yeah, he's pointing out Kristalny to
pola
be
sat
that
prije,
guy,
ako i
to
to
be the most underrated player.
Adin,
in
jel
the
ima li
lobby.
tu
And here,
istine?
sure, Slaven yesterday did pop off. He had 7 kills, but yeah, I have big expectations too. I'm really excited to see them play. Sure, it's mostly carried off their week 1 performance. The rest of it was kind of meh, but still, they were in there and they were, good enough to get into our day 1 of playoffs as they were yesterday. Well,
Hey,
gentlemen.
Sorry, go on.
I see that the countdown has finished in game, which means I think it's very likely we are getting
Tako
in
nekako. Eto,
right
imate.
now. So, without further ado, thank you very
Bać
much
se
for
koji
tuning in,
skirmishes,
ladies and
ali dobro, ne
gentlemen.
mislim na
Thank you for
skirmishes.
listening to
Ne
the
mislim iz
podcast
fazona naš
starting
uđete i
off, and thank you
igrate
for your
samo.
patience
Ne,
as
ne,
we
nego
get game number 1 of the
baš
day
da uđete,
underway.
ne znam
It's
ko vam ja
Avengers
IGL,
White to
da
take it.
se skauta i drugi timovi, da se odrađuju tajminzi, da u rotaciji znate tačno gdje je ko. Gotovo prve 2 zone. Znate kad ko kreće, ko puša solo, ko šalje evoga solo naprijed i takve neke detalje. Mislim da uopšte to ne radite. Mislim da je to razlog zbog čega ono, idete from zero to hero stalno.
Week 1 big pop off, and then it was slowed down from there. And I think the reason for that, or at least my opinion, is that after that they were like, we got to figure out how we want to play this game, because obviously we can't just keep sending it on like the feeders team compound and working out that way. So I think they were looking way ahead to the PEC championships, which I really like.
And that's exactly what they did, right? And you can't do that in that lobby, this lobby here. Sure, you could do it in the cup. Sure, they felt like, all the teams, all the big boys, they're out traveling there at PGS here. And look at this, though. JOGA, BONITO, as we talk about it, they're going to kind of try to disperse a little bit. There's a gun here. He's going to drive away. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful scenes here. I'll say this, though. It's so much more fun to watch this day just because you have these 8, some, you could call them top teams, but it's 8 qualified teams. Some of them are the top teams, some of the best teams in the world, but some of them are also cup teams, and that actually changes so much in the lobby because you have to kind of reload all your thoughts and ideas and everything, because you have 8 new teams coming in with new timings, new loot locations. We're talking about across 4 maps and everything, right? So, in a best of 5 here, you do not have multiple shots at it. You got the best of 5, 1 day, 1 chance to get in here. And now it's to start things off with here with a somewhat far away circle compared to our plane path here. We only have half the circle in the top with 4 teams inside, so there's going to be so much pressure coming in from the northern side and the eastern side of the lobby here. So it's going to be fun to watch here, Blank.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to move on at some point. I think you made a great point in terms of, going into day 2, because if you're a day 1 team, you're in the invited teams, one of the cup teams, on those double 8s, it's an insane advantage just to be able to be like, we need to lock in on day 1, figure out everyone's rotations, where everyone's going to play, and kind of get that mentality going of, this is the rotation we want to take. And if you qualify on day 1, you do not have to do any prep for day 2 and 3. And I imagine that the prep was a little bit lower for day 2 and 3 because the whole goal is to qualify on that day 1. So potentially you have some of these teams coming in on day 2 with a little bit of an advantage here compared to our day 1 teams that didn't qualify, because again, this is their day 1. They'll have done a lot of research for today.
I mean, it's basically been all of this day today here that they're like, okay, this is the teams that's left in the lobby. Then you're talking about, okay, from the 8 teams qualified from yesterday evening to today, that's also where all the drops are being posted, all the, kind of priors are being changed around, because, okay, this team is in here. We didn't expect Vitality to still be here, so you kind of have to change around a little bit. Then you got to share some other spots, and it's one big calculation. That's what I really love about PUBG, because in reality, everyone starts in the same plane and just based on their decisions makes the late game, right? But also there's so much strategy going on in the background that a lot of people don't see here. So it's cool that this first game in Wrangler, it's setting up for an absolute blind of a game. You have Hull going extremely. I actually think, we talk a bit about some of the Turkish teams here, Blank. I actually think that X-Hull and the guys here from SG
Pa igrali ja, Fipa, Ivo i Andrej.
It's just mainly due to the fact that they're so good at staying in 2-2 splits hardcore, and then when they have to, they get back as a full 4-man and then just stay alive, stay strong. The survivability in these teams are just insane.
One thing I love about S2G, and especially X-Hull, who I've watched a lot more of over the last few weeks, is just they're so fearless, right? And I love that about them as an identity of the team, is that if they know that
Notag
they've
ima
got
dobru
a
zonu,
brief window,
Yoga
10
ima dobru
seconds,
zonu.
where it could be the game-winning play, they just go for it. No one is against the idea.
Yoga radi trap,
Someone
mogli bi
calls
ovi
it,
Turci u
they're
lobby
on
malo.
board. And that's what you need in teammates a lot of times. They do get knocked though here, so they will get a quick refresh on this one, so it's not too terrible, honestly. It's just a shot from along the way, maybe a little bit damage towards the kits a little bit, but should be some items inside the build they can pick up. The point you made earlier about Vitality still being in the lobby, though, is quite an important one, because for Ascend, it's quite frustrating for them, especially on our angle, that they still have to play around Vitality, play around Georgopol. Not having that to themselves is kind of messes their game plan. Now they're having to shift over towards the west side because Vitality has prio on the rotate down towards the south.
Yeah, I would say South Georgian Hospital, having that alone is actually some of my favorite spots to be in, because you have so much space ahead of you. You know that there's a Gatka team, you know they're usually their prior spots in some of the prior compounds. You have a direct line in, you know what to go to and what to fight for. So with having a neighbor in South George or someone close is actually super annoying. It really messes up your early gameplay here. And also for Ascend, as we just saw the map, they're on the west coast. They're, I would say, not even top 10 prior to get into a great spot here, and it delays their game for so much. So
Vitality mora danas igra dobro, ne znam koji im je đao.
Here and they're like, okay, let's try to see if we
Juče
can
su
get
imali
a
stavno
lot of
5
space
bodova
from this,
fazno.
maybe drive scout a little bit. They see that the God compound, even the Harry Potter here east of them is actually open and free. They might be ending up taking that a little bit, or might try to get a southern side hand on it too here. But I think
meni nijedna ekipa nije najbolja pored Vorka.
Nobody in Quarry either. So there's
Ali
quite a lot of space here. Just
naš
close to
pitanje
Capital too.
može
Nobody
šta
top of
Pixelik
Capital
može.
as well. SUG could end up going
Svi
there.
da
So
slike,
that's cool too. But
Jer oni su zamijenili
look at
IGL-a
that
s
though.
Pixelikom.
PGG and the boys, they managed to backfill promotion.
to je
Pixelik
jedino...
ne igra tu ništa.
A ne, to što je nije igrao ili igrao. Čovjek nije IGL. Jedino ako neko hoće da, znaš, ako je ideja da Fex ili neko prvo, ne znam ko tu može biti IGL.
And of course, we have TMO coming in slow. We have Sancho and the boys, Balderini also coming in on the northern side. Potentially a fight here with Ghetto Gang.
Pa ja ne znam, možda i najlup iskreno, ali ne bi rekao.
Oh, he's getting real close. I'm 5 actually finds Sunflower.
Da, mislim da najlupi fazon ima one dobre ideje u smislu u trenutku, kad vidi nešto. Ali overall, da, znaš, da on sad non stop tu nešto priča, mislim da ne.
You wonder if they can double back, pick up those chips and get themselves a little bit more on board, but they would have to have found the knock almost immediately after that. Here they're going to have to send away. Yeah, I love the E-pickup play there from PUBG, getting right towards the backside of Primos. Vitality probably don't know about this Storm request, might be a little bit surprised by their rotation coming in later on. So overall, an interesting rotate, one that required them, like you said, because it's the day one, they've done a lot of research, they know they can pull off this play. So it's lovely to see PUBG, and that might just give them a little bit of a shot towards the top side of the tables.
Ne znam šta bih vam rekao za ovu ekipu. Danas sam dosta bio na Discordu sa Kapijem. Ne čini mi se da je prezadovoljan timom, a opet s druge strane kad vidite imena ima to iskustvo dosta. Ali nešto mi je čudna ta ekipa, nešto ne mogu da ih spojim zajedno. Ono, kad bi spajao tim, nikad ih ne bi spojio. A opet ekipa koja sigurno može dobro da igra. Pogledajte Turke šta rade.
I don't really see why
su pravi trap.
Okay, we don't really have that much space.
Ali su promašili, pogledaj kako za 50 metara su promašili.
You just wonder again, like about space-wise, you sort of want to create some for yourself on construction works. They did this yesterday too, trying to get as much vision as possible over towards that eastern side, figure out who's playing inwards. For them, Bushido Wildcats are a little bit more of a threat, but Starry Sky is about to get clipped on this one. But the shots back towards them from Silas, which is kind of insane. And Fex has to duck out a dodge here.
Oh, kakva greška Fex.
This doesn't work. Like if people see a single guy or two guys playing,
they're just gonna do a full-man pull-up.
Like it's so much easier to do. Vaso do a full-man pull-up, just run down. Nitro gets him. Starry's guy here actually super easy for them to pick up 1 point here. And the hold from construction workers just absolutely shambles, falling apart for them just a little bit. Yesterday's downturn for them has fallen off quite a bit here. Oh, that's actually a nice lineup here, but he actually didn't caught it here, unfortunately for Pixelic. That's just going to be a disengage if it's me. I don't even think that they're going to be able to pick him up here. 40 seconds till the new pop as will plank. It'll be a little bit of a rougher game for construction workers here. We had high expectations from yesterday, but today, even more expectations on these guys should easily be top 5 after what we saw from them in the Cups.
Baš se ga kiko upu peca.
It kind of stinks a little bit, honestly.
A znate šta, to je i urađeno isto od strane Justusa, Bad Boy, čini mi se. Bad Boy još jedan. Kad su se kvalifikovali se u kup finale, pa je u kup. I ovi su kikali, valjda Bad Boya i još jednog i doveli Himana i Mika, mislim da je Mika bio.
From the BRDM, Yo though does have this one, and James tries to take the shots, but Nailup's having none of it.
Well, that's a free BRDM if I've ever seen one. Yeet. Thank you, and bye-bye. Well, from bad to worse here for Yo, I'll say that this is probably not what they expected. Then we look at the map as well. It's a complete western shift here playing. What a rough start for both construction workers, and now Yo as well. And Aleb saying thank you so much for this period. And maybe he thinks, okay, maybe I can actually go grab the body effects, and if there's
Bravo,
a
Yola,
ship
legend.
available, that's what I would do.
El Capitano, El Capitano.
Information from
Yola, El
team,
Capitano.
So let's see what happens on later on. Bad here, trying to lock this down, see if they can
Brate, zašto
capitalize on
spomenio
this
scen?
being a 3v3 now, that they know the information from the kill feed. Salik does find the Vance here. It's a little bit rough start for Vitality as well after what we saw from yesterday. Really don't hope that this is the story of today.
Taking out the tires instantaneously is diabolical work coming through.
Kontam šta je smiješno, što je brate bilo.
Crossback though looking over towards Stone Request, trying to push on through this location nice and quickly. I do have a question for you after this starts to die down a little bit, which is, I'm confused why Yo didn't go for the Milta Island cross, right? It is interesting. I feel like that could have been
the
an
military
easy way. Yeah,
or
an
south
easy
in.
way in.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think
they were kind of contemplating it as well from that
Oh.
side.
Yeah,
Koji su,
and we
bre,
see
ovo?
here Mac going down as well.
Koji su, bre, ovo? Šta je ovo?
Igrao su s
Another one
tobom
goes down as
tri
well.
put
Odin
bio.
Mavesi, Exhal here in a bit of a
Pa su kako
rough
su, ali?
spot with the shiplifts being the last
Ok,
player.
napadači
Look
ruski
at this
se.
though, mid base, they're just
Ne, baš
To
dobro
ni-
pucaju.
to nisu ni Kazakstanci, ja?
Storm and Request and
Nisu
Bushido
nisu ovi baš dobro
Wildcats.
pucaju.
Talking
Ovaj,
about
on
Shiplifs.
ti igra
Mid
igricu
base gets
500
found here.
godina.
Easy peek over from this here from
Da,
Mix.
on mi je poznato, lovi ne znam ko su ovi 210.
And now Bushido Wildcats is like, okay, we're going to disengage from this. There's so much fights on the
Za koga
southern
se
side
navijamo?
here
Za
of
Jogu,
Cat Hill.
bre.
Super,
Navijamo
super
za Jogu,
difficult for
jebi
these
ga,
teams.
znaš,
And other
navijali
teams,
smo
they
i za
see it, it's
Najlupa
kill
i
feed,
za
it's close. These guys
Vaza, ali
are
sad
giving
oni igraju
so
sa
much
strancima, ono
information.
standardna priča.
And yeah, to go back
Navijamo
to
za
the
njih, ali
construction
prvo
work,
navijamo za Jogu.
sure they
Jogu
could
ima
have done
dobru
it,
zonu.
but it doesn't feel like it's obvious that there's going to be, you know, a construction workers
Evo i tu,
gatekeeping
imaju ovaj
with
split.
a Bushido Wildcats driving by,
Moraju da se
with a
paze.
Starish guy
A
driving
kontam da
by,
će biti
having
splitu
a
još ovu
sort of
zonu.
shamble play for them. But it does look like Fakes is about to be back in
Ima
here,
dobar
so
spot
just a
Yoga,
bit
ono,
more
jedini shift koji ne
advantages, some
pokriva
more
je ovaj
stints,
skroz south
maybe
shift.
a JAMA pack to go with it, and they're
To
gonna
je
be
vjerojatno
fine.
Send ili će igrati ivicu, ono
back
njihovo.
on road
Nisam
again.
ih nikad vidio
Gotta
da
move
Senda
it.
još.
We're adding over
To,
towards the
mislim, na
western side of the
firepower
map.
koji
It's a
imaju.
bit of a weird area for a lot of teams to have to play.
Ja
It's kinda
obično
cut off
onaj, volim
alongside these
sendat
sidelines. You do have this big clump
tu
of
treću
squads
zonu, ali
over
sve
towards the
zavisi s kim
warehouse
igra,
on the
znaš,
eastern side.
kad igram s napadačima,
On
ono, mehanički,
Quarry,
onda igraš ivicu, boli te
balls, don't
kurac.
request, you got Bushido
Ali kad ne
Wildcats
igraš,
here as well.
onda
Exhale
ono, prilagodiš
after a
playstyle.
bit of a tumultuous
A mislim da bi im bolje
approach,
bilo
just
da
a
ponekad
couple
malo sendaju.
put down quite handily
Mislim da bi
by Storm
više
Request.
puta
Storm
došli u
Request
šansu da
getting
vine
pushed from
meč.
both sides, so it's Bushido Wildcats, both the Turkish teams putting pressure on, but they
But
do
they
get that
requested
clap
the
back.
storm, so like
They did,
it's
they
like
did.
it's
They
coming in,
asked for
right?
it.
Yeah, they asked for
You
it.
asked for it.
The weatherman coming in here and just straight up, it's a storm immediately here, guys. But yeah, Ascend looking good here. A new circle pop
Demo
about to
shift.
happen here, Blank,
Samo
and
da
that's
ne
the
ode
big
dolje.
one.
ono.
This is going to decide so much. And we actually stay on
Pa,
Cat Hill and
hoće.
Quarry. This is going to
I
be
onda
an
gore.
absolute explosive late game. I love this area here, but there's so many teams that are
Samo da
struggling to get
požure
in
malo
already.
kasne.
But
Treba volite da budu...
Hall, Exhal player
Kad spojit
inside.
će, znaš,
The
samo
Harry Potter,
na šek to
tower.
ide.
bojim se da ne
Quite
zakasne,
easy
znaš,
backfill to
da
get
ne
us
uleti
hurt, but
nek...
it's such a messy fight with that low ground,
Da,
that
sad,
high
ovo je
ground
baš malo
around the
messy.
crater edge.
JOGA BONITO just dominoing over towards one another at the moment. Get a gang trying to follow
Odličan
behind,
split
but
drže
struggling
Yoga,
to
baš mi se
stay.
sviđa, ali je riski, zato što mogu da im crashaju tower, a ovi ne mogu pomoći. I to se dešava upravo. Ej, jebem u majku pičku, sad mora brza tranzicija. Nodi mora kola to, gledaj ovaj push. Ovi ovi Turci naboli nekoga, Fortuna. Jebi ga, to je problem ovog splita. To je problem splita. Super.
as is Cristiani, who did try and come for some backup. But it's a good push from TMO. Very
To je
good
problem
push.
Splita.
it's a great pull-up, but
Nije
it's, again,
nije
it's a
generalno
fight
problem
where
ovdje
they
Split
lose
bio
anyone
kako su
here,
ga
it's
loše
not worth it.
odigrali.
But they
Znaš,
stay
Nodi je
full
blojao
alive, get a few
unutra,
points
nije
here, but
metkao
they
palio po
still
njemu.
have to
Da su
cross
igrali
later
oba
on
na
here.
Ridge, bilo je
They
bolje.
also have 3 here on Star with a P90. That's going to be fun to follow him throughout the game here. That's a lot of impact.
I naravno da su spremni da bela jer mogu da igraju onu cestu dolje bez problema.
Get some here. He's able to steal one of them over there. That's great. That's a
Sad
good
kažeš
point
na
to
osvajanje
come Mr. G's
PGS-a, ma
way.
šta ću reći,
They
bre,
actually have
doktori
the
jebeni.
best compound to kind of engage on the top
Svima
of the
na
tail
boku.
of the
I
cat
Slaven
hill
Ascend, ali
to run up there. They need to
Da,
hold on.
moraju,
No,
sami
they're
su
probably
se.
going to have a fight with
To je
construction
odličan
workers,
call.
all with
Samo da
vitality later
prežive.
on, coming in from God compound. Simon does get the confirmation onto I'm Sancho here. That's a
I
bit
Simon je
rough for them
našao
to
nok, ne
lose
znam na kome je
players,
našao
but
nok.
again,
Ja
that's
sam bila
the
na-
story of
na
the game
Sanči
here. I'll
flašao,
say
da.
this though,
Na
so
Sanči, to je
what,
GTG,
what we're
jel?
looking at here,
Da.
even though JOGA BONITO has lost 2 players, they have 2 very, very central, and they could actually still get some points from this game in a somewhat salvage mode.
Dobro su oni ovdje.
Oni su ovdje
Yeah, a
top.
nice amount of
I
plays
dobra
that
stvar
can
je
be
što
had
im je ovaj
here. And
GTG
there's so many
solo
areas
tu
that kinda
i
hide
znaju da je
towards
on
a
solo
late
tu jer
game.
su sad
You head down
flašali
towards
jednog.
Quarry, Cat Hill way.
Jedno ko možda im pomuti
Honestly,
račune je ovaj
you have this
shipless.
situation where you can pick up a
Ali
lot of
i za
points
Havel znaju
because
da je
there
solo,
should
tako
be
da
quite a few teams
ubije
still in those
nekoga.
later circles.
Bez tako
So if you
noka
survive
nekoga imaju
through,
Savin.
if you JOGA BONITO, you might be able to pick up a couple of kills here and there, maybe. For Boars, I think they have to conclude on this compound on the southeast side. They had priority over on it. And if the circle does come down towards the southeast, it is a very, very easy position to play from. You can't really give it up. At the moment, the Starry Skies, they are peeking over from the south side.
Yeah, let's see what happens here with this one. This next circle here is gonna again have such a huge determination. Who's gonna have a big fight and make a move, or who's gonna have to sit down and just try to farm some points.
Nisu
at
trebali
Baldini,
Split.
though,
Ma
on the
nije
side.
problem Split,
Yeah,
kažem.
it's gonna be a
Loše su
little bit rough
odigrali
for them. There's
Split.
actually shots from them from
Split je
Starry's
odličan.
guy coming in.
Pa mislim,
Next
gledajte
circle
malo i
about to
Twisted.
happen
Recimo
here, and
Twisted
yeah,
redovno
it's a
igrao ovaj
central
Split.
one, Cat Hill,
Okay.
some Quarry is still
Dobra
in play,
uzona
but this is gonna be a big
njih.
one. There's so much cover to be
Nije
had.
Split problem,
Kapi
problem je
comes
što
in
su
and
igrali
good lay
iznutra.
down in the Cat
Ako igraš
Hill,
iznutra,
top
nemaš
side, but
kontrolu
still,
kill.
I'm not sure if he's going to be able to just more
Treba da
than
igraju
hide
heal i to
in the
ne
circle here. Depends if
north
Michael
stranu
and the
hila,
boys are
nego
gonna be
west
able to come
stranu
in and
hila.
donate him a gun.
Znači lijevo od tavera,
Yeah, I
taj
mean,
dio tu.
for Yo, it's not terrible getting yourself an anchor locked down. If they can bring
Jevi
some
ga, oni
stuff
su
into
igrali
the
unutra
boot
i
as well
sam
to
pola
him,
palićao.
might be a little bit more useful, but looks like he's going long, scouting as much as possible. Getting past no tag team is going to be the hard part, and eventually they're going to spot out this US, which has just creeped in on the field.
Gdje kapija, pada tam.
He's back and forth right now. Sheeta Wildcats
No,
have
nemam
spotted
tu
him
šta.
out. Starry Skies look towards Baldini.
Spaći
You
ga
are
ima,
not
da?
getting
Body
into
guard,
the circle,
Rože,
my
na body
friend,
guard.
unfortunately. Tavi's
Challenge
gonna
accepted,
send
I'm
this
in.
as fast as he can. I mean, at some point, someone's
Oh,
gonna
tri
give up.
bodovi, tri
Yeah,
bodovi.
there you go.
That's it,
Bravo,
yeah.
Lutzo.
So,
Zahvaljujem
another
se
one.
bratu Nitro što ga
Such a
nije
wrap
izbio.
on the western
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of Venture.
That's the thing, right? It's the same story of like
Ovo je bilo blizu.
pickups as well. Like sometimes it's just too late to
E sad,
try to do a hail
treba da
mary
izvuče,
towards the
pošto
center
ovi
of the
znaju
zone,
da
right?
su
And
duo.
now JOGA BONITO being able to pick up a few points here. Still 16 teams alive though. Still a few chances here. Can
mora
he
da izvlači
deter
pod hitno,
this
mora da
fight that's
izvlači.
happening? Starry's Cry here. Oh, he's gonna jump in. Gonna try to make a smoke play potentially.
Što ne izlači
Who's also
nazad?
coming in, coming
Slaven.
out. He could also jump in a car and just disengage. Oh, look at that. Ghetto Gang engaging as well. Quetpa finds nail up. We talked about it. Quetpa actually able to get tons
Trebam ja
out of
smoke
this
u
setup
auto
that he's able
izvuku
to
na
have
Slaven.
here. 3 kills, two kills for him so far, and yeah, the 3 kills yesterday was a blessing, but now it's gonna start from the get-go. Pixel finds him, and TMO falling apart a little
Pixel
bit
ide,
here.
ali pao najlup.
Yeah, TMO, kind of an awkward spot. I mean, you can play this roadside. It's a little bit covered off, but it is an awkward position to be in. And when the circle does move, eventually you are going to be thrown into some
Dobar ne.
wavy waters. Let's
Bravo,
say
Slav.
Simon will go down to a nade coming through from Nitro into the
Gledaj ti
building.
BRDM sranje.
Fex rocks over that BRDM, which did get donated earlier. Luckily, Pixelic is
Fex vratio
immediately
MP,
down. Now, construction workers
Ali
do have
vratio se.
hard on the
Ali što je
back line.
Fex izašao na stranu Mike i ubio.
Only just to stand
Useless.
for the time being, just laying bullets into this BRDM as much as possible. Nade goes out, trying to prevent
Upiši ga
him
bomba.
from sitting on the sidelines of it.
Neće.
A lot of damage done here. Mike is down.
Evo gledaj
Fine, there
SVG što
is-
leće.
Very unfortunate here for this northern fight. There's just sharks in the water on the northern side, and
Come
S2G is
on.
gonna
Nemate
be
lik,
eating
radi.
this. Oh my god, Vex
Oh.
runs
Radi,
in.
Mićka,
Oh
brate,
my
ono.
god, Micah turns around,
Miće.
finds them. I'm not sure if the kill's going to be able to be confirmed. CC Inex, SG just stealing all these kills and knocks another on the side here, Blank. It's really working out for them nicely. That's a nade too. Oh my god, CC Inex finds error as confirmation too. Mike is left alone here with not much help. Bob's trying to heal up. SG is really benefiting from having this compound and holding it aggressively.
I mean, two broken down PRTMs here, a little bit of hard cover to work with, but for
Imaš ti Marcela kako
PvP goes down to the blue zone, which is going to happen at some point. I mean, that guy was swimming around in it for a fair long time. Vitality sends Get Dogs over to try and hold his own. It's not meant to be. His Code Marco will be able to pick up that kill. And Gedrox is just going to have to send away here. He's over towards the rolling hills. The circle centers up.
Jevi ga, ovo je bilo dobra šansa da se uzme jak prvi game, ali
but we are heading over towards no
loš odigran.
Another nade does go through, bounces quite well over towards Quetpa. Another one sent in afterwards. Just little bits of ticks of damage going through, but CCNX will find Vard.
SG just really farming, and again, this next circle here is perfect for them. If nobody backfills them, but Sheila anchoring inside the compound, sure, Michael copies there. He could go down, but if he's able to escape and they're able to take a hold on the top side of this cat hill here, it's going to be absolutely insane. So let's see what happens with this one here. Sheila taking shots at Michael. He spotted him. So now let's see if he goes down to copy. Now that they have the information here, it could be a little bit rough. Oh, that nade could do it. I'm not sure he's going to confirm him or knock him, but he caught a shot. That's really bad. Now he needs to get in here. 1 HP. Oh! Goes down to the blue, and that means that Copy's going to get a pistol. Maybe get out and try to confirm him here. They're running for it, that's for sure.
Tried to do a little bit of a 360, get his bum in, but not meant to be. You still got your hands and feet.
Pošto su sigurno dobili info da ide fajti tamo od cestu.
No tag team will be sending some shots his way. Cappy, though, you know, real lone soldier type deal here for Yo, and they are going to get some placement points at least off of this, potentially if they can live a little bit longer into this one. Sadly,
there's no chance.
Starting to sweep.
There's no chance they survive the top 8 here, Blank. I don't think SG is going to forget that Michael was here, that's for sure. 22 HP, Kabi with a pistol and Dream. He's not even inside here. There's no chance they survive the top 8 here. I don't see that happening here, though. The Baron did get knocked that Sloy Jacket. Kabi is going to pull out the pistol and try to plunge him. Oh my god, he got the confirmation on Baron. I can't believe it.
So as
I was saying, I'm joking. It is a very rough place to play in from. And with Cappy having basically nothing but a pistol, which seems to be quite effective, it is going to be a little bit hard for Yo. CCNX does find Cappy on the exit. He's been on an absolute tear this game.
Iskreno, on je s emergency pao, je tako?
Huge for them, but
više nego što sam očekivao da će raditi.
A little bit sad to see them not capitalizing a little bit more from having this much control here. Maybe only leaving Sheila was not going to be enough for them, but yeah. That's how it goes. Now with a nade here from Mr. Shimada, that's going to be rough on Ascend. They had so much control the western side. Look at that. He's actually going to go down there. Yeah, he goes down. So he's going to be dropped. CC Inex now. Oh my god, goes down to Selig.
Uslava da ušti, brato mom
Salik's going to find CC Inex.
Mislim iskreno, ovaj nade je pao na glavu nekom od njih i ništa damage nije dio. Puko prije.
Loše ga rasku.
We went down to 8 teams, okay? It was a matter of dominoes, okay? That's all it was. But for PGG, they just got blasted out of existence. In the midst of all that, I felt like it was a nice wrap from them, and then they sort of just all fell over. So now we're down to pretty much all the teams on the south. There's not a single team playing on the north side at the moment. It's actually quite comical the way things have panned out here. You're right, it's unfortunate SGG space their game aren't able to get more out of this match. Baldini, I think they spent the whole game in the blue, if I'm not mistaken. I actually don't think we saw them once playing inside the circle, which is a miracle. They make it to phase 6. Starry Skies going to start to move up. They have currently now we'll see what they can get done here, but for Storm Request, getting him in, unlikely.
There's so much fights happening on this southern side here. Killer finds Nitro. Marshall steals the knock away from it too, though. And now with Boris, man, I was hoping for a little bit of a direct engagement from No Tag, but They're just very,
Koliko je
very
Ben igra to
smart
aj catch,
controlling
100
the space
ekipa.
and the angles that they
Šta
have
znači
into
unutak
this
može mina?
area here. So hello Senpai is gonna see if he can find a nade knock here. It's not even, nowhere close to O'Connell. Easy peasy for them. And now the other guys go on a three-way push here. They're seeing if they're gonna clear this, and there's just nothing but free cover, guys. And maybe a little bit of boxes they're able to gonna be pick up here from some of the Doritos that's been falling down here. But the next engagement for them for sure is with Boss on this eastern side.
Koliko ovaj cover player
Yeah, I
jak
mean,
sta.
this is a problem that kind of
Da, a šta je ono što su dodali emergency cover player,
They were
nešto?
very afraid to take more
Emergency
space and
support
they
player,
lost
ne?
the
Emergency
Miramar
support player,
game.
šta je to?
To
versus
baciš
Climax
i dođe ti
because of
kutija
that
onako
reason,
na
because
te
they refused
iz
to
dropa
take
padne
space.
s neba, možete
You can see
napraviti
here
cover
they
ona
have a lot
sama,
more room to play
pa i
in,
dobiješ
but they're worried about that
unutra
western
možda
side.
TNT
Obviously,
gear,
rightly so worried
metke,
about their south, but
gumu,
I think they could be doing a
heal,
little bit more with this.
shield, onaj
I think they
folded.
can wait it out, and
Cover
that's
player
fine.
isto,
It wouldn't
možda
be a
Brook
terrible
stvari.
play.
That's the safest
Prejako je to
call if I've
stvar,
ever
iskreno.
seen one here, mommy. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Dobar
My
update bio,
Swedish friend
što se tiče
Vatso
nekih
probably not gonna try to make it in here, but Ascend, man,
stvari.
looking good. 4-man strong, holding the majority of the control here, but there's so many snakes left alive here. So many solos. We have Gedrogs, we have I'm 5 as well, and then eventually we're gonna have Vatso solo as well. But it really comes down to what is Boss and No Tag Team doing on this eastern side here. Bushido Wildcats, sure, they're going to be out there, but Kilyakai is going to try to go for some information. I'm 5, obviously, here, being alive, being in the top 8, 7th place now. It's going to be one placement point. Can he take it further? Can he get to top 6 or make it even deeper here? One kill on a solo is 2 points effectively. One for placement and one for the kill here. Kilyakai, look at that. They're locking this down. They know these guys are down here. That's a great nade. Just going to be straight on Crossberg. And Ascend gets 2 kills. Also finds Gedrox too. That is 3 kills total and 2 placement immediately here for Ascend. So really popping off for them. Now I really want to see them disengage or hold on to a 2-2 split on this western side. And then third part of the fight between Boss and No Tag Team. Sure, they might see or know that there's going to be a Styrish guy, so 2 guys left alive in the middle, but that's for later. They really need to take the control of this western side here. That's looking really good for them when it comes to a potential win to start things off with here for Ascend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's Kill Your Cobra Kai coming at you with a little karate chop straight to the face. I mean, he was pre-driving on that circle shift. He knew what he wanted to do and got rid of those players extremely quickly, which opens up a lot of avenues now for Ascend. Rafa looks to get the finish over towards Higgs, and absolutely does get it. Sorry, Sky, though. Mom in position, like you said, safe res, but not for long. Now he's dead. Ghetto Gang with a big nade over the top there.
Oh my god, look at that. They're working together effectively here to take down No Tag Team. And it's from the advantage point of Ascend. Boris is not inside, but they're taking shots at the team that they supposedly should be having a direct fight with here. But they went on the southern side. I kind of like it. It's a good engagement here. They could have some low ground advantage later on here, but now with Macintosh going down here, Ascend is the guys with the biggest advantage so far in this lobby here. Let's see if No Tag Team is going to take more kills off from Boris here. Oh my god, Kiddo trying to survive this one here. He had to go out and he had to remove IM5. But now he's got to get into the circle, get into more hard cover here. No Tag Team, though, eventually, Blank, is going to have to get off this hill, and that's going to be absolutely fatal for them.
I mean, No Tag Team playing like they're in a haunted house at the moment. They've got their backs up against the wall. They're creeping along the side of the circle. Really quite afraid to do much with this one. I mean, they've been taking away a couple of kills off on side, but I love the way Ascend's played this game. They have really exploded onto the scene in this late game, which makes absolute sense. They've tried to grab as much as possible. Kilyakai took a risk, but the risk paid off massively for them. Now, No Tag Team, they've got no wall to work with. They've got to go face the clown with the scary face.
Yeah, the Boss guys are surely just going to play on the southern side here and hold out No Tag Team. They're the guys that didn't get enough of the circle to make it work here. And then Ascend and Boss is going to work together and say, okay, let's get No Tag Team out, and then we're going to fight. Because the way that this whole layout is, it's basically a canyon in the middle where Boss is playing from the southern side, and eventually Ascend is probably going to play from the northern side. I don't really see them pushing over the hill and then exposing themselves. But let's see, No Tag Team here. Can they have an impact on Boss or Ascend to maybe make it even?
Moj Vajra, gdje si ti?
No, T-Bone finds Rafa here.
Jevi ga, baća, od kad se napumpu krenuo rolat plavuše i crnke, a Ascend procvjeto, a mi propali.
That's an instant knock. You don't want to be second or third knock at this time anyway.
Yeah, I think at this point for Ascend as well, where no tag team is currently playing, they know eventually Boars is going to take shots towards them. They're going to have to exit from this high ground, come down the hill. There's a lot of smokes that are going to have to be used here to make that one happen. You question how much utility no tag team has on board. Good shots, though, from O'Connell across the way to keep people at bay. Also starting to make their rotate. They know both of these teams are going to have to move.
Mislio sam da će O'Connell da vinna ovo, ali boga mi neće nego Ascend.
3 stuns and a nade on no tag. They have no smokes. They have no utility to cover them. On the side of Ascend, though, I see smokes, I see nades, 3 nades on Kilyakai alone here. Maybe we can check the overview as well. He's got so much. Oh my god, look at that. 3, 2, 3. They have so much utility. Stun grenades galore as well. They're looking fantastic. Boars have a lot to kind of turn on as well. Maybe we'll check in with that as well. Our fantastic observer team is giving us blessings. Nades are coming in now. They saw that. Hello, Senpai is moving forward. Lots of damage done here. 59 of that one. A triple nade done. Oh my god, Kilyakai absolutely destroying him with the barrel.
Yeah, nice laser beam action there coming from Kilyakai. Molotovs over the top to finish off the job. And that little position, impromptu position from Boars does get dismantled. O'Connell trying to get as much damage in as possible. Attempts to get a second place and gets it done. Rafa O'Connell still alive here. Ascend trying to hold them out. The Doritos being in place, giving a little bit of cover. With the blue, he's pushing them in.
Oh my god, that's not supposed to happen for no tag team. He just popped his helmet straight up. Kilikai's running for it. He doesn't want to see the deny. He wants to shut it down, and it's Ascend to take game 1 here with 10 kills. And that's their run. Their campaign for today is absolutely insane.
GG za Ascend. Nikad jači Ascend, iskreno.
Wow.
Po mom mišljenju.
That's awesome. It's Kilya Cobra Kai coming at you from the sidelines. What a dragon kick he hit one with at the end as well. But yeah, you're right. He did not want to give up those denial points. And that's fair enough. And we talked about this right at the beginning of the game. He seems to be getting a big buffer at the start of the day.
It's Chris, Kilya Kai.
And you don't want to go into day 3. Day 3 is more about RNG than it is about plays at the end of the day. You could be a very, very strong team if you don't get the circles. There's still that potential.
Mislim, okej, s tim Ascenda ima najbolje rezultate, ali ovo ste krenuli već.
A dobro, možda jesu čak ovi jači, jer ima i T-Bone.
Yeah, an interesting one, right? Because I feel like Ascend had basically the entire west side to be able to play with.
Ali ovdje izvuć DMR koliko mi je ovo ludo bilo da gledam. Gle kapija majke ti, ovdje i ne vidim lika, on ga flash.
They were going to compete.
Idem napravi kafu.
Almost ruled that game. Anything but in the end there, Avenger. They just got dismantled so quickly in the north.
Yeah, it was a little bit sad. I was actually like, if they were 4 guys strong and they had held on to the northern side of the hill, they're going to be able to take on Kabi. They're able to take on Michael, take them down. But Shilla going down to, was it Boars or no tag team that shot him, and then all of a sudden it's just falling apart. Then they got another knock from PGG, and then you see Kapi coming in with a confirmation from the pistol. That was insane. Yeah. I think it was a P1911, but yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, very, very cheeky indeed. But hey, Cappy's going to have to be able to scrap for all those points he can get there when your team's not having the easiest of times. But it is Ascend that takes this win here. 20 points go their way in just 1 game. And for a team that was just on the cusp yesterday, blank with, 26 points or something like that, them getting 20 in 1 game, they are going to be flying high with this one.
Yeah, I think for Ascend yesterday, there was some moments where they didn't quite take advantage or they were a little bit slow to really pull the trigger. Today, that was not the case. For Kilya Kai, I think he wanted a lot of those moments yesterday where he could just be sent in like a rabid dog. And today, they just let him loose, right? They let him off the leash and he was going crazy. And they were able to follow up on that. I think overall, the teamwork from Ascend there was very nice. But it does bear to mention that for no tag team, very scared gameplay, which we saw in the cups as well.
Right.
I'm not sure where else they really could have gone though from that south side. Maybe wrap around on Ascend, but even then you're exposing yourself to no tag team as you're going up. So I don't think they had many options.
Look at that. I'll say this though. I don't think it's so much scared player. I think it's more calculated survivability, right? Because they're saying if we're 4 guys alive towards the late game, we're actually winning. We're actually getting it. And because there were 4 guys alive, they actually got a 2nd place. If there were 2 or 3, Boss would have pushed them, and they would have known that they would have pushed them and got them in there. But yeah, it's a little bit rough to start things off with for Boss, though. They should have been able to have a 2nd place here, just holding out no tag team. but I felt like pushed too early. I did not like Hello Senpai going into the cover that early. They had more cover on the backside. They had more smokes to work with, and then it ended up costing them potentially 1 or 2 kills on no tag, and also the third place instead of second. So 2 or 3 more points for balls could have happened here. That's a little bit sad.
But util late game was an interesting one, right? Because I think that Ascend didn't actually have that many fights to have that were elongated and have to spend a lot of the util towards the late game, whereas the other teams, they'd really gone through the ringer there, Blank. So they didn't really go in with much util at all. And when you're going up against an Ascend that has plenty to boot to kind of finish off that game, it's going to be difficult, I think.
Yeah, I think that when we were watching that match and we brought up the overall util count, and it's like, well, they've got nothing, and Ascend's got a whole arsenal to work with. I think you are struggling at that point versus them. I was kind of curious about PGG, to be honest with you. With their wrap round, I thought it looked quite nice, and then they just imploded alongside with Bushido Wildcats because it felt like they were a 4-man and then they were 0. I felt like PGG could have done a lot more of that game because I really liked their early game rotation towards their mid side.
Yeah, I think we'll see more from them throughout this day, no doubt about it, even if they fell down a little bit early in this game. But let's check in with our winners from this game, of course, as we check in with the comms from Team Ascend. Now speaking full English, good to go. Let's check in.
People or glider?
Glider.
We want that.
Yeah, we want that if we can take it.
I have no gas.
Yeah, sounds good to me at least.
Good compound is taken at least by 1 car.
Good. That's most likely
That's probably Storm.
Yeah.
What?
On the
You're
cannons.
fine on your
One
right.
knock guy on blue. Flash.
Nice.
No, we can't because
No, you stay.
Insta one.
okay.
I'm gonna move him.
I have no
Just
car.
leave me. I'm chilling,
But you
I'm
can play
chilling,
with
I'm
Chris.
chilling.
1 point, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, go next.
Guys, can you peek it? Can you peek them?
Yeah,
Can you peek them on blue?
fine. I'm nading. Knock one.
Left smoke, green smoke. Dead.
Insta.
Here's Traitor.
I knocked
Pick
him
up
on blue.
buffers. Pick up buffers.
I can't.
I'm pushing up for the kills.
Exactly yellow.
Yeah.
Green.
I'm flashing.
One
I'm
green.
flashing.
Both yellow.
Green.
Nice, let's fucking go, bro.
Nice, man.
Ah, yes, nothing says urgent comms like Kiliokai begging for them to please peek. Lovely guy, though, Kiliokai. Spent many a times going to the airport with Kiliokai.
Awesome.
And obviously, I mean, it paid off, right? Look how well they were able to do for it. It's clear that they had a lot of big lines of sight on this west side, and they were putting on a lot of pressure against the likes of PGG here, Blank.
Yeah, no, sorry. I just love Killiokai's comms, man. That's he really is like the epitome of urgency. Yeah. Even at the end there, I'm pushing up for the kills right now. It's like the game's practically over, mate. We can calm it down a bit, but you know what? It got them the win. And you know what you really do like on a team? You love someone with energy. I think if you have someone with energy on side, it can really push you over the edge a lot of times, because a lot of PUBG is psychological as well at the end of the day. Because you've got some mopey fellas on your team towards the end of the day, you lose it.
Yes, that's true. And you know what? Actually, listening to those comms, I'm very impressed by Keta's English, because normally when I think of Danes, I think to myself, you know, their English is just a little bit mid. You know, I roll.
Right, yeah. I feel you. That's what I thought about you, second language as well, but then again, you don't speak one, right?
No, I'm the laziest. I lived in Finland, Germany, Poland, although, you know, I get by, all right? I get by.
Yeah, you can say thank you and goodbye in 3 languages. That's great.
Thank you. Very appreciate that. Miramar's coming up next, though, Mr. Avenger. What are you thinking? Based on what we just saw from these teams, who are you looking at to be able to kind of make some waves in the desert?
I will go again and say SOG had an unlucky one here. I actually think we're going to see them absolutely blast today here. It's unfortunate getting a kind of offhanded knock on Shilla, losing another guy to PGG, pushing out on the northern side. I'm going to say again, if there are 4 guys on the northern side, they would have been one of the contenders for the top 4 here for sure.
I have to agree. I think that S2G got really weird, not unlucky per se, because obviously the teams are going to try and come and shut them down on that north side. But the fact that there was no one in the north, and you said it as well during that cast blank there, it boggles my mind that there was eventually just no one to come in from that direction.
I think so many teams opted to go for the south side and try and push it from there. And I think a lot of people tried to game the system, and I think that PGG was a good example of that, as getting that E pick up through towards Primos and then play up from there. And then the circle kept moving north, and eventually you had that big moment, S2G, Bushido, Wildcats, Yo, all die at once, and it's like, well, there's no one left. Because I don't know what happened on that side, but it felt like the teams, it was the perfect example of mutually assured destruction, where no one survived one little part of the onslaught. So there was not even one player left to hold the ground on that side of the map. So yeah, it was one of those weird moments where you do just have no one left. And I think it is a struggle as other teams to really think to yourself or get the scouting done from those positions that area is free. Because if you expose yourself even a little bit, you know you're just going to get blasted.
And to go to the early game a little bit there as well, Avenger, we got to kind of call a spade a spade. James can't be letting BRDMs go that way he did, right? Up against that cannot be happening. He's more a veteran than that. That was just a little bit of an oversight, I think, which costs you such a valuable tool going into later stages of a game like that.
Yeah, we saw in PGS so many times where the teams went from having mediocre games to getting into late game, getting top fours just because, and off the back of BRDM plays, right? It's such a valuable tool to, especially here on this map, right? We saw how many of them were actually very, very deep in the kind of center of the kind of later stages here. You could send it to Quarry in a BRDM and actually get a center spot here, easy peasy, right? Straight through the middle, get into, just like, you don't need to go through Cat Hill. You go kind of on the southern side where not as many teams play. Then you get the information, okay, where's team shooting me from? And then I go to somewhere safe with a 3 or 4 man pull up, right? I know that's just big pains here, but it's happened so many times again and again on PGSs. And for me, in this case here, where you, first of all, he lost it, but also the way that he jumped out in the second times, like, there's no way you think that a guy in this lobby here is not going to be able to 180 turn on you in 0.1 second, right?
And the hail up as well.
The 50% repeak, I was question marking. I was scratching my head over that.
That's
the most P90 damage we'll probably see throughout this tournament. 17 coming in from Cappy, cool stuff from him. It's not often you get to see it really at this level, to be perfectly frank, but that is there. I think one thing as well to take away from that east side in the early game as well is construction workers 3-man hold. It felt like things aren't really paying off. Maybe they should be prioritizing trying to get towards the middle of these circles, blank a little bit more, because again, if these guys are given some room, they're gonna be killers, they're gonna be murderers, they're gonna win a game. It's just when.
Yeah, I mean, even with that awkward start that they had, when they were pushing out, I still think they were quite effective at identifying areas around the map that looked a little bit weaker. Even if you look over towards Wizard Tower, they were able to take that fight quite effectively, even versus TMO. And then they just kind of petered out of steam from there onwards. I do think for construction workers, even Avenger was mentioning it, it was sort of weird for them to be taking that hold where they could have been pushing further towards that western side. I don't think it was 100% necessary.
Mr. Avenger, what do you think?
I mean, you can see even with how close up people are basically doing, carpooling here in car caravans. You could see even with Bushido Wildcats, it looked like when they were driving together that there were 4 guys in 1 car, but they're just so close to each other that it's just, there's no way that they don't do a 4-man pull-up on you if you shoot. They see so easily the information that there's 1 car, there's 1 or 2 guys shooting us. It's a 4-man crash, it's a 4v2. There's no way they're not getting the 2 kills and confirms on you. And then the other guys are actually so far away in construction workers that it wasn't even close here. But yeah, a little bit sad. I'll say this though, Blank, you prompted the idea of them going on the military island with the BRDM. I don't think that there was the wildest idea that there's going to be a construction workers gatekeeping, a Starry Sky coming in slow, and a Bushido Wildcats coming in at the same time. There's 4 teams within a couple hundred meters of each other at one point, right? It's I don't think teams expect this, and that's really the kind of the offhanded chance that, okay, now they see this, they look back, they obviously have a little bit of delay here sometime as us talking here. They're gonna be able to see this, go back on Twire, go back on all these information pages here and say, okay, there's so many teams camping, we're gonna have to look out and be smart about our kind of directions we're sending it.
It's also an interesting one because it's not totally out of the realms of possibility that someone would sit on the west bridge and wait if somebody was going to do that, because the edge of the first circle, well, actually not the edge of the first circle, it was a bit more south than that, but there is a reality where somebody tries to make that happen, and because the north side of the west bridge is pretty decently inside the circle, you could sit there for a good while and see if anybody's going to be coming in, right? So
I mean, they moved so slow that I think the last guy moved from mill to just a little bit before the second circle popped, so they knew that there's going to be safe there anyway, and it would be some time where they could have left it. But yeah, I don't know if it's worth. I don't know when there's not an outside chance of it going in south. I don't think it's worth going across, because there's so much information you can kind of gather, because you hear people shooting, you hear all these. There's so much free information to be gathered just based on audio and based on you being able to drive in your car and look around all the time. Like, you have so much information when you're driving, and then they had a BDM to safely look around too, right? So that's the big one. That's the big one for me. Yeah, well, eventually. I mean, James pulled up because he has the information. They saw them fight. They saw them lose Vex, right? So that's just based on the information that was sharing, kill feed, and audio.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It is a tough one coming in the way they did. I mean, technically there was worlds where they could start wrapping around like north of places like Chinky, etc., and things like that. But you know, we could talk about these theories for ages. We really could. Moving on to Miramar, though, I think the one thing that will be interesting from this as well, Blank, is kind of the drop spots and how all this works out and pans out, because I was curious as to how they would go down yesterday, and maybe the lobby would kind of have to feel each other out a little bit. It didn't feel like that was really the case. It didn't feel like there was really as many hot drops as could have occurred. This time around, when we get to these maps where it's only one game on the map, it's not like Eringo where you actually get two. There's definitely
Ljudi pričaju kao da je lobby sastavljen random i nemate pojma ko igra s kim i kog djeluje. Bukvalno, braća, random ispucavaju stvari, ne bili popunili ovih 10 minuta što se čeka sad, što je okej,
You're not really gaining any space towards the middle of the map. So it's a bit of a frustrating one for these teams in terms of where they're going to be dropping, where they're going to be playing. But for Miramar, again, it's a nice map to be picking up a fair few amount of points, because you can have a very dominant game towards an end game on Miramar, especially if you get a strong compound that we often find like in the middle of a field somewhere. It's one of the only places to play. You could pick up 10, 12 kills off the back of that and see yourself in a great spot for the rest of the day. So yeah, I think the volatility is certainly there. The question is which teams are going to go for it, because I do think there's quite a few squads that are maybe worried to go for these hot drops, worried to go for these aggressive maneuvers in the early game.
No, for sure. I get word once again, we're just waiting for 1 or 2 players to be able to get ready for this Miramar, so we apologize for the slight delay, but that's how the things go sometimes. I think what's a miracle oftentimes in PUBG is that we've actually had the vast majority of our lobbies with 64 players going on time. But admittedly, when we're on LAN Avenger, we very clearly see a lot of teams and players having to run back because they're like, hey, the lobby's starting. If you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not.
That's the beautiful thing about the games. So just like you loaded it already, so the game will start if you're in your PC or not here. Then you have other spectator sports where it's like, okay, it's 2 players. And like here we have 64 players. They only to be at the PCs. They only to join. And it's actually going quite well. Yeah, I should say, I'm quite surprised that it's going as smooth here. But smooth to say, Miramar. The big thing is for me, though, that now we're not going to see an Ascend contested where they're going to have a pretty free game. The question is really, how is things lining up? Are we going to see anyone do anything crazy based on what we had here in Game 1? I don't really see any changes for Exile, HG. These teams are probably going to have Picado, Chimicera, etc., or even the trash around it. So the big loot spots are kind of already figured out. But where is everything else happening? And are we going to see anything contested? I always say in a BO5 it's not worth it. That's the big thing.
Is Vitality
Esmir Bajrić.
That's a good question. Well, the thing is, normally they would have San Martin and actually strayed away from San Martin in internationals because, of course, Falcons was there as well. So they moved over towards Hacienda del Patron to try and do something from there. And technically, if San Martin gets contested or Hacienda gets contested, then suddenly they might be at a bit of a jib themselves. But as you can see here, Kiliakai ruling the tables from the previous game, getting himself +5, going up against Marshall here from Boars.
Very effective damage here.
Very effective, yeah. It's like they didn't actually shoot it much, but when they did, it really mattered. So that's good. That's good stuff here from them. We're just a few seconds out, though, so it's time to get Miramar rolling. We're going to say goodbye goodbye to good old Avenger for now, and I'm going to say hello to good old Blank as we head on to the dusty dunes of Miramar for Game 2, Blank.
That's right, Climax. It's time to play the game.
Yeah. Love it.
Do the laugh. Do the laugh.
Konačno počinje
There we
game.
go.
Konačno.
I wasn't going to let you off. I'm
Just so
glad
you
you hit it straight away.
Just so you know, that laugh isn't always in that bit of Triple H's song, but anyway. Jeez Louise.
It's a good one, though. It's a good one.
Yoga nema kontest, to nam je super.
Playing back from the northwest down towards the southeast side. A little bit more difficult to get over towards that northeast section. This kind of plays into your idea of a bit of volatility in that early game because it is a bit of a stretch. Oh, whoa.
Oh, it's me.
There he is. There he is. That's an unreal setup from the observers, by the way.
Yeah, they've done me there.
That's 4 observers all in the right spot at the right time. You love it. You love it.
They really want me to wear it on the broadcast. I'm pretty sure.
I think it'd look great.
It can't happen.
Why not?
I don't know where it is.
No way. I bet you do.
I don't know where it is. It's in a box somewhere, hidden away, with a padlock on
Opa,
it.
zonica dobra za najlupa.
That's been submerged in water. I'm not sure where it is. I don't know where it is. I'm sorry.
It's like a little letter on top of your opener that says, if you never need me again, the code is in the attic.
Dobra za najlupa I dobra za jogu.
Some kind of strange superhero coming back for the 3rd movie. PGG, though. They're chasing down Baldini. Sunflower. I'm just going to call him Sunflower. I think that's okay, right?
Yeah, sure.
Is that all right? Do I have to call him Sunflower?
No, and to be fair, some people will call him Sunflower Wee, and you can't be doing that every single game. I'm going to be real with you. So, but no, both teams racing down to Valdemar, and Mr. Schmader is actually way away here from Baldini, and PGG is kind of surrounding them on this spot. Now, were there any other contests anywhere else? It doesn't really look like it. And Vitality actually went Hacienda del Patron as well as some of the trash drops around it, not even towards San Martin. So I guess technically they could loop back into there if they wanted to, because they got some of the vehicles up on the high ground north of Picardo, alongside Power Grid as well, which actually are sometimes quite heavily contested because the Power Grid team would actually like those, but they were able to nab some of that and then run away. So not bad. It does kind of scupper some of the plans of teams close to you, Blank, in a slow lobby like this, but it's a normal kind of southish circle near towards Los Leones.
It's just a normal day for these boys in PUBG, down towards that southeast side. But yeah, I think for Vitality, it's really nice, honestly, being able to have the entirety of Hacienda, San Martin, all the vehicles posted up around that area, so you got your ideal loadout before you move out. This is the time for Vitality. Losing Levante really early last game, though, hurt them, especially with Levante pulling the majority of the weight on that squad at the moment. The fact that you went out almost immediately is a really bad thing to happen for yourself. Yeah. Force being in 2nd place, so I didn't really expect that at the start of the day, but fair play to them. You know, really weathered the storm last game. See if they can keep that up, though, because I'm expecting changes towards the top.
Well, they survived, and they had kind of a pseudo DA split on that road south of Picardo, old Digital Athletics split, and now they're already driving on in. As for someone like, sorry, Ares, G2G got themselves 1 kill. They're still playing with 3, though, so that is rough. But they did quite a lot with it in the previous game, getting themselves 7 points, now with 1 extra here to make it up to 8. With only 3 in play at the moment. I think that one of their players is who we've been waiting for, but unfortunately they've not been able to get them on board. And they're still around the Mythov. The Mythov is still cycling around up on that northwest side near them. So maybe there's more points. We were impressed towards the end of 2025 by IAM5 on this team. He was playing some of the PEC and some of the regional stuff, as well as the Masters, I believe. So hopefully we can see even more of them.
Yeah, maybe. What's the name meant to mean? It's like he's 5 players. He's the coach and 4 players at once. Like, he can do it all. I mean, that would make sense to me.
Or is significantly under the age limit of the tournament requirements, you know? Like,
yeah, I'm going to take I'm taking the former. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, it's not abusing
to me
the
like
system.
I'm 5, why I am 5. It's called 5.
O, promašio.
But yeah, just as
Kalašem već pogoditi sigurno.
kind of just hitting the handbrake, trying to get out of dodge here. Bit of spam fire with the AKM, not quite happening, sadly. Just will go for a spray. He's out. He is out. For
Ali
TMI, this is
mrtav je
rough, right?
Justus.
Because at the early game like this, you would like to get a beacon off, get your player back up into the game, get a gang realizes though, and they're going to keep putting the pressure on. Panzerfaust at the top of the stairs is a scary prospect.
Yeah, on top of an unpushable, there's no way that people are going to be wanting to go into there. But one thing that does hurt for Justice is the fact that he's stuck in a bowl. Like, it's so hard for us to get out of that compound if people want to camp it. But he does have reinforcements on the way. Mika and He-Man are trying to dislodge these guys at the moment to see if Justice can actually get on out of there. Meanwhile, we'll jump on board here with Golo Levante, who's going to need to suplex the rest of this lobby and get them all the way up. Speaking of which,
Ja pričam sve vrijeme, druža vam jutam.
They showed a little guy. I
Jebe
It's WrestleMania weekend. It's all wrestling today.
Ovo je
Wow.
sjeblo, anybody,
I'm loving
sjeblo
it.
ga
I'm
je
loving it.
Crazy.
Just don't take the mask off. Keep it on.
Još
Vitality
ćemo
have lost
umret.
Gedrox.
Ko?
And I don't know when that happened.
Anybody's.
Oh no. I didn't know. I didn't see either.
Još i
That's
vazevi
rough.
pula po iz leđa.
So once again, Vitality playing as 3 from the start of the game. You don't want to leave it up to those last few games of the day either. That's a really bad spot to place yourself in. Where you're down to
Skontaj
the
Hall
claw.
0 bodova,
I mean,
ti dva
for
game.
Seoul yesterday, they did a fantastic job to really bring things back into the fold
Brate,
and
koliko sporo idu
jump up
game.
to first place.
7 i 12
But
je
that's not a
odigran jedan game samo.
Yeah,
Znaš što se dešava.
he drove into no tag team because
To već treba bude treći
generally
game.
is going to be that kind of like scout as well as
Počeo
Agile
imaš
to be able to try and
deli
get them to where they
15
want to be, but he ran straight to no
Svejedno.
tag team north of Los Leones, way
I
away
dalje
from
je
the rest of
Čekaj,
Vitality.
Bile
So,
dvoba
yeah,
game
that is
su
tough.
bildili.
That's a crazy. That's a hike. That's not a scout.
That's a long
He's
way.
just gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to even get towards him. You wonder if
Yoga
the
bi
ship
mogla
is
da
a
uleti
early
fight
picked
sa
up,
ovim
or if no
Turcima.
tag team has destroyed that. We'll wait and see. Storm Request also making their way in. A lot of teams trying to center up here on the edge of Los Leones, which is absolutely fair considering the position. Not want to head into Los Leones too early, but there's always the chance that it does head over this way. Speaking of, I quite like S2G's position on this. I think that this offers them a lot of approaches they can take on the game. I think this is fairly strong position to play, even if you do get this western shift on the circle. Yeah, this is a nice spot for them. Hopefully, it doesn't all come crumbling down like Jenga from last game.
Yeah, Los Leones edge, not bad at all. Now, you can see Vitality moving around here on this northeast side of Los Leones. I think they were taking to the high ground to see if they could see across if no tag team had left, or, you know, they might be tracking the blue chip on them if it's in their bags or something like that. But anyway, no tag team, still embroiled in a little bit of fighting at the moment. Shield Wildcats just driving on by. Duffy finds Crossberg, though. And
Duffy je dobar igrač.
Wildcats, they cannot be taking these casualties early. I understand that so many teams wanted to kind of be in and around Los Leones, but if teams are set up on the edge of it, it's very difficult to just crash into those buildings and hope for the best.
You're getting here late, right? You are getting here late.
For sure.
You'd imagine with a circle like this and a plane like this that a lot of teams are already in position, ready to go on the sidelines. Nice little pick up on the P90 there. Lovely stuff.
Vrata natrpao 300 metara.
Bard's going to be enjoying that one for construction workers. And for construction workers, we really do want to see better out of them. I think they've been trying to game the system a little bit too much where they go for these early plays where they're trying to hold out teams, get some advantage. I think that they could easily just play into the late game and have a strong match. Crossberg does finally go down there from O'Connell. Bushido Wildcats try to get some kind of revenge off the back of it, but it's not meant to be.
Yeah, Metabay almost using it as a pseudo bait, right? Because there was no way he was going to be able to make the cross to Crossberg to actually get him up. So maybe just waiting.
Ja sam mislio da je umro, ali zapravo nije ni ušao da je, bio bi Siv da je umro.
But not going to be the case. They are a little bit split across the positions there. Bushido Wildcats.
Jebi ga, kod je gore zona imamo Yoga Bonita vrhunski game, a kod je dolje zona imamo Nailu vrhunski game.
Bushido Wildcats made a really big deal out of picking up Code Marco with a video in a warehouse where they kidnapped someone and put, you know, showing him off and all this kind of stuff. Like, kind of got him into the roster, and it's understandable because he's one of the bigger names. I don't think maybe I'm getting the context slightly wrong. They forced him to play against his will.
They stole him.
No.
What the hell? Is he strapped down to his seat?
I think he might have been. No, but the point is that he's for sure one of the bigger names in Turkish PUBG at the moment. So I'm not too surprised that they made a big deal about that pickup. It was a little while ago. My memory's fuzzy.
That's fine. That's fine. What we know is that Code Marco.
Izgleda mi da Kristal je apsolutno zna da je Code Marco tu. I misle su da namjerno krešao. E sad, da li zna da su dvojice, to je pitanje.
Not the most PG topic, but whoa, that's a
Gledajte ju što se
south
pretvorilo ovaj.
Wow, look at that shift on the circle.
Opa, odličan shift za najlup, samo da ne umre
Let's
sad.
talk about that.
Crikey, PGG set up nicely for this one. And they're taking
Dobre,
shots
dobre.
towards construction workers as they move in, but it's quite rocky terrain here in terms of everything around it, but players at this level can hit those shots and ooh, it's looking a little bit
Dobro,
dicey
igraće
here for
najlup iz
Nate,
Resorta,
but
ovo
he
može
does
biti baš
find an
dobro.
anchoring point for the rest of the squad. Unfortunately for them,
Ovo iskreno može biti
PGG
baš
knows
dobro.
this.
Yep, they know exactly where they are. PGG has been very condensed on this one compound. I understand it though. It's
Jebi ga, Yoga doing Yoga stuff.
Here against Bushido Wildcats. What can JOGA BONITO actually do? This
Bravo,
is what they're known
Kiki.
for. Marco does get traded against though. And
Celtic
Celtic's
the
going to
nade.
try and come in and get a little bit of salvage. Charging up a nade from across the way here on the concrete.
But
Seeing if
that's
he can do
fine.
anything with it. Should try and post it maybe through the top window
Nodi
here.
kick protiv
Tatten's down.
Celtic.
Marco's gone as well. It's a vert nade from Nodi. I love seeing this play coming out. If it can actually connect, it's such a surprise. But no, Nodi's actually naded himself. Did he run into the
Šta je Nodi
concrete after
uradio?
Ti
vert
sebe
nading?
ne idu.
Please,
No jebo ga
That
sunce.
is embarrassing, to say the least.
Or it bounced weird. I don't know.
It might have bounced weird.
Yeah,
it might have
right.
been right
Oh,
off the
yeah,
top. You know, he got the coin right on the edge as he went for the flip, which is super unlucky.
Pa Dino,
Either
nemoj
way,
posljednji
Bushido
dan ga
Wildcats
ne
and JOGA
idu.
BONITO now in a
A ne možeš ti,
1v1,
brate.
one player down.
Ne
and
možeš
Noddy's
ti,
fall
ovi
back
momci
into the
mogu
building.
film da prave.
Stun
O
grenade
stvari koje se njima
grenade,
desi.
a little of that sound
Film
Nije,
i to da
jebo,
bude
ja ne
najgledaniji.
mogu da dođe.
guy on the
A
top.
gledao ga što
O,
radi s ovim blue
To je
zone.
dobro. Brate, sebe bizio.
See what he can do.
Šta najče
Blue
dignuće
zones
Nodije?
forwards, smokes forwards as well. Try and do
Diže
something.
Nodija,
Also,
lagano.
Quizzy punched out Medabay in the north of
Johnny
Los Leones.
Ubizio.
I'm wondering if he like
Nije,
needed a
pa
vest.
failo je, da je
Oh.
pogodio
Something
Busy
like
ubio
that.
bi.
Just wanted to try and
Failo je
leap
podije vrata
afterwards, but
Busy.
They're
Ja
totally
mislim da ga
stuck
pogledam.
here.
Šta ja
And
gledam?
Vitality, after that punch out against Medabay, is now coming along to try and see what they can do about this. A third party would almost be perfect for them. There are some advantage of angles that you can get against this concrete. It would be
Oh,
quite
I'm
easy,
having
but
a
we're
bite
charging
soup.
up this nade.
Ništa.
This hits. It might hit. Oh,
It's an awkward one, especially as a
Ooh, that
solo
back
player,
solo
getting the
solo
lineups with the
like-
nades where you sort of want to have two nades going at the same time, right? Where you can clear out both of those.
Gle
walls.
Varda šta je napravio.
Oh.
Construction workers, Vard going crazy over towards X-How.
Evo te home 0 bodu.
Gets a 3-man off the back of that one. That's lovely for them. And they're in a strong spot, getting past PGG there, now set themselves up on the north side of Resort. They've got a lot of options available.
Evo te kako se ovi
Now,
četvrčići raspadnu
zone
kad
back
ih
in on
banuje.
this, because Vitality, if they can get over here, there's a bunch of util that's unused that they could be going in towards the late game, and damn that they'll need it coming in from the edge.
Yes, they will, unless
Oh, najlup, ali je
knocked
knocknuo sam.
everybody uses the rest that they
A
have
staje da
available.
smo banovali.
Hey,
Od najjačeg
there's some
igrača
dead
postao
bodies
najgori.
over here as well.
Yeah.
Isto star za
He
Florizu.
does not want
Florizu
to
od kad
move.
smo ga banali ne
And,
liči na sebe.
Unfortunately, well, thankfully for Celtic, he's got a blue zone jammer pack.
Bukvalno
but
ih
the
samo
circle's gonna be
boostaju ove
quite a
dobre.
ways away from him. It's only early
Upali su te
circles, though,
dobre
so it's not
timove i
really ticking
boostaju.
too hard. They're okay with the idea of stalemating it out here for a sec. And I guess we'll check back in when there's some aggression coming on him, because Vitality's also still sat around there waiting for the eventual leave of whoever wins that fight.
Yeah, it's an annoying one for Vitality because you're sort of at the mouse hole, right? You're waiting for them to pick their heads out, and they're just not going to do it. They're absolutely not going to do it. So we're playing a bit of Tom and Jerry on the northern side for Vitality. Next circle does come through, heads over towards the east. So once again, very good for construction workers as well as PGG.
Yeah, they're making the move. They're not Cristiani. See if anything else
Cristiani.
can happen here. Hello, my bad.
Cristiani.
Gonna be moving on in
Cristiani.
aggressively against this. I think they still don't know exactly though where they are. So
Dobre.
actually just peeking around the corner.
Dobar.
Oh, with the smoke down,
Razdali
with the
se, ali
sawn off,
Celtic
goes
i
for the
dalje
double
živi.
shot. It will rip people
A
apart
mrtvi
if they're
su,
there, but
kako su
Celtic
istrelovali.
u fazonu,
Just
nemojte mene.
Celtic hears a few footsteps unless he's too close to that smoke that's on the backside of him, and seeing exactly what he can get done. But now both teams realize, Vitality's closing in. They're closing the jaws on this position.
Yeah, I mean, they can't wait, right? I think this is good from Vitality, where they understand they need to take the initiative on this engagement. It's not worth it for them to wait around for too long. They have Gedrox looking for an anchor position for them. At least on the outside edge, JOGA BONITO will find Levante from Vitality. Hello, my bad, though, will finish off Cristalni.
Ne, to...
One player
comes
still
down.
up, and it's a good spray.
Yeah, hell on my back cleans it up. And actually, what is very interesting from all of that is no tag
Bora,
team
bro,
did
da
not
trećem
pick up
licu.
Gedrox's chip. So that means Vitality was able to
Aj,
find it in the north
Celtica,
of Los
Celtic,
Leones
gledam
and
kako
get him
su
back
bili
up
unutra.
and see what they can actually get done from there. Who's actually landed on the south side of Los Leones and try and get a little bit
znam,
of loot
ali-
here whilst the rest of them are moving on in.
Celtic je
They should have enough meds to
četvrti,
be able to
jevi
make
ga,
this
znaš.
work. This was a good cleanup by Vitality. Exactly what they needed to keep themselves in
Ima
better
3
spirits in
frsta.
that first game.
Yeah, and they absolutely
Znaju
know
da
there's
nego
one player still in the
Trebalo
game.
bi da
There's no
znaju,
reason
ali
that Joga
ko
Bonito
to
would
zna,
be
brate.
holding out
Ne,
on
ne
those
izgleda
guys
mi kao da...
upstairs for so
Pa
long.
flashali su malo prije.
So they're looking to clear them
Pa
out
da.
as best they can. If not, they could just leave.
Ja vidim da ih
It
boli
maybe
kurac,
not worth it
očigledno.
for them to stick around for so long. It's a great timing getting Gedrox up too as well, Kale, because he gets a huge scout
Ja ne
across
bi
the
da toliko
entirety
krivi.
of the circle, ends up on that northeast side.
Pa
Now
da,
the
ali
rest
ide
of the team
phase
can
4,
move
nema
over.
healova.
Now, not a care in the world, knowing
ima
that
na
that
njima,
is
jer
a
nokovi
free
nisu
position to
uzeli.
pick
A
Ma,
up.
uzeli su.
They just need to take a little bit of loot with them potentially in the boot to hand over towards Gedrox. But yeah, this is great. This is really, really good for Vitality. A much better game.
Yeah, it's a legit thing you've identified there because actually he'll have been able
Sad
to
ćemo da imamo
see the
shift.
entirety of that south of the road.
Nemoj,
there,
gdje?
and
Gdje će
there
ga
is a
dići?
dip that was eventually filled in on the cross section
stvarno,
on the
nemoj
road
gdje.
that's just a little bit south of him, but
A
he
fali mi
knows
negdje
that
revive
there's no
negdje.
team there. Like, so there's definitely
Na ovom
somewhere
dijelu
for them to
mape.
play. Considering the rest of
Mada
the
ima i
circles
na
basically
Ivasu, ne
taken, so
fali, ima i
it's
dovoljno.
very fortuitous that all of that is clear for them to try and work out.
Yeah. Either planned or it's just a happy miracle. But either way, I think for Vitality, they get a lot of utility on board as well whilst all that happens. Looking
eto
down
mu,
towards
otvorila mu
Yo,
se
they
strana.
actually have a 2-2 split going on. I think this is the first time I've actually seen Yo in a fairly strong position on the map where they can really call the shots. A lot of times
Odlična
Yo's
zona
been
za
coming in from the
najlupa.
outer edge and been struggling to
Ne, nije,
get
mislio sam da ga ovaj
O,
izbacio.
ja sam mislio da ga je Marčel izbio.
Ja isto.
That's a nice shot.
Yeah, making a send here and trying to crash
Ono,
into
paneli
the
team.
This is almost retribution maybe
No,
for
ja
Levante.
rekao je
It's just
druže,
take down
kill
O'Connell.
Gordon.
There's going to be shots coming in as well. From that side, Levante gets a second. Marcel is down here from Boars, though.
Predobro.
Levante doing what he usually does. Again, like considering what we saw from them yesterday, that's just not symptomatic of normal Vitality gameplay. As Quizzy does finish him off, O'Connell. So it's a bit of recovery going on from Vitality, but they're not out of the woods yet because the circle shifts south of them, so they need the kills and they need to.
Odmah ide na njega, gledam.
Yeah, they do. It's a great vengeance play, though, right? Over towards No Tag Team, taking on the Gedrox from earlier on. For Team Vitality, trying to squeeze out a little bit more space to work with. But eventually, like, where do they go from here? Because I think right now for them, it's most beneficial to go for the southeast. It's close. It is close. If he'd aimed it slightly higher.
Čak i uzije da je pogodio
Shots
Vigo.
though, Gedrox. MP5. Actually getting some good work
Čubote
done.
vidio, on njih dobio iz plave zone
Levante
majke.
going very low, Quizzy down, Gedrox down. It's all up to him now.
Celtic!
Evo ga Celtic, brat.
Celtic, he comes back!
Celtic uzeo još jedan bod.
From the jaws of death,
On je probudio
Celtic in
solo
from
onaj
the
što
blue,
ostao
was watching
Celtic.
him driving in
Pa
behind them, and I
znam,
was
probudio
concerned
se,
about that. And
Celtic
he's
ima-
just put
Dosta je
in the
pio
boot
kasno.
Celtic
against
im je 2
Vitality.
boda
What
donio.
an absolute palaver
I pitanje
for
dokle će sad
Vitality.
ići.
They are down and done. This is not enough points for them in 2 games, that's for sure. They're going to be looking for a lot more in the next couple. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Najlupava ekipa ima
Again,
super
it
zonu.
feels like that fight doesn't have to take place until the circle shift potentially, but as well as leaving Celtic behind, like eventually he's going to make his way in. For Bushido Wildcats, they're loving life. This has been an incredible play from Celtic.
This ain't over yet. McIntosh knows that there's somebody behind here and he wants to get rid of him as well. Tries to hit him with the Molotov. Doesn't quite connect though. Eventually, he is going to have to come back around here. 4 first aids available. A few bandies. Going to flash, try and delay Celtic and maybe put some pressure on him. If he does delay him, it means that Celtic's going to have to try and be healing through all of this on the other side of that container.
Oh, he's just picked up all of his team's util back up from Vitality, so maybe he can last out a little bit longer. It's been a grand re-exchange of items coming through on that northern side of the map. In the meantime, this is always a really interesting part of the map to watch play out, honestly. McIntosh is just going for it, though, with the S12K, and will take him down. He'll leave out for the back of it.
He knew he was done. The auto shot, I can't believe. Also suppressed, by the way, and I love the way the suppressor looks on it because it's so chunky. But a big hard shift south once again. PGG is going to be laughing on that compound. We said that they were quite condensed on that position, and anything south of them is very open in that field. So And there's going to be a lot of tests for those teams in the north to try and make something happen in this game.
I always hate playing this part of the map because you get to that moment where you start calling that you need to play behind a red tractor. And as soon as you hear the call to play out behind a red tractor, you know you're in the bin. Right, that's not a fun thing to be calling out, honestly. So for PGG, great position for them. Always strange to play this part of the map. I was trying to say it earlier, but it's staging, right? It's all downhill, which is always very, very weird to play. For TMO, they do find themselves in position. They've been through the ringer this game, but somehow come out looking fairly good on this south side of the map. Ascend also looking to keep up the point scoring from their last game, playing on this southwest side. For them, mostly it's about just holding out the northwest. Those teams coming across the road there.
And the northeast is also lighting up as well, because I think
Pixel,
the way in which he just transitioned, I think S2G is not happy with it. The fact that he's been able to move down there, they were taking shots and they couldn't dislodge him at all. That said, though, here on the north boards is trying to do something. What can they get done? I mean, a lot of what I think should happen here is they should just shoot at everything, try and get a kills, because it's going to be very difficult to get into these next circles, as this crate is down south. MG3 potentially for some of these. Construction Workers is waiting for the S2G cross. Here with the P90 doing a lot of work here. Schiller goes down. Perfect shots coming in from Vard. There's basically no recall on the P90 here for him to be able to make it on work.
Yeah, it's really well play shots at distance with the P90. Gets him down. Causes a lot of pressure here for Construction Workers. Vard basically holding out the entire side of that road. Fex is already left. Pixel's already down on the south side too. Yo is getting some good work done at the moment. Cappy finds shots over towards balls, and Michael is able to finish off Higgs.
Smokes getting themselves set up here, trying to delay all of the aggression that may be coming their way. There is still balls here. Marshall trying to get things done. I mean, he was able to be rezzed by all of this. S2G now pushing on around this corner here to try and shut down Yo. James, though! James himself from the previous game. That is a massive hold coming out from the veteran.
That is the best James has looked for the past 6 weeks, by the way. And again, I really do think that for Yo, they need a confidence boost there. Potentially, this is the injector of a game to make that one happen. They do need to come down from that north side, though. It is worrying. It is tough. They're walking into the welcoming arms of with a lovely nade.
Yeah, very important. Vard gone means no P90 looking down the sights at them at all. Marcel's gone as well here. So Yo on this edge play, 7 kills to their name. Are they going to be able to win out the war in the north? It's not over just yet, though. Construction Workers is going to want some revenge on the fight that was going down. And STS Starry Skies on that far side. PGG is laughing with this compound at the moment. If they can hold it on strong, it's going to be up to them and the Mythov down towards the bottom. Unless Ascend's got something to say about it. Unless they can wrap around on that position from the Mythov.
Yeah, so far it's been a fairly easy game. Mortars already being pitched up by PGG. Going to be absolutely dastardly out in those fields when players do need to eventually make their way there. For Yo, though, what a wonderful game this has been for them so far. Really good. Presenti, though, with his mortar, lining this one up.
So the distance on the map, I think the angle's not right. I think it's going to hit just a little bit towards the camera here compared to actually hitting on them. Did you shoot? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's way off camera. So the angle was just not exactly correct on that, unfortunately. But anyway, Construction Workers still trying to hold off against Yo here on their position. Let's see if Yo wants to get aggressive on this. Michael's charging up a nade. I think he realizes where that smoke may have come from. Nope, not quite.
Oh, it's a great molly though over towards Pixel. He's down. Now Fex. That's actually coming through from Micah. Coming through from TMO here. But James will find himself. It's Cappy to find Fex. James falls to his own Molotov. It's in the smoke, okay? It's acceptable. He's just saying to everyone that he's on fire this game, and he is.
Yeah, I gotta pick him up though. Can't really get the res off there straight away. Gonna put him in the back of the car and try and drive that on in.
He's already moved.
Yes, so he's going to try and be the anchor point, and they need to get to there so that they can actually get this res off as quickly as possible. Shots coming in from PGG to try and delay that, and it looks like they should be able to get this res. Oh, Slow Jacket, though, with a brilliant nade around the corner there against Cappy. That almost clipped all 3 of them.
That was ridiculous, the way that one bounced, but PGG knows that they're under pressure. Sloy goes down to PWD and is flushed out, I believe, or extremely low at least.
Sve će podići, brate.
Yo can reset off the back of this.
Open down on that downhill position. Cappy getting rezzed up. James now rezzed up as well. This is exactly what Yo needed
Treba nam
after
pod
that
hitno dobar
disastrous
game
game
Joge.
number 1. Even flexing out is Michael here.
Bilo bi idealno sljedeći.
Čega máme
Malo
očekivati
lakše diže.
Moment's close. So he's actually going for a reload. Oh, and it's a disaster for Michael there, but Presenti helping out the situation. They're actually getting the flush from Keta in the distance with the Car 98.
It's all over the place at the moment. Starry Skies, though, will be backed off. For Yo, the Michael really did not expect him to be as close as he was. But PWD has opened up a really good opportunity there. PGG losing that one player is a real disaster for that squad. Being a four-man, it's a lot easier to hold this position. You can see there's so many points of entry here that Yo could go for now because they're free.
It for sure gives them an opportunity to crash on that northeast side of the compound. It's still a bit exposed though, and that's why they're trying to deal with Starry Skies first. Because if you try and move down there with Starry Skies still looking at it away, you might end up Ascend has decided to be able to wrap around on this west side, on the north side. That is so many nades, so many flashes coming on in. If they're throwing that many flashes, they're going to be pushing quite aggressively. Nitro to stay down Keta, though, pushes aggressively. It's up to good old Killia Kai, but Nitro in a second, shutting him down. Here comes in Yo from the backside, though. It's a big sandwich, and Starry Sky is toast.
Really good timing coming through from Yo as well. They're up to 12 kills on this game. Potentially 14 if they can find these two. Can be through from Ascend from just behind this smoke. But they're looking to clear out even more. They have left the backstop in Michael. He's watching over towards PGG, making sure that they don't make a move during all of this chaos. So far, though, Yo is looking amazing. Dragon over towards Michael. Does take him down. James luckily finds Keta as a bit of revenge, but they might need to double back here.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that wrap around there from Yo is that Zubila actually moved up on the north side, kind of where Yo had abandoned. So he might be looking for a backstab up there, but this has opened up an opportunity for Storm on request. When Zubila abandoned, there's so many moves going on in this game. It's really cool that Storm on request has taken high advantage of the fact that this was abandoned by Zubila. Perfect timing by them as well.
I think it's one of the situations where Michael maybe could have just stayed in that location and waited for the rest of Yo to come back. But there is always the idea that potentially there was a call from Yo that you need to wrap back down towards. We're going to play on this western side. Storm request moving in. It's a big test now for PGG. 3 players up against the 4 who are starting to move into the building. But because they've been in this location for so long, they knew it come down to close quarters. So they have shotguns on board.
Nades through the smoke, perfect for Chris, but at the same time a wrap damage against his Chris, and he does make it work. Ascend goes down. I feel like the entirety of the lobby has been mashing their keyboard, sweating, and the TMO are in the south side just like listening to music, chilling, having a great time. Nothing's going on down there.
I mean, that's crazy from Cappy. The roll up in the drive-by, switch C, gets out, grabs the second player, basically saves his team from getting knocked out in 4th. Really, really well done. And now Yo can continue onwards. TMO, though, looking to have a look in. And I think because they're so low right now, they're still rezzing players. This is rough stuff for them.
So much also shotgun in this game, just waiting for people to come into this compound round. That would be an insane. Oh, it's an insane! It's a big one! Justice with a 3-piece on the 1 nade alone. I can't believe it. And for Yo,
here comes
the auto shotgun. Trade off with the Panzerfaust as well. What is this game? It's bonkers.
Same second as that final shot comes through, he loses. The Panzerfaust, it is absolutely striking how cool this game is so far. Now looking out for the vehicles, watching for a little switch towards the side.
Mislim, znaš šta je problem? Znaš šta je sjebalo? Onaj nade što su nokali vazu. Da Ascend nije noko vazu, Ascend ne bi krenuo u push jer je nenormalno težak push. Razumiješ? I onda bi ti Ascend ostao tamo s te strane, vazo bi ti čistio Kapijevu ekipu i ovi TMO ne bi nikad vinali. A zbog toga što je Ascend pušao vazu, TMO vina meč.
I just don't know how everything has gone so absolute insane on the north side, and still Storm on request has been able to do a brilliant job of backfilling the position that they wanted to, even though they only had 1 kill, so it was kind of fine for them as well. And the Mythos has just been dancing in this game. Like, just, not much has been going on. They got 1 kill before this, 1 nade, bish bash bosh. They're in the middle of the field, having a royally good time here.
Trying to call, that's what they've been doing.
Ja gledam.
Some request tries to go for a bit of a
Zašto je lik
cheeky
isto?
run out, but Zabilla
Nije
very
znao
much on
ga
the
na prvu
case with this
100%.
one.
Ja sam mislio da svi
will need to move next, but it's a nasty molly up on high, and Zabilla
I ubio ga
is
molly.
completely flabbergasted by it.
Htio da deny, ali ga je Molly
I feel
završio
this
prije.
game was higher level gameplay than yesterday games. It's been really a treat here on Miramar. Miramar oftentimes provides Maker and He-Man as well. Just shooting at everything that comes from this compound. They know exactly what they have to do to hold these angles, hold this line of sight. Pozan here tries to post a nade towards He-Man. And actually, that's an amazing nade here.
Koji nade
I
je
didn't think I was going to get
Ben?
him, but it did.
Right off the side, there's a Molotov to keep him down, but another nade will be sent through, and TMO is suffering
Koji
to
nade
shrapnel, but
jebate,
it's sent
že.
their way on this side,
Ako pošli
underneath
scenarij da
the
ovi sjebo.
railings at
Ma
the
nema
moment.
šansi dalje.
The Doritos are in place, though. Save this one for this very moment. He-Man, though, being that off angle, losing him, it's pretty bad, and he's going to go down to a blue zone grenade here as well, so there's no picking him back up.
Izgubili su glavnog
He goes
liga.
far, he
Tek
almost
sad
runs
vidim.
directly into it there, Kale.
Mika's super lucky on that maneuver, or just very aware of what is
Ali
going
dalje imaju
on.
baš
Moves to the
prednost
second
terena,
smoke,
iskreno.
moves towards the wheels.
Mogu
The
ili
wheels
ovo
are
i
something
des.
in these fields that gives you some of the most cover in all of the fields, so they are very powerful. A little bit of edge on the blue zone here. We'll be able to heal through this if he needs be. He's charging up his own blue zone as well, waiting for Storm on request to try and make a little maneuver up on their east side here.
I mean, Panzerfaust's still in his hands at the moment. Sending a couple out, trying to create as much distraction, as much chaos as possible. Force them at that location. They have to swing to the side. Micah now going for a bold play.
It was on the wheel.
Šta im radi ili bomba?
Ali
Ali i dalje Justice ima prednost.
A
sad više nema.
Both have got themselves to the deployable cover. What can Justice do here? Goes for a little bit of flash. Both go for the flash. They're thinking of exactly the same plays here. Blind at the moment. He's in the smoke. He's going to try and go for the wraparound. I don't think he realizes. I don't think he realizes.
A prevelika je prednost bila, ali zamalo da prodaje.
What a game coming in.
Ovaj kapije životinje, mu mali izvijest.
Excitement here. And it will be the Mythov from the fields blank taking the game.
Oh, Justice pulls a prestige on him at the end there as well. Oh my days, a magician. Wraps back around, teleports behind him. Nothing personal, son. What a play. What a game. This has been a very exciting Miramar here at the PEC Championships.
Yeah, I got to tone it down. I've got 4 games to cast today. That was that was some bonkers stuff coming in from day 2 of PEC. I mean, from the start to finish, be it the concretes, be it everybody trying to move in from Los Leones, be it the fields, it was just excellent. Let's get Avenger back on, have a chat with him about everything that was going down here, Avenger, because this was awesome.
Yeah, another case of me missing out on a Miramar. That's an absolute banger, guys. Holy. I don't even need to say anything, but yo, what a game from those guys, though, guys. That was insane. 16 kills to boot here, but I'll say this, though. TMO was gifted this game by Ascend going out and trying to get kills that they shouldn't have. They had that southern side locked down. They were 4 guys alive, but then they messed up on Star's guy. They lost 2 guys, then Yo can sweep in, get the 3 knocks, and then a pull-up from Cappy that was insane.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice to wrap around on that northwest side, because I thought eventually Ascend was going to try and hit the position down on the south against the Mythov, but it never materialized. It never came, and because of that, yeah, as you say, the Mythov had a very easy south side to be able to work with. Down to the wire at the end, though, here, Blank, considering that just kind of the little cheeky moves around the deployable cover towards the end. Oof.
I know, it's such a fun game, and like you were saying, the level of play was really high on this one. The stun grenades going back to back there, Justice also on the sidelines. What a fun match to watch overall. I couldn't have been more pleased to have watched this one.
16 kills, though, go the way of Yo, and it all came off the back of that start from James, who really opened up the floodgates for it, didn't he? Being able to wipe out an entire team, basically, as the rest of the team was jostling for position and then shutting down construction workers. So a very important game, Avenger, for Yo, and showing what they're made of.
Yeah, this is exactly what we expected of them. You know, if they had played yesterday, this is also the kind of style that we expected of them. But they're not here until today, and they've shown up. Wow.
Joj,
20
brate,
points
mora
in,
Yoga da
in
odigra
one
malo
game,
bolje,
obviously.
brate, da nam
I
bude
felt
zanimljivije
like,
i zbog njih.
tasted it like a little bit more. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna
Brate,
do
njima
30
treba
points.
top 5,
They're gonna
znaš,
win.
ono,
They're gonna get 20
ne treba
kills.
njima
Like,
top
but
8, nego im
yeah, they
treba
got
top 5.
stopped. It was a little bit rough. Obviously smart
Nego
from
ajde kao,
TMO
znaš,
to come in
tek je
and try to make
dva
a push
meča, ali
for it.
presporo
They got
sve
the
ovo
rests
ide.
off though. Like, they
Utiče
were
na
3
njih
up, but
100%.
that nade when they have
Previše se
3
čeka,
guys had
previše se
effectively 10
čeka.
HP,
I onda
right?
kad
Which
umreš
is one
rano,
nade
a
and
oni
they're
su umrli
gone.
rano
Really
2
well played
puta.
by TMO, to clean it up.
Problem
Also
je,
clean
problem je
everything up
naći
towards the
formu.
end.
Yeah, jeez, that game drained me a bit. I need to recuperate just a little bit more.
Get an energy drink.
It's crazy.
Pogledaj to, znači ovako kad vidite kao 6000 ljudi gleda PUBG, jel? A zapravo 2200 ljudi gleda PUBG, a 2100 gleda Pokamoloda, je ono.
He did need this. I think that it has been it's such a struggle for a player like him going through the cups and not finding the success.
Kako braća pokušavaju da sakriju činjenicu da to što su prešli na TPP gubi im igrače. Ja se vi sjećate da su oni ikad ovo uradili kad je FPP bio ono kao da stave ovaj co-stream, nikad, nego je uvijek bila samo main cifra. I uvijek je bilo oko 5-6k ljudi. I sad kad su prešli na TPP 2,2k. Skoro 4 puta manje. Tri puta manje.
Do you agree with what Blank was saying? Of course, like losing one early and not having the most stalwart
Ajde,
grip
barem
of
nisu
that
bot.
compound
Ja
makes it
sam
very
mislio
difficult
jučer
when
da su
teams like
botovi,
Storm
jer
are
mi nije
requesting
bilo
to start
logično
moving
da
in. Everybody's
PGS
happy at
gleda
moving.
5000 ljudi, a da 5 gleda ono 8000 ljudi. Nije mi bilo logično. A zapravo nisu bili botovi, nego ovo rade. Spoje sve ove kanale. Znači, bukvalno uzmu spoje sve ove kanale koji streamaju PUBG i PUBG.
It's super difficult, especially how everything works out and how you can approach it quite easily. I was hoping for a big game for BGG here. I was like, damn, this when you're like calling the southern shift, sure,
Oni
we had
bukvalno
some,
uzmu
like, we
spoje
had some
sve
build-ups,
ove
but the
kanale
southern
koji
shift that
gledaju
actually
official
centered the compound,
stream
I was like, okay,
i kao
this
zbroje
is a
zajedno
huge
koliko
game.
ljudi
But
gleda.
then everything happened outside their kind of peripheral vision or anything.
Ja sam stvarno mislio da su botovi jučer, zašto nije bilo logika, ali sad vidim šta rade. Znaš, bukvalno nisu botovi, sve i dalje fair legit, ali ga fejkaju i dalje, zato što ovo nisu radili kad je FPP bio. Jer da su oni radili ko stream dok je FPP bio, znači, evo sad, znači sad gleda 6000, a PUBG gleda, main kanal gleda 2000.
We love the mistakes, we love those.
Što znači da 4000 ljudi su dodali, otprilike. Jel? Tako da neki isti odnos na FPP bilo je preko 12-13 hiljada.
Be careful, maybe we can get crash. One cube, just go back.
Try to finish on yellow.
You can maybe see him outside. I think he crawled inside actually. I don't see him.
Did his teammate stop? Car coming.
He's behind the bus.
Got him.
I got the kill.
One left side. He's playing TPP, yes, exactly there, on your flash. We love the mistakes.
And that is no tag team here trying to make something happen from that north side. Interesting to listen to the comms and hear once they'd taken down Gedrox, they were still very cautious about how this was all going to go down. This was that kill as Gedrox was going for the scout,
dobar
and they
game
were
Yoge,
still saying,
čekamo dobar
we
game
could be
Yoge.
crashed, we could be
Da
crashed.
najavimo dobar game
So
Yoge.
making sure they were crossing their T's and going that
Njima
way.
ovaj game treba.
That's the thing with Lost Leon is it's so big. There's so
Da,
much
treba
information to
ovaj
kind of go through, and
Znači,
sometimes
najgore
game
there's
moraju
no
da
way
brani.
to just go through, but
ako budu
you have
morali
to
da
go
se čupaju
cautiously
zadnji
through
game,
it,
baš će
especially
to
with a
biti
zone like this.
kanta.
Your shirt's not close, and we
Ne
are not
želite
close
nikad
to
budete u
resort, but
poziciji da se čupate zadnji
it's a
game, jer
difficult
zadnji
game.
game je
Ako
slow.
hoće,
Ama da
hoće da...
Connor being in a rough spot here.
A nije, svi se
Realno, ovaj format sa 5 mečeva, zadnji meč nije troll, iskreno. Znači, zadnji meč bude troll ako imaš format sa 6 mečeva, jer nakon 6 mečeva ima masu timova koji ne mogu proći, ali nakon 5 mečeva, čak i posljednji, ono uglavnom može proći. Što znači da nema troll. Sa te strane, a sa druge strane imaš ove koji su recimo prva, druga i treća ekipa koja su sigurno prošli, koji će taktizirati i izbacivati nekoga koja se bori, koja ne ivici. Tako da ne želite da se čupate zadnji game.
Grand players inside this lobby that you can't really just
ali ovo
leave
sve tako
someone
sporo
behind
ide da mi
expect
se
that
Kenja,
not to be the
brate.
case.
Bukvalno
When
gledamo
you
već 3
leave someone
sata
behind
ovo.
like that has to be in the
Još
back of
treći
the
meč
mind
nije
for
ovo.
that entire game that they might backstab. In which case Team Vitality taking the fight to no tag team before the circle had even popped. It felt like to me like a little bit of an overzealous approach.
Just stacking up to James, a veteran of the biggest veteran, effectively, of this lobby, as I mentioned at the start of the day. So Justice being able to do quite a lot here for the myth of. Well, gentlemen, that means we are almost ready to be able to jump in to game number 3. So without further ado, let's do it. Avenger, I'll see you in a few. It's me and Blank to round out as we time to Tago. Mr. Blank.
Oh, yes it is. It is time to Tago on the north side, down towards the south. Pretty bog standard, honestly, very bog standard almost as we head in towards this game. But yo, I'd love to see them continue. I'd love to see them continue here. Same for TMO, and I mean, I didn't talk too much about TMO here, but this is the team that's also had like some kind of good moments, but never really reaching those strides. And it's almost it's almost that moment where it's cliche that both of these teams at the same time are popping off in the same game. Like they've both suddenly found their footing and planted their feet in the sand.
They're very serious about progression as well as a team, right? Obviously, they went through some roster changes and stuff like that, did the myth of, I mean, even on Tago here, they've got Palace, for Christ's sake. That's a great drop spot for them to be able to work with. Mika, obviously, is a previous Ascend member, so is no stranger to kind of the higher heights of things like PEC, PCS, and things that were going on in the past as well. So there's some good stuff here from these guys. See exactly how they're going to be able to play things out, and they've got access to a bridge so close if it goes mainland, and it does towards the south.
Dobra zona
Yeah, so they're going to be able to head over that
Ajmo,
way
dečki,
quite
sad
quickly.
djelujemo.
They do have a center face
A
in
evo
front
ga
of
sad
them,
u
but that should
seru.
be absolutely fine. Right now, again, it's getting tight towards the top. There's been some really big games coming out from some of these teams, and they're putting points on the board fast. Some of our squads down towards the bottom of the tables really haven't put up much. You can see here, X-How is currently on a fat goose egg. They've not got a single point over the last 2 games. That is a really rough position to be in, and it's almost so terrible that you're questioning whether they can make it into the top 5 at this point.
And the thing is normally, as we take a look at them in Terminal as well, normally Terminal would be considered an excellent drop spot on Tago, and it still is, don't get me wrong, but for a circle like this, being not even encompassing somewhere like a Terminal, like you still know that you're going to eventually have to try and transition past some teams unless you want to play some edge play here from them. So their trials are not done yet. They are still going to have some things that they're going to have to weather for sure. And see how they're going to do. But one team, no tag team here, doing all right for themselves in the top 4 at the moment. If the count was stopped now, stop the count, Black, stop the count. They would be making it through.
I do think, you know, going back and having to think about that Erangel game, potentially it's almost annoying for myself, where I think that, yeah, they were going for that survival play. And I said at the start of the day is that consistency is probably your best bet. And immediately I was like, oh, no, I want the team to do more. I want them to do more. So I'd already gone back on my word. So I'm sorry for that. But for no tag team, well done to them.
Izgubljenom vremenu I prostoru tuga.
Considering how they played in the cups to really dial in on what is today's goal, which is just to get to the top 5. It's not about first place. It's just about remaining at the top side of the lobby. Now, another team that, you know,
postoji razlika zašto mi gledamo oni igraju. I nećeš ništa reći.
I think for them, you know, being on 11 points, they're getting quite deep into a lot of these games and
Znači,
playing
ovo su
fairly
lobby.
well, and they're doing it and playing
Evi
to
ga, da
the
izgubimo
strengths
vremenu,
of the
prostor ne bi
format.
igrao ovdje.
We'll see if they can get further into these matches. I
Nemojte
think they
takve
are
stvari pričati.
crumpling some teams when they go up against the likes of like
Lako je
Ascend,
ono
which
pričat
are
loše,
currently on
znaš.
top right now, and rightly so.
Lako je,
They've
strado
been playing
gledaš.
very, very well since even game 4-5 yesterday.
Kao da ove lobije lako igrat.
So far, and they do have access to what is effectively some like quite decent.
Isto tako juče kad smo gledali Vertus Pro, prva 3 meča Vertus Pro nije mogla se poveže. Znači bilo je makar 5 komentara šta je s Virtusom, raspadaju se. I onda Virtus 2 meča ono po 15 kilova i prođe. I onda niko više ništa ne piše.
They're heading towards this bridge as a 4-man. They could catch GTG off here, who have just
želite se čupa zadnji game osim ako niste Redline.
And if they suddenly get bridge camped, the thing is that normally
Redline
you would
voli
scout
da se
across,
čupa zadnji
and it
game.
really depends on if you take the kind of high ground or low ground bridge, because there's 2 bridges here.
Realno,
So
treba
Iron
im
5, I think, was
45
scouting.
bodova.
But if this bridge camp happens, my dear, Jesus.
Kome?
I mean, they're going to wait out a little bit for sure.
Ja mislim, ali
Really
sad
take the time. I think for Ascend,
Koliko
they're
juče
actually on
treba?
positions where it's a little bit
Pa
harder to see them on the
hoću.
scout, but
Koliko
it
5
depends
juče
whether
imam.
no Ghetto Gang actually spotted them as they were rocking up. But no tag team, I think the
Spring
e-pick was
Day,
completely
1-5
fair.
imao 38,
Reasonable to go
what
for
the
here
fuck.
to try and get it towards his zone. They're very, very far away in
Mislim
dot.
ima više.
To get
Prvi
towards his
imao
position,
47.
there's a lot
Pa da,
of
na
cheeky
40.
areas you can jump into. Go.
Ali to ti dalje znači da moraju za 20 bodova ovaj.
O, gle ovo, vidio ga je.
T-bone no, looking to take the shots. There's an immediate
O,
spin.
Kako je opet ovo auto mrtvo.
There's no way he survived this.
Ja
Surely
sam
not.
mislio
What's
da je
going
do
on?
mene
They're
kad
on
ja
the
vam
south side, on the
pustila.
bottom side as well of these bridges.
Ali
They
kad
try
vidim
to
da ga i
send a few
T-bone
members
pula.
over, and
Da
there's
ste
some
mi
on the
laki.
other side, and they do lose
Nisam jedini.
IAM 5. An error here, unfortunately, for Ghetto Gang, and now they will be paying the price for it. What's interesting as well, off the back of that, was you were talking about the emergency pickup. Is it so early for no tag team that it looks like it's we're going to find cars on the other side? Emergency pickup compared to timing it out with the circle pop to then react to the circle pop. So
Gle, Yoga ljudi ima fantastičan spot.
Southwest of
Naravno,
or
prvi
even
krug.
towards hospital to
Uvijek
try
je
and
dobro
find
igrat
vehicles
kad
and see what they can get done from there.
birate šta
Yeah, I
ćete
mean,
u prvom
it's totally
krugu.
fair as well to grab vehicles. You need them on a
Imate
circle
mnogo
like this
informacija,
where,
mnogo
there's a
svega.
lot of high ground, a lot of areas where it's a little bit more open. You need the
Ali
vehicles in terms of that impromptu
ništa prvi
cover
krug
to
ne
go
znači
for.
previše.
I
Ne
don't
možeš
think you can
shiftat na
really play
Mars.
it out without them. So I do think like a
Ali dobro,
Southeast
ono,
play off the
početna
back of this
pozicija.
one for no tag team makes complete sense here.
Njihov game, što bi se
The
reklo,
Ghetto
njihov
Gang, it
game
goes
za
very
izgubit.
wrong.
Vidjet ćemo, ljudi, tamo
Sancho,
četvrta
though,
zona je najbitna.
I don't know
Treća zona će nam
how
reći
he
hoće li
can
biti
get
top
hit.
8,
Feels a
četvrta
little
zona
bit
će nam
like
reći
the
mogu li
mask
vina.
almost, where he's bending his body around the bullets. But yeah, well played. Well played. The quick spin out. You know, it almost feels like the intention there was for Sancho to go across and always spin and head back
im
down.
treba?
And the other players going underneath to make it through. It's Chris though was very, very
Mislim, realno
accurate,
to je
very quick on
ono,
the trigger and able to find
on
those
može
players
uzeti
trying to
40
swing out
bodova
towards
ovih
that right hand
koliko
side.
ostalo 2 gejma
So well
sljedeći.
played to Ascend.
Ali
Now they're going to move
opet
down
ono,
knowing that they're not
3
going to
gema
get
su ostala već.
backfilled by
Ovaj i
team
dva.
anytime soon because
Znam,
Ghetto
znam,
Gang
ali
still
računaj
need to regroup.
da se ovaj
The funny thing
završi
about
da ne
Ascend's
uzme
play
20
there is
bodova.
they're shooting at something, is that I think that
A
they
moraju
know
početi
they
igrati,
can
jebi
get
ga, dva
away
loša
with
gejma na
those kinds of
5
plays now,
je
right?
baš
You're
loše.
25 points deep after 2 games.
Oni
So you
moraju
can
sad,
try and make
recimo
some
s
of
ovim
these,
gameom da iščupaju ova dva
more,
loša.
Precise plays
A to,
occur
to ću
other than
reći.
just like,
Čak i
okay,
ako
we're gonna
vinaju,
go
i ako
circle
vinaju
way.
ovaj game, bit će na 20
Try and
poena.
close some of those bridge camps and feel a little less pressure
Znaš,
compared to the
što
rest of the
je
lobby because you're so far ahead
malo.
already.
I dalje
Vertus
malo.
tries to spray every single vehicle that goes past and doesn't hit a bullet. I mean, he'll have hit the cars.
Tako da im treba
just not
ovaj
the
kao
players.
leba.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes back to what Avenger was saying, right? Is today it's 40 points. It's 40 points they're really looking for. So if Ascend can find 15 points with these calculated plays over the next 3 matches,
Da, rozi ljudi, uz njih smo, pa šta bude.
they're loving life. So for them,
Ja
they
stvarno
understand
mislim da
that
je bomba
even if they
ekipa.
drop down to top
A ima i
5,
sutra,
they
da.
can confirm this
A ima i
a little
sutra, ali ne
bit
želim da
earlier
ih gledam
on.
sutra.
For
Iz
this
dva
game, they
razloga.
just
Prvi
need,
razlog
you know,
je
7 or 8
onaj,
points. I've almost said the other thing.
ne
I
želim
did
dve
not
naše
though, so
ekipe da
everyone
gledamo u
give me
situaciji da moraju biti
pat
top
on the
3.
back.
That was close. That was
It
close.
was, yeah.
And I know you're like
Znaš,
16,
ovi moraju
17
proći
years
danas da
old
bi
or
redline
something
prošli
like
sutra.
that. So you
Znam
were,
se da
you were
imamo
almost
redline
there.
i
I
ove da
hate
se
that.
bore sutra za
Ridiculous.
jednu od
You're
3
ridiculous human.
pozicije. Da, sutra je top 3. Sutra su
Naravno,
poslednje
to
ove
je-
ekipe.
Pause yet because I know that Hello
Juče je već
Senpai is on
trebala
that team and
proći.
you're a big weeb. You like weeb
Da, juče su
things.
baš prodali. Ali otprilike su prodali juče ko su danas prodali ova dva.
You can't
Znaš,
just unload
konstantno
that.
imaju te mečeve koje misliš moraju ovo sad dobro odigrati, onda samo prodaju.
You can't just put that in the chamber and fire it off.
I onda već,
I'm
znaš, ono,
just
sledeći
exposing you in
eksplodiraju
front
uzmu
of his
400 kila.
For bot though, okay, I'll put it this way. For
Bilo bi
bots,
opet priče da
actually
se grifaju.
surprised me. They have surprised
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I'm looking up to them.
Od
like
mene
they
su
were
dobili
my
žuti
senpai right
karton.
now. Very well
Oh,
done.
no.
Za to grifanje, red
Oh,
line.
shut up.
I opet ako to budu
They're
radili,
doing okay. They're doing
ikad
okay. I know,
neće
I
više
was
nikad
not
glave.
expecting that. I thought
Ovako,
bots would have a much
pa
tougher
javno.
time here, but I'm happily
Privatno
surprised
ću, ali javno
by the
neću, jer
gameplay
je
that
to je
we've
baš
seen.
ono.
Yeah, it's not been like outstanding, but they're currently in the top 5 with 15 points. And I think that they are playing the survival game very, very well at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of their names on their team, or at least a few of their names on their team, have kind of been a PEC, PCS. We're kind of like round of 32 guys, always being able to make it there, but never quite being able to make it a little bit further, right? So they've definitely been around for quite a long time, especially good.
Cijela strana vamo je free.
Well, we
Cijela strana vamo je free. Jer ovaj Borz baš kasni. Borz će da popuni ovo tu.
But that it's like Boars, but like a wolf.
Yeah. That feels unacceptable.
You know, I acknowledged it earlier on, saw it, and chose to ignore it, and just decided I'm moving on from that.
Vidi nakon 2 sata, to je, ovo baš cringe.
That's what I've always said.
Ono iz fazona si, a je ga, ako mu nisam dosta odgovorio, sad ga više ne zanima.
Let's look further into the game now because we are getting a lot of teams starting to cramp up a little bit down towards this south side.
9 sekundi do shift, ajde vrate, dajte zonu što gledamo mi, ove kako se voze van zone, jebo ga, krug, bravo, ajde. Da vidi, pogledajte koliko je Slavin blizu ovdje, Slavin bi mogo da umre, jebo ga, da.
Mogo bi kristalni za njega.
Ne, kristalni je daleko.
A mislim su zajedno u autu.
Interesting because Ascend's already in that crossroads compound if they actually want to sit there, but the thing is that
idu
we've seen
direkt
so
na
many times
vazu.
that this compound can co-inhabit like 2 or 3
Neće,
teams.
staće oni na
So
ovaj
it'll be
hill.
interesting to see exactly how Ascend is going to try and hold that.
Bitno da sad
Looks like
ostanu
they're on the
smireni.
south side. They know Yo is moving
A onda
in
ako
on
žele
both of them.
Ascenda
I don't think there's going to
sljedeći.
be resistance here from them. I think they just let them
Ali
move
mislim da će
in
oni
and
igrati ivicu,
try and
ono
hold these
njihovo.
locations by the by.
Jebi ga ljudi,
Listen,
oni imaju
Mario,
takav
quickly. It's
playstyle.
so hard to hold the rest of this
Znaš,
compound.
to je počet
It just
zašto
blocks
nisu
people from,
konstantni.
especially across the
Oni
road.
baš furaju tu ivicu, imaju potencijal da igraju tu ivicu, ali to je jako teško igra, pogotovo u TPP. I onda ima to momente kad ih gledate, ono, fazon 4-2, a igraju protiv jako dobrih igrača, izgube jednog, izgube dvicu, pa im dođe third party. Kad igrate edge konstantno, mnogo je lako da se desi da failate game.
The rest of Yo does need help just in case, you know, by the by
Generalno sve
synthesize
fajtove traže,
whilst
žave.
Peva, možda za lobi.
they
Jebe,
want to get a
da.
little bit of damage done.
Možda lobi.
I think you can leave Yo on the
Pao
other side
jedan.
as a 3-man, and that's fine as long as you get 1 kill.
Especially if you're doing a 2-1 split across the small road in the
Ovo je
north
dobro,
side and
ovo je
leaving
dobro,
Cappy
ovo je
alone. But
i dalje,
anyway,
i dalje
it is
ovo
going
je
to be
3-2.
Starry Skies now trying to deal with Yoga Bonito moving in on their territory. Silas
Slaven.
starts things off with an aid. Not bad at all. He's going to be looking around the right hand side here for the ace, but he does actually take some damage from
Bravo,
Mika as
Simone,
well.
mala
He's got to
pomoć
be
sad.
able to back off. That
Dosta
forced
vazu.
a cross into the lines of sights of Simon.
Dolaze imamo i
So
nitra
that
s
has
leđa.
gone from bad to worse
Bravo,
now as
Simone.
Silas is gone. Really unfortunate there, because I thought he had an okay angle, but he
Isto,
just
ovo je gotovo, ljudi stigle,
Guns out!
Evo si
Guns
golovi
out!
u
Does
pičku.
not have it under control. Vaz was able to immediately run in. It's a confident play coming through. Simon underneath the stairs, now looking for a little bit more, but Starry Sky is currently
Ne si
dominating the
loše
rest
ovo
of the
kol, ljudi.
forces.
Nemojte me pogrešati, ali ovo je baš loš kol. Znači, na phase 2 pogodili su split i sa te strane splita je okej, ali na phase 2, brate, ovaj kamp može da bude u pičku materinu sljedeći shift, razumiješ, i zašto se fajta. Ovo mi je okej da su radili tranziciju na treći shift, recimo, i da su tajmali, pa onda, znaš, da mogu da odluče šta će da pobjegnu ako ne treba.
Silas so much earlier, you'd expect maybe Yoga Bonito then to have a bit more of a man advantage and be able to try and do something from that, but it's not going to be the case. Simon is just going to wait and bide his time now. If I was him, I'd be
Pogodili
saying,
su
okay,
split,
right,
ali...
I'm tucking tail and I'm getting in this
Jebi
building
ga,
and
znaš.
holding down. And just saying,
Preteško je ovaj
if you
njihov
really want
playstyle
to try and
furat
push me, I'm going to try and
dobri
get a
lobby.
flush or two on you, but I'm taking you with me. Because nothing's gone well for them so far. Only 4 points
Brate, ne
on the
mislim
board
danas
for Yoga Bonito.
proći, ja i dalje vjerujem.
Yeah, it's not quite a top 5, is it? Maybe I was incorrect.
Not yet.
To really put all the
There's
chips
still
on the
time.
table. There is still time. There's still time, though. But time is running out quite quickly. Simon, though, probably going to try and look for a couple of shots over here. I think
I malo nemaju sreće što kristalni ispada, znate. Kristalni je prvi ispo, a on im je najbolji frager.
A 3v1 against these caliber
Želiš imat kristalnog, ne valja da on ide nikad prvi u rotaciju.
Pushing the boundaries.
Uvijek najbolji IGL da je prvi. Ne znam, on IGL nod ide prvi, pa ako ispade izbace njega i onda naš imaš fragere iza.
But they're going to take the high ground now on this roof and see what they can spot out here and see if Simon has been able to relocate to at least a safe area or if he is vulnerable. Are you really going to the roof? You are a madman. You're insane! Mika, he still sees it. He still has the angle after that transition on the wall. He's had to move onto this left-hand side to negate that angle. But that leaves you so vulnerable. He's going to come around the corner, but Mome gets a 4-piece on them. He shuts rest down. It's only the one technically being attributed to him, but he did so much damage against them.
Yeah, I mean,
not sure what he was thinking. I respect the attempt. Okay, that's what I'll say. I respect the attempt.
Nothing else to do, right?
There really was.
Evo i sad gledajte ovaj shift.
Znaš,
na ovaj shift da su uzeli ovaj kamp sad bilo bi ono svaka čast top.
They've had a significant
Ali ovo je baš
portion of
teško i baš
impact on
risk.
that engagement between Starry Skies as well as Yoga Bonito.
Znaš.
But the game's going to slow down a lot. There is a lot of areas inside of this circle that is very playable for multiple teams. It's all going to come down to the next few circles, right? Where does it head over towards where does it really benefit.
Još dva gema teška priča.
Stormer Request's current position
Baš teška
is a
priča.
little bit more delicate,
Ali ne mogu.
right? That's an
Ja
area
njih
where it's
nikad ne
very hard to
otpisujem jer znam
control,
koliko su dobri.
as a singular team.
Sometimes it really depends on how they distribute themselves across
Ej,
school.
loš dan,
I
loš
think
dan.
they're basically
radi.
all in the main building apart from one member who's kind of holding down on the high ground.
Nije sve da su,
on the
ovo je bio
slope
stvarno loš
down
call,
from
ovo
that
je
north position on
kritičan
school,
call
so,
bio, kogod da ga je napravi.
into a little bit of a
Ali recimo onaj
compound there.
prvi
There is
game
a
na
world where
Erangelu
they
kad
can
su
hold
radili
their
onaj
defense
split,
if
to je
anybody's gonna be
recimo bio
aggressive,
dobar
like
call, ali
GTG,
individualni
but
play
I don't
ga
think
je
they
ubio,
are
jer
gonna
su
be
ovi na
aggressive.
Taveru
They
bili
lost
loše
one
postavljeni.
much earlier in the game,
Onda
right?
drugi
It
game,
really
šta je
takes
bilo
the
drugi
wind out
game
of
na onom
sails
Miramaru?
in a lot of
Da,
instances.
pušali su
Balls, though, they're
one
charging over the
prodaje godine,
road,
pušali su
seeing what they
4 na
can
2,
get done.
Nodi je ubio samog
I mean, they're
sebe,
gonna come into
noko
contact
bombom,
with
Slave ne
four
znam šta je
weapons all
uradio,
point their
tu su
direction
izgubili
from
ono.
Yo as well as
4 na 2 su
Ascend,
izgubili,
even
znaš,
X-House
tako da
taking
ta
shots
prva
towards
dva
them as
gema,
they pass on
tu su
by.
bile
It
dobre
is
odluke, ali
surprising
loš
that
ti
not a
individualni
single
play, a ovaj
one has
ovaj
lost
sa
any
treći game bio
HP
baš loš
on that
call.
cross. It's a very bold cross, and
Yeah.
somehow it works out.
Yeah, there are a few little dips that it could exist in north of school's position, but
Čak
they
Kenja
won't
samo
be
nešto.
turned into practically
Aj
pork.
čuti,
as
bete,
now
gasi stream i
made
igraj
that
tamo.
rotation, and X-Howl is coming in behind them here, so it's going to be animal on animal action.
Yeah, I mean for Paws though, this is a tough situation for them. I don't think they expected someone to
Ma
come
gledaj
back on
stream
the
nego
immediately. Hicks already takes
pokusaj se ne
70%
ide.
HP, and Oda Bavasi will put him back in the grave there. Flores looking for a little bit of a sideline angle as he comes in fairly late towards this engagement, but already finding one is great news for them. But it's looking good for X-Howl. I think that they were frustrated when they saw them roll past. They were like, maybe we could have just made this move, but we are going to do it now.
Furious that their logo is a wolf, and theirs is also a wolf, which has the better wolf logo. That Snade's not going to be able to get anywhere near doing any damage, as they will send 2 blue zones forwards as well. And if the edge of that does actually go onto the shack, then it would be great. But I don't think one of them is going to do damage there, as they come out and actually they've completely bailed into the jaws of GTG, who have now got themselves a few free points here. So Boars, they have crumbled on this.
I absolutely have done. Marshall somehow survives both those blue zone grenades, but should be going down slightly. Yeah, we just have to double back outside that building. Circle moves over towards the eastern side, and yet again, PGG is in a central position. Can they hold on to this time, or is it going to slip through their fingers again? TMO are leading the charge right now over towards this spot, trying to grab this little ridge on the northern side. I think they could hold out the likes of Ascend here. It's going to be a lot of guns pointing in their direction shortly, though, as GTG starts to move across too.
Yeah, I swear there was a team in PGS that was in this compound and got an easy win off the back of it. It might have been T1 or something like that in like PGS 3, but it is if we keep bearing down on exactly this compound, it gets a little bit dicey. It's not exactly the easiest compound to actually hold on off here, but there's still a lot of teams available and good to go. Some deployable cover coming down here from the Mythov, realizing that there's a bit of a vulnerability on that northwest side for them here, but Flores is driving past GTG, looking for the absolute blowout against them. What was that?
Gets a double drive-by is fairly crazy. Oda Mavasi gets knocked out the back of the UAS by an M24 and gets absolutely ripped apart by Ares. The God of War in action.
Yeah, Avenger was right. It was Vis that was yesterday in this compound and doing all right from it. So not bad potential. Very predictable circles on our Tagos for some reason from day to day. But anyway, as trying to get Justice back up here is the Mythov. Again, though, 22 points on the board for them so far. They've done all right here for these first 3 games. And they're still alive, still kicking to fight another day here in this one.
Yeah, I mean, for TMO, again, I think they've really found their stride coming into Tago now. For Yo, they're still figuring out what their next move is. It's a little bit contentious of where they want to go next and how they want to play it out. Starry Skies has a beat on their position too, so it's not an easy push. Michael trying to move across, taking a couple of tags, attempting to get behind some cover, has to ditch the vehicle, drop the emergency cover flares, but he's taking shots from Ascend and Starry Sky at the same time.
Yeah, not really much to be able to kind of save him as well. The rest of Yo is coming in behind all of this and actually might be able to backstab the position here of Ascend. But what they're doing is just perching themselves up against this rock, dropping down some deployable shields. knowing that there are definitely still vulnerabilities that are on them here. They can hear the cars coming in behind them as well. They must have been able to see this. Surely is going to shoot at it here and try and shut them down. It's a bit of a interesting maneuver coming in as the flip does go down, and now they could get back in here, but the car will take a little time here to be able to gather some momentum, so it will be vulnerable if they get back in and try and make that move.
I mean, PWD is already down to the play zone. That flip is absolutely diabolically bad. Cappy knows he has to just send the grenades now. He has to try and find some kind of opening. Cappy will find a shot over towards one of them. It's Chris, last alive here for Ascend. There is one player still going, kill Yukai on the backside actually. Michael looking for anything, but yeah, this has been a pretty rough approach right now for Yo.
Oh, a nade from Nitro from behind here and shutting down Michael wherever he may be. So yeah, the disjointed nature here for Yo really just didn't really pay off at all, coming out of the compound on the other side of the road from where Ascend was, as Mommy is going to just pepper a few more shots in towards those smokes, trying to shut down some of the big dogs here in this lobby at the moment. Mika down now, trying to do something with it, but it's not going to be the case. Storm on request makes an absolute barn of a crash onto the Mythov and
Šta je sa Savarom igrali još? Ne znam, vidio se ga par puta. Znaju li se već države za PNC? Znaju. Znaju, ali još nije ništa javno objavljeno. A ne znam, treba 15. da objave sve. A ne daju ništa da se priča do tada, tako da neću ni ja. Ali uglavnom se znaju. Ono što mogu reći, sa Balkana imate Srbiju i Hrvatsku. Nažalost, Slovenija je imala šansu, ali nema tim. Bosna, znam da je bilo pokušaja da se Bosna progura samo za PUBG, ali mislim da se nije uspjelo u tome, jer nisam je vidio na listu. 40 vrstova, bratima.
I don't like it at all.
Nisu uopšte requirements za to.
Pa requirements ti je glavni da imaš krovnu organizaciju. Moraš ima jako krovnu organizaciju da ti BNC prvo njima dodijeli da vode svaku državu, onda organizacija bira menadžera, menadžer bira coacha, coach bira ekipu. I to ti je to. A mislim da Slovenija nije imala coacha, nisu se snašli da nađu nekog randomca. Jer pazom, coach ne mora biti iz države, coach može biti bilo ko. Mislim kao i u futbalu, jel? Onaj selektor Srbije je bio Italijan, ili šta je bio onaj Škot?
Holandžan.
Ja.
Holandžan,
ja. Znaš, tako je, mislim u svakom sportu je tako.
A lot of capacity to fit in a bag.
Tako da to su dozvolili, ali oni se nisu snašli. Prosto nema igrača, realno. Dok Srbija i Hrvatska će ići, bit će oficijalni announcement za oba coacha i onda će coachevi napraviti announcement za igrača. Hrvatska bi trebala da ima direct invite, dok Srbija zbog onih, zbog rankinga Nixija i Luke, a Srbija će ići kroz kvalifikaciju.
I mean, this is actually really good from Vitality. The fact that they're holding out so many different teams at the same time, you would have thought they'd crumple underneath the pressure at this point like a tin can.
You'd think so. It's raising on laying on a knife's edge at the moment here for some of these teams because there is any world where some of these could actually be crushed down on. As we still have Kadel doing a lot of damage with the mortar against SCS. Celtic hitting with the M24 there against Baron. As I was saying here for S2G, I don't think they're long for this world too much longer. Queppa's kind of hiding a little bit. And now it might be Vitality to...
Ooh,
nice shots by Quizzy though.
Yeah, very nice shots. Instantaneously taking out the vehicle. Man overboard there. Get drops on the back lines. Does get taken out by Cody.
Ma nema jedan smoke ljudi, gledao. Jedan smoke nema.
Coming through. PGG. Lovely shots.
Yeah, they've had that compound basically as a fortress this whole time, and they are making waves with it for sure. Huge nades from Ascend, who is just looking to shore up their defenses now and continue to hold on to number one. 6 kills go their way. I will say, They weathered the storm of what was going on that rock side pretty spectacularly, considering they had a few knocks against them from the likes of Yo, but were able to kind of outlive them, outlast them. And now, if they can carve out a spot on the north here, it's a bit of an uphill struggle for them to get to the next fight.
Kako će se Turci gužvat za ENC?
Yeah, they absolutely have. I think that when you're looking at Ascend, we were talking about how they don't need to get too many more points, honestly, as the day goes on.
Mislim da će oni, s obzirom da Rusija može da igra
from the
fazonu.
start, where they look towards Ghetto Gang, playing this north side. Yeah, they have the slight advantage with getting that compound early and being on the south side of it means that their rotate out was a little bit easier than yours. Nades have been sent over right now by construction workers, and the damage is doing.
A vidjet ćemo ko će biti Noitan, okupila najlupa 3 kila.
Nice. They are still 4 alive. They've been a bit quiet this game. So I'm impressed to see where they've come in from.
Treba workersima ovaj game kao kruvim treba. Ajmo Joli.
There's so much cover here. It's like a paintball range. Like, you know, you go to those things and there's so much cover for you to be able to work with in just a small area. Lovely here positioning wise, but will Ascend push on over and cause them some problems? Look at James in the distance.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got top 6, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, it's fair. Where they were, like, they weren't going to get in. And the more I think about it, it's like, if they did go for the full send, it's likely they would have been going out in 13th place. So any points they can grab, he'll go for it. But he does need to start making his way in. He sees Ascend.
Znate, što je nače, James ovdje 4. može bude. A, pazite sad, će 2 ekipe da se... Jebote, ovo je zona juče koju igrao Yoga i Vertus. Je li tako? Slično nešto.
Maybe shoot at somebody at the very end, but maybe Ascend has forgotten about him. Maybe he can get a knock, and then actually that might have more repercussions for and more kind of knock-on effects for construction workers than anything.
Ascend na istom mjestu.
Who basically were a lot of his old teammates.
No.
I am. He is slowly wading his way in, though.
TPP usranje. Kako mi se Kenja od ove igre gledamo.
Kits required to make the full entry. He's making the run now.
Za retarde, bukvalno napravljeno za retarde.
Good shots from Kilyakai once again. He has been absolutely monstrous over today's games. Construction workers finally taking a lot of damage. James is out in 6th, but still getting some placement points. Puts them in 2nd place for the time being.
Bolje da što na lijevu.
Coming through the front line.
Yeah, disastrous VAR went down. He dropped his Molotov on himself, and now he blurred out because of it.
James
so,
umre, ali nisam
for
vidio.
construction workers, they're going up against a revitalized Ascend at the moment. They've really found their stride here at the moment. And seeing exactly how they can kind of hold on off. Yes, they've taken down Kilyakai, but the rest of Ascend is looking to kind of leapfrog forwards a little bit into a better position for the circle. Able to effects. The only ones who are really trying to do something. The only thing they want to do is make sure that they don't expose themselves to the line of sights from Baldini. And then really not, because they're kind of more interested in no tag team at the moment.
I love this play from Zabilla, though, from PGG. He's moved all the way over to the road towards this northwest side to see what he can find, leaving a couple of the players behind over towards no tag team, knowing that it's a really tough approach for them as they move out. But for PGG, they've known they've had tons of area to control this entire time. No one's really challenged on this position, so they have the entire team to play around with. It's up to construction workers, some very good shots, but honestly, PGG is not silhouetting themselves very much at the moment. This is a hard push out towards PGG's location, and with that they're going to control the entirety of the south side of the map.
Yeah, it's not just the Zubila. Presenti moving out as well means it's a full 2-2 here for them. And look at the lines of sight they have. Not only from this roof, they're going to have to get off it now and maybe reposition themselves, get a little bit further into the circle. But at least they know, as a complete backup, if they don't want to hold the 2-2, they could just go over to Presenti and Zubila and be totally fine. As I say, Baldini shoots him in the face. But he's on top of rocks, you know. He's taking liberties. He's taking liberties.
It absolutely is. He's looking fine. But I think PGG, this is more what I expected out of them today. That last game, they still got a good amount of points off the back of it, but they've got another chance. And this is one that they're not going to waste.
Koliko bitni poeni za no taksac, ovo što je uradio. Bukvalno im izvuku placement.
And if they do get that, they're practically done on the game. 9 kills already. Ascend, I think they've already made the run to at 37. The nade is a little close, but not close enough.
Was that cooked? No, not
Najlepije to mrtav sun.
Ketchup here, good old ketchup.
Onako feks nešto ne izmoj muniš.
Avenger told me that. See if he can get a little bit more done. Doesn't want to get any ketchup on his shirt.
Prostora imaju,
has
A juče isto, ne znam ko je, Visi je čini mi se bio ovdje u kampu.
Look how much damage it does straight
Visi je
away.
bio u kampu i Vinovi.
Will be able to take him with the AUG though, but it's an MG3 in the hands of T-Bone. Oh my days, they are kitted, suited, and booted.
There's a whole damn gun garage back here with all these crates that have been dropped, and with that, construction workers actually goes down with Presenti finishing them off, and we're down to 3 teams. Ascend likely done with their day now at 38 points, and the extra points they'll get from their position in this match. PGG making a big run here though, up to 30 points, 12 kills on the
Realno,
match.
Ascend prošao, PGG prošao.
It's an exciting one because PGG, they've been given a
ostali nije još niko
hand from this compound, but they've worked with it
Ko igra za Jogu
spectacularly.
Bonito?
12 kills going their way, greeting any threats that came their way, splitting up 2-2, being able to deal with those threats before they became out of control later on down the line. So they've been able to flex out from the compound alone and been able to really run with this one. Oh, MG3.
I mean, T-Bone's having the best time ever with the MG3 on that side of things. Presenti will finally knock him. Kado will go down. Another nade over the top. That one's close, so it's a good bouncer.
Nice.
And it's an insane finish from PGG. An arc longer than any from One Piece. So what a game coming through from PGG at the top. They might just have cemented themselves in the top 5 with that one.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. A lot of kills, a lot of placement points to boot as well. As you say, it might be their qualifying game basically coming in from this one, as this Tago got a little bit tricky for some of those teams coming in on very open areas. Let's get Avenger back in. Let's talk about this Tago before we kind of wrap things up for game number 3. What did you make of it all, Avenger, with PGG having a good old compound, doing all right?
Yeah, these guys are able to find some crazy compounds towards the center, that's for sure here. Great for them here. The game that didn't really come to fruition on Miramar, their position on Miramar, now came to fruition here with that center compound. But once they saw this circle, they were like, I watched the games yesterday. This had that compound. That was kind of insane, so we might take it. And yeah, it really came out banging. This yesterday, I think, was 3 or 4 something kills they had in the game, and here 15 to boot with the win. That's insane. Really well executed by them, obviously.
Not bad at all. I think that taking the roof, taking the 2-2 split, being able to really shut down anything that was going on the north side. Good stuff here from PGG. And again, like if you think about what they were doing, like what Presenti would have been doing when he was in Hive here, Blank, it's kind of the same MO, right? They're surviving into four into the late game. They're able to take decent room, right? Really strong control of certain areas, and then just play from there. And it looked good in this one.
Yeah, again, echoing what Avenger was saying is that, like, it's a case of, yeah, you're given that position on the map, but to make it work with 15 kills, that's a very different story. Because you have to extend outwards. You need to start finding those kills all over the place. And that's exactly what PGG did. They didn't sit back and relax and kick the feet up. This was a very, very good game from them because they know that there is a timer on today for getting towards that top 5. And the earlier you do it, the better. But again, I think there will be some people saying that PGG's got a couple of gimmies today. But I think that game will likely shut them up in terms of they have put in the effort to make it happen. It's not just a freebie.
I was about to say, Avenger, are we now playing for, like, is that Ascend through? But now I'm thinking, when I look at this leaderboard, is there only 3 spots left? Are PGG and Ascend going to be going through guaranteed?
Yeah, I would say so. There's 3 spots up for grabs, and I don't want to count out JOGA, BONITO, and X-Hall yet because we really bigged up them. But 3 and 4 points is just not enough here. But yeah, PGG dominating this as well. Look at that, 6 kills for Sloy Jacket, 4 for Presenti. They dominated it all the way through, but Sabila too with the damage, man. It's good to see these guys are able to get it. Sure, the Miramar game was different, but here you cannot shut them down saying, okay, this was just free. They fought for it all the way through and they won so many engagements. You don't get 15 kills just as a given.
Yeah. I think what Avenger was saying was kind of important with that compound compared to the previous games one, right? Where the previous games one, very difficult to hold down, even as a 4-man. They lose one, and that's really not going to go their way. This time around, though, you could see how many advantages that compound had there, Blank. But for so many other teams in the north side, being as open as it is, trying to go up the hill, so many cars, so much deployable cover, trying to make something work. It was a true tussle for those teams in the north.
I find it I want to talk about Yo really quickly because it was a bit cheesy, wasn't it? It was a bit of a cheesy gameplay.
We see it from time to time.
I know we see it from time to time. I'm just wondering if they could have maybe tried something else. But I guess that for them, survival is the name of the game. So far, though, they have done fantastically today. Really, really well done. James looking with the hellish remark on 666 points of damage.
Well, there is a listening what they were going to have on the Team Yo comm. So
really?
hopefully it's just James sat there singing to himself whilst he heals himself with 43 heals. Let's find out. Let's tune in.
No, I don't really.
I'm gonna try my best. Keep covering everyone. That's you, Scabby. Talk and go.
I can shot him. Nice. Nice. Flash.
Where did you kill him? On the shack?
No,
Orange,
here,
orange,
like
exactly.
green.
Nice. He's one more knock, guys.
Yes.
There's two knocks on this rock.
On you, AC, one guy.
Yeah, I see. I'm using my last that's it.
Nice try.
They tried. Did you get any kills?
One
kill.
I am furious that we just skipped 43 heals. You watching us run into the tag pack at the end? But what that showed there, I think, Avenger, from those POVs, is the fact that Cappy did so much work against Ascend. It's really a shame for him that STS was looking his way.
I mean, the Ascend being able to survive as a 4 here, that should not have happened. And also, I felt like there's more potential kills for Ascend that I actually calculated through. There's so many kills that didn't get stolen or flushed. There's so many kills here. See, Kabi goes down here to Nitro. They know that. Why are they not out confirming this kill here, right? Sure, the two guys are knocked in the middle, but also Kettle could have gotten potentially the knock on construction work as well. So Ascend could have gotten even more kills. But STS, man, Star Sky, that's so unfortunate for Yo. They actually had a potential huge impact onto Ascend. Would they have survived being 2 or 3 in this spot? That would have been a top 3 as well, right? Tipo got in there and got third place.
Effectively, yeah.
So that would have been massive for them. So a little bit sad to not see them kind of come through with how well they were able to do in Miramar. But that we talked about it yesterday, right? That compound is just one big stalemate, right? You're just waiting for so many fights to happen. And eventually, it's going to be a disengage for some of the sides. So yeah. It's good to see Kapi on this roster, though. I really like his comms. It's clean and calm. It's much opposite to playing with him in ranked, where it's complete chaos. But here,
it's all Polish players.
Yeah, here in the actual tournaments, he's got such concise, clean comms, and I really like that.
You do make an interesting point, though, about that compound, right? Because it's a stalemate, and then you're having to come out of it. And I do think that even though Ascend capitalized off actually being on the other side of that compound, it still kind of delays their game as well. And it feels like if nothing actually goes down in that compound blank, it's just a net negative on the potential of winning a game if the circle shifts away from it. Because it slows you down so much. You saw it on Yo's side.
But I think that's the key phrase there, is that the circle shifts away from it. And again, you play that position in the hopes that the circle comes to you, and then you have that top 2 situation because no one can really push you because there's 2 teams holding the same position. It's very, very tough to work that spot as an outside team. So yeah, when it shifts away, yeah, Ascend has the advantage, but it does slow their match down. They've got to wait for when Yo's going to leave out. Where are they going? You got X-How flying on the side. I think Ascend doesn't do terribly from there, but you can only really gain inches once you get into the circle for Ascend, and that's not enough for them.
It's a tough one. All right, boys, it's time for the mandated break for the 5 games here for PEC day number 2. When we return, we have the penultimate game coming your way. So far, Ascend and PGG look great in number 1 and 2. Who is going to join them in that top 5?
People or glider?
Glider. We want that.
Yeah, we want that if we can take it.
I have no guess. Yeah, sounds good to me at least.
Good compound is taken at least by 1 car.
Good. That's most likely
That's probably Storm.
Yeah.
You jumped yonder. Okay.
Nice.
One guy in a dash on me, 2 guys in a dash on me.
You guys on me? I'm coming up to the side.
I'm knocked. I fucked up.
I'm gonna get inside tank. I'm gonna get inside tank. What the fuck is he doing?
I knocked him out of the car.
Did you flush him?
Yes.
Nice, good. Mark me. I'm gonna go for Q2.
To help them somehow.
Hit.
I can
He's
double
first bar,
busy.
he's first bar, bro.
I
He's
can
first
double
bar.
busy. You want it?
What?
On the
You're
cannons.
fine on your
One
right.
knock eye on blue. Flash.
Nice.
No, we can't because
No, you stay.
Insta one. Okay.
I'm gonna move him.
I have
Fine,
no
just
car.
leave me. I'm chilling.
But you
I'm
can play
chilling,
with
I'm
Chris.
chilling.
1 point, right?
Yeah.
Whatever, go next.
Guys, can you peek it? Can you peek them?
Yeah,
Can you peek them on blue?
I'm nading.
Knock one.
Left smoke. Green smoke. There.
Insta.
Here's Carrera.
I knocked him on blue.
Pick up buffers.
I can't.
I'm pushing up for the kills.
Exactly yellow.
Yeah.
Green.
I'm flashing.
Both yellow.
Green.
Nice, let's fucking go, bro.
Nice, man. Good fucking shit, boys.
We love them stays. We love those.
Focus. We have to jump, okay?
Can you Duffy?
It's so low. Nice. Be careful. Maybe we can get crash. One cube. Just go back.
Try to finish on yellow.
You can maybe see him outside. I think he crawled inside actually.
I don't see him.
Did his teammates stop?
They saw us. On orange.
On orange.
Yeah.
Hit your one.
Knock that guy.
Guys, tell him a little bit
One
more right.
active. One active. Nice, Alex.
Jebote, lik je predator uzeo.
Or coming.
He's beyond the bus.
Got him.
I got the kill.
One left side. He's playing TPP. Yes, exactly there on your flash.
Hello everyone, I'm Aduzi. Today I'm gonna show you some tip which gonna help you like in the late game, I think, when you don't have any positions and you have to make a position by yourself. So with last update in the game, all terrain is destructible right now, so you can just explode a little tip for you by your car and C4. So all you need is C4 and your car. Then you have to just get out on the drop-by and send your car like anywhere where you need. Then you have to take your normal car and follow your car with C4. So your car with C4 is gonna explode and make a little lead for you to play. And then you can just go here and play here as prone. So it's gonna be a small position for you. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Hasta libre.
Good old Aduzi taking number 1 yesterday as we go into day number 2 here. We have 3 games down, 2 more to go to figure out who is going to be the 5 teams joining the likes of Aduzi in that final already from the first 2 weeks. Rondo's going to be up next, and then we finish things off on Erangel to round it all out. So far, so good, Blank, for Ascend and PGG, looking to stand out amongst the rest.
Absolutely. I think these teams have basically done it at this point, which is incredible at the third game. You feel like for Ascend, it's more of a case of just slowly eking their way out until the end of the day to stay in the top 5. But they've got it done nice and early, which feels really good for them as a team. A team that I was all in on, though, is JOGA BONITO. And I think they're in that spot where they're panicking. I think the panic is real for the team. It is. But that's what it looks like to me, is that they're desperately looking for these big moments. these big codes, but they're not finding them. They are not finding them, sadly. I think this is what JOGA BONITO needs to do in the next couple of games to even have a chance to calm down. They have to calm down at this point. They've got to go back to the peak from the peekaboo.
So what you're saying is that aggressive tendencies aren't working out, and instead they should just be on social media looking for the other half of this code for some G coin?
That's a good translation of what I was saying. Yeah, I would say so.
Fair. Good. God, what an astute read again by Blank. That's 2 in a row here. But Avenger, moving on to Rondo, of course. What I think will be very interesting is that we don't have our Test Track or Neox Factory traditional teams here at all. So who takes the middle spots, which have always translated into a lot of wins for those teams? That'll be interesting.
That's the big thing, right? I want to see PGG go crazy. I want to see Ascend go crazy. Now that they're effectively already there.
Look.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I'm surprised you guys didn't react more crazy to it.
Marco!
Code Marco's here.
He's there.
Yeah, he was here.
Didn't even see him.
It's not Code Blue. It's
up.
Code Marco who's speaking. I like it's cool.
Oh dear me. Was that there the whole time?
Yeah.
Did I not see?
I know. Was that? I mean, that's
you
just
guys were
popped
talking
up,
for
though.
minutes straight, not reacting. I was like, these guys are gonna react sometimes.
These guys are buffoons.
It's because Avenger's got such big earphones on, he can hear pictures as well. So he was
like
way
Daredevil.
more on it than we were. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you guys weren't wearing your glasses, maybe.
That is true. Neither of us is. So, anyway, yes, with Rondo coming up, it's going to be exciting to see how all of these teams are going to drop down. Vitality is still a team that needs to do some work as well, Mr. Xander. So these big names still need to do some work.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Vitality is struggling, and I personally don't think that there's going to be a redemption today. Sadly.
If they don't win it out tomorrow, that would be crazy. But here's Salad going up against It's Chris, two teams and players that have been able to do tons in these games so far. Great to see It's Chris, as always, Avenger, because he's been around for so long. The man with the big gun himself.
Yeah, it's always good to see these guys come in. I'll say this, like we talked about Ascend and we talked about Vitality, but Ascend really lived up to it. The question is now, 2 games to go, can Vitality do it?
Yeah, if we get an interview with them at the end, I'd love to ask some questions because I've got a lot about the new Ascend roster. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us, Blank. It's time for me and Avenger to round out the penultimate game of the day. It will be on Rondo. So let's see how all these drops are going to go down as PGG's already out of the plane, ready to go.
Yep, for sure, James. And honestly, let's just see what's going to happen at Test Track and Neox Factory because it's an open spot. It's a dicey spot. Does a team like Vitality get it for free, or are they going to go contested with it? That's the big one here. Okay, does look like they're going to go somewhat contested with some maybe cars stolen away for JOGA BONITO, but yeah, we'll see about that. And yeah, look at that. It's the PUBG 9th anniversary here on the good old PUBG.
Oh, there's Rondo. And there was Deston on the other side. Do you remember Deston?
Yeah, Deston. But you say it like it's a Disney character. But yeah, JOGA BONITO, look at that. They actually managed to get him. Yeah, that's what's up. They actually managed to get it here. With the amount of points that they got, people may be scared to run into them and have a crazy fight. So, but that's actually fine. Vitality goes up, of course, with the Northern Split here with that. So that's awesome. And here's Stadium with the PUBG 9th anniversary, James.
Who's here? The Mythov? Doing
Timo.
all right?
Yeah, Timo.
So, we'll take a look at all the festivities. Is it Dead Center? Yes, it is. Ah, the river's interesting. Very rarely do we get a circle north of this river. So as you can see up there, it's GTG as well as Starry Skies.
Ovo je zona 60-40, da će dolje ići. A imaju naši primat na tu zonu, na ovaj donji krug, pa vidjet ćemo.
If that does occur. But so, Ascender, to be honest, coming in from Zhao.
A kako se kaže, priority, sorry.
That would be kind of crazy. TMO, obviously, after their Miramar game, pretty good, but they do need to lock out a few more points here, James. They looking at something like 20 points or so to be safe. And here they are, the boys, Ascend, and even without being in the games, we get the green screen from Chris. These guys, some of the guys are streaming, so check out some of their PoEs. It's quite entertaining And I would say now, with them being in the lead with 39 points, it's going to be very entertaining. It's going to be a lot of laughs. It's going to be a lot of giggles. These guys are going to be asking questions like, what are these guys doing here? Like they always are. So I love that. That's the kind of content I
Dobra
like
kamera
from
oko
these
njega,
guys. No tag
stvarno.
team, though. We talked a bit about them in the start of the day
O,
here.
dobro je
On the 20
Kodel
points.
postavio
Currently,
kameru.
the 5th team cutoff, though, James.
Evo,
Do you
radio.
think they survive throughout
Te
the
kamera
last
mu
two games?
u kontra stranu okrenuta,
No
ne
tag
vidiš ga.
team. It's a good question. It's a good question. Where are they at the moment? Yulin and then just driving on up.
Tako se gleda.
Don't know. I don't think I can answer that question. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive. I think that it's obviously still a bit of a vulnerable position, especially with how close all the teams are. Right? All you need to is for this game to go awry, one of the teams below you to get a big win, and then suddenly it becomes all the more deadly.
Right.
Going into the next stuff, it's too close for me to call here, Avenger. I'm sorry.
I think so too, and we continue with the crazy camera angles here.
Šta
But
je ovo?
some guys are,
Minimum
doing to the
beživot.
side, but now it's Vitality.
Brate,
Actually
gledaj
looking
lika
like here on
kako igra.
TMO. Hey man, can he do something? Oh, that's a great play here with the Panzer fouls. But yeah, He-Man is pulling out hair for sure. That's the case for him. Mike
Yeah, there's a
also
lot of-
not looking too happy about it.
There's a lot of mogging angles, if I want to steal a word from
Yeah.
the Netherlands, you know? Like, look at my jawline,
Rozwalił
you
mu
know,
czub.
Amika, for example. It's like, okay, calm down, mate, calm down. And unfortunately, Vitality tells them to calm down, as I say, with He-Man being taken out by that Panzerfaust. And hell, my bad's looting him.
I don't know if you're a TMO here, if you stay in stadium or you try to get a hold of something on the
this?
Northern side. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's a crazy angle. Hello, my bad.
Yeah!
Wow.
What is that? I've never seen that camera angle, ever.
I think that's why I knew stream POV as well. From the fingers, the top of the fingers.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, Schiller. Look at, oh my god, he might be able to get 1 or 2 here. A lot of damage done to them. Oh, he's gonna get 1. Oh my goodness. They are so hurt. Oh, 1 more shot. Ah, they're too far away. Damn. Did he not have an EMEA in the M4? Is that why? I think he didn't have. That's so unfortunate. Look how Hello Senpai is 10 HP. Luigi is 33.
I mean, Bo's got very lucky there, and the fact that there was the wall there.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, it would have been an absolute bloodbath if that wall was not there. Of course, they put it down knowing that they have to have some cover like that. Very responsible for it, but yeah, S2G just a little unlucky on that pickup.
Yeah, they needed that as well. 10 points currently, 14th place. Sure, it's only 10 points up to 5th, but there's so many teams in the bidding right now already. Howl looking good with the 2-2 split in the middle too. Oh, X-Howl, you should say, but they should have something in there. You can't call yourself Howl in game as well when you're X-Howl. That's absolutely crazy. Let's see where balls go though. They will have wished that they did some stims on the way now. They're gonna be arriving with low HP, so probably, you know, just a little bit of a disadvantage for them. Now, we'll see here. Storm requests so far, though, not really up to the hopes of what they've been to.
Gledaj,
But
vezme,
18
brate,
points is
DBS
enough to
igra.
be in the contest of that top 5, but with their current position here, they are hoping
Yoga ima
for
dobro, vidite kako su
that
skoncentrisani.
next circle to go west here. There's a lot of
Oko mosta i
unplayable
dolje,
spaces of
pravima i sve
river
free
and
za
there's
rotaciju.
two
Čak i
small
ako
lakes
se
that
vrati
also have a
gore,
huge
oni mogu
impact
to
when you're
lako
talking to.
izrotirati.
Plus all the mountains, James. It's gonna be rough for them.
Ajme, Keš, sad će ovo otići gore.
Some of the teams actually watching.
A ja se nadam da neće, brate, jer samo im to treba danas i sve su preživjeli.
It's a very small chance that balls would have gone from maybe that emergency pickup.
Je li imao najlup nekih onih njegovih playa? Ja mislim da jest tipa juče. Jel da? Ili ne znam. Pa vjerovatno neki predator nešto. Mislim jeste, samo ne znam kad. Mogu se sjetiti tačno. Mislim da je juče bilo. Da, imamo i prošli game, bravo, bravo. Imaju 17, najlup ti je ovaj Team 8 li ovo išao je Work što piše, to su Construction Workers. Bivši Face Clan.
Surely
Tako
it's
da on
also
bi,
a play for Cass, yeah, as you
oni
say.
su malo dobar game.
Th-
Oni su
this-
baš
this
blizu
is
tu da
something they're like,
prođu.
okay, we're low HP. Some of the guys have to go high ground. Some of the guys have to go get cars. But how much information do they have on Storm Request here? That's really the big one. That's it really comes down to them maybe getting cars in close and then having a fight later on. That's eventually, I think, what's going to happen here. Ghetto Gang, though, on the other side, I had a little bit bigger expectations of these guys. I'd say with the experience that they've had throughout the years, They should have been up there. Sure, they could be one big game here, but 20 points with the cutoff at 5th right now, and them being at 11. There's so many teams close. They need a big banger game to be within striking distance of that top 5 and to stay in there even more.
Well, the funny thing is that they had more success as a 3-man in the first game than they have when they had a 4-man. So
that's just evil and mean.
Hey, I'm pointing out what happened, right? Those are facts. But they still do have 2 games. They still have an opportunity. And also they've positioned themselves in such a way that they can transition either north or south once that river becomes a determining factor. But it's Yo we are on board with up on the north side as they're coming in all the way from trying to, I guess, look even above Ryan and try and get in a dip towards the top of this circle. Are we refueling? Love it. Love
That's
it.
huge.
That's
huge.
I like it's very expensive at the moment, to be honest. So I would watch your pockets there, boys. You know?
Lik se kuči, vrat.
I don't want to talk about that. That's a discussion for another place here. Maybe you can start your political podcast soon. I don't know. Maybe that might be a time for it, right? We'll see.
I'm just gonna. My car feels it right now, and you know my car feels it. Jeez Louise.
That's a thirsty one.
It's a thirsty one.
But for this one and how everything kind of turns out, I can understand why a lot of teams are either, getting in spots where you can get a lot of information from, or they're trying to hold on to an edge to be that last team to get in there, trying to see how many teams is going to come in behind them, trying to hurt them away a little bit, because this circle does not determine a lot in this first one. The next one determines more. Third determines so many actions for these teams. We have so much unplayable up here. Stadium basically one big unplayable area around with all the rocks south of it. We have where Storm and Request is also unplayable. We have so much area here where in Circle 4 it goes away from. So a lot of teams is definitely
Nije, kažem ti, uvijek može da se vrati i popuni gore north.
Between Stadium and Jiaoten, we have a lot of endings.
Baš me zanima šta im je plan. Evo ga plan.
On top of it, it's a lot of rocks, and you can see here the observers are pointing out all these rocks with all these high grounds are considered unplayable, and it goes away from it in Circle 4.
Yeah, I do wonder what Yogaito's plan is here. Are they going to try and go up to one of the top of the rocks? Or
I think so.
Are they going to go for the crazy play and try and get on top of
daj
the
im
stadium?
shift, molim te im daj
From
shift.
where they are.
Oh, that would not be a bad shot, but the actual timing is really good. Oh my
Ode
god.
gore.
The northern shift, James, is so rare.
Dobro, ali imaju dobar timing. ISKR imaju dobar timing. Ali je spor.
They could try and do something with this.
Ali je spor i što je najjače i Yoga može biti brže od njega.
Against some of those lakes.
Uzet će
Very
im
rare.
James,
Like, we've
uzet će
already
im
pointed out
Raz.
multiple times, it is very rare. You've got construction workers coming in from that north side and looking to get the wrap down here. Kiliakai goes for a spray against Bushido Wildcats. What can they actually get done here? I don't think many connects are going to happen, though. They're very far away from them now. So they're making a bit of a mad dash on through. Going all the way to the west side here are Wildcats. So I guess wrap around as wide as they can on the west.
Yeah. A lot of teams are going to be pulling up on this one, that's for sure. Lavazzo, can he maybe get something on? But oh my god, the drive-by turns around Sunflower. He gets shot as well on Momi. That's crazy for him to go down to 99 HP here. This is a rough fight for both the teams here. They might be able to pull it up, though. Tabel, can he get a drive-by? Cadel finds him. That's easy for Baldini.
Ma daj ima udicu živo, više nisu u kampu dalje.
Baldini across these couple of games, not bad at all. And that will be a shutdown, unfortunately, for Starry Skies, which, considering that they were dropping alongside that Ryan split, what a bit of a disaster for them. They should have had the opportunity here to be able to take some of the most important points in a circle like this, but it's not really working out. There is a big problem here, Avenger, and it's because we just don't get many circles up here, and that a lot of teams...
Pa ja ne znam kad sam gledao iskreno zadnji put gore li ovo zonu.
So they're already on in.
Obično su ovdje ispod ove planine, na planine, ovdje GTG, tuda ide.
This is your chance, guys. This circle ends so much close to this area here, especially with how everything kind of lines up. So, they might be able to get a big one here. The question is really, does all the other teams realize that this compound is basically a magnet in phase 4? With how all the water, you can see already the zoom map, there's so much water on the northern side. Usually it ends just where Ghetto Gang or south of it is in this spot here, just south of where TMO and Howl is. So it's such a big area. JOGA BONITO, though, they did go on the Nanshan here on the northern side here, but the Storm Request fight is about to be happening here. And the question is, can JOGA BONITO pull off? Because they needed 4 points so far. It's not enough to go anywhere close to top 5.
I guess the only concern is if Circle 3 is really wonky, then silly things can occur because of that Circle 4 shift away from water. But we'll see. We'll see. It'd have to be like the hardest of hard shifts in the directions towards the water on those top lakes. But
right.
Yeah, Bonito going to try and hold down here against Storm on Request, who has crashed into the south side of this. Yoga Bonito here was much earlier, though, because of that drop that they did go down, but they've allowed Storm on Request to be able to make landfall on the south side of Nantran.
Yeah, for sure. Full 3 gear here on DPS is a very, very fun interaction if you're not on the receiving end of it. But let's see here what VZ can do. Kristalny and the boys here looking like a little bit of an interaction here. This is a bit of a rough fight, an urban ending in this case here, and with teams lurking on the outside too. PGG, some of them Bushido Wildcats too, could be coming in and third partying this one here. Arrow in hand too. Look at that. Oh, Kristalny's got the angles all day.
And has to give it up, unfortunately, knowing that he'd be leaving himself vulnerable and really revealing his position. But sees him on that corner.
Bravo, Kristalny.
It's a disaster for VZ. Oh, he's down.
Bravo, Kiki Doctor.
Yes. Trying to make these moves, especially with the DBS as well, unfortunately.
He's
burning him on out.
And that's your fun point, man. But full 3 gear just gone down.
Jesam ti rekao ide shift.
Himself so much without information, or even a stun grenade in the corner here.
The circle shift Avenger.
Oh my goodness, that's an insane shift. I mean, I assume
it's
going to
vratilo skroz
northeast afterwards. But look at that! Look at all the teams sending it. You have to remember as well, unplayable where Ascend is, the river is unplayable, it should be going northeast, but in some rare cases, if the circle cannot generate a circle that does not have Ascend in it, sometimes it just takes a random one. We could end up with an actual river ending here, James.
We could, or we could end up with that bloody pillar on the south. What is happening? All right, well, we'll see. The next shift's going to be a spicy one, potentially, as Yoga Bonito is making it spicy against Storm on Request.
A gle, ako vine ovaj fight imaju desnu planinu koju mogu da igraju foot.
Knowing that they're at least one man advantage at the moment, but Viso on that high ground of the building might be the X factor that they need, but they do see him and actually push him away. That's a perfect execution here to start things off from Yoga
Bravo,
Bonito. And they Simon up based on that, and they get the molly as well. It's perfect
execution
from them.
Bravo.
No! Oh my goodness! Marcian as well. Oh, finds no. It's just falling apart from Yoga Bonito, and then Balls is saying, "Okay, let's third party that." That's just insane. Kristalny finds it. Oh my God, Yoga Bonito. Sure, you get 4 kills, but I don't think it's worth it, James. I don't think the 4 kills being one guy left alive is worth it. That's so sad for Yoga Bonito.
Who was locked in with who?
You're not in here with me. That's actually so sad for Yoga Bonito. They actually had a potential decent game here. But then again, Boss took such a good spot that no matter if it was Storm Request or Yoga Bonito that won this, they're going to get held out. Flora is also finding Sunflower here. Baldinini, so unfortunate. Tablet goes down as well. Don't go into the stadium unless you know it's safe for sure here. I think they just assumed that Noah's going to be here, but Exile just chilling.
Yeah, all right. 30 seconds before potentially all hell breaks loose. Will it go down is the question. I mean, now as Starry Skies also gets shut down here by construction workers. That's coming in here from that northeast side. But they've still got a lot of teams to go through. The thing is that Vitality is going to be overlooking them here from those high grounds as well. The Myth-Off is making a bit of a send through the middle position there against Starry Skies as well as where Vitality actually is. I think a lot of the teams in the north side know that there is going to be some urgency about these moves in just a few seconds time.
James, this pop here, let's see where we're going to be going. Oh my God, we are going southwest. I cannot believe it. It's on the unplayable, it's on the river. That's just an absolutely insane circle.
All right, all bets are off, ladies and gentlemen. All bets are off. You can put them in the chat, but they might not matter. Let's see. Get again here, trying to deal with the position here that now Construction Yoga, even I would say, is pushing into this. April does take down PWD. More nades will go forward here to try and deal with this. Michael is in a spot where he can try and make a push, but that Molotov is kind of slowing down a little bit of his progression at the moment.
Dobro je što je prve dvije ekipe imaju po 40 bodova, to značajno će smanjiti cut-off za 5. mjesto.
this is just again a play
To znači
for
da ovi
points, a
naši
play for salvage. They know that they're not
ono,
going to be able to
i
get
u zadnjem
some
meču
salvage. They're
mogu
just trying to get
mogu
as
da
many
prođe.
points cleaned up as possible. Anybody's IM5 finds a multiple, both on TMO
Više imaju
and
8
onto
poena.
Yo. Meanwhile, S2G
Sa
and
Vinom su
Workers
ono,
is also going
i
down
dalje
to
top
James,
5.
goes down to Everest for the flush, and Ghetto Gang is the winners of this fight quite easily. Yo goes down, Justice also fine for anybody's. And Fex, meanwhile, goes down to S2G.
Ma notak će
Imagine the
Vina
balls
ti
stayed
proći.
on this pillar. Imagine. Dude.
Ne, to notak nema šta znači. Da. Da, TMO mora umret i ovo je dobro što je umro.
I mean, you can't know that it's going to occur, and it oftentimes doesn't.
I ovi
exactly
Borz
as the Avenger
treba
was
da umre.
operating on. The fact that we are
Borz
coming
treba
back
da umre,
down
ali Borz
here
nema
and
ko
it
da
is
ubije
still in
trenutno.
play
Jer mogu da
is
isplivaju
very
tamo.
unlikely with the way the algorithm works. So for all of these teams now, they're kind of scrambling.
Borz je problem. Trenutno je Borz možda najveći
Right on
problem.
out of this position. They know they've got a lot of work to do. There might be teams that just duck into the water and hope for the best from this north side.
I ovo je možda malo bez veze što
I'm kind of curious to see where
GTG pušta TMO.
takes this. Ghetto Gang boys, they are at this point just ascent somewhere or maybe take a fight to walls. They don't have a lot of information.
A ja ne znam da li ima, ja mislim da tamo nema uopšte revive.
Could they survive just a little bit to maybe push on to Exhal, to maybe push on to S2G? I'm not sure. It's rough no matter what here. Pixelate trying to survive as well. The question is really, once that northern side is out, James, there's a lot of uphill on the kind of riverbed that makes it playable, right? Because balls should be kind of sorted out or be pushed out by some other teams.
Evo je dobro, ovo je dobro. Ovo je
uh,
dobro. I sad kad bi Borz umro,
I really much. Oh, are we going to boost the BRDM?
Ma da vidi, Borz i Vitality.
That's beautiful.
Da, da. Ovo bi bilo ekstra, sad Vitality umire 100%.
Vitality umire, Vitality ima sam.
Yeah, you don't need to go into the blue here.
Okay, well, I guess we are though.
Gradivo je.
Oh, the vent jumps out, it's like, nope.
Okay, well, let's go on board with JOGA BONITO, who's doing some damage here as trying to run away as Cristiani. He's only got himself 2 kills, but BONITO with the 4, they need a little bit more than that. Here comes the BRDM. Let's just roll into people. I guess we're just going to shoot at everything. X-Howl at the moment quite vulnerable as we try and find a little bit of position. Where's Levante during all of this?
Fine, FD go tank.
Oh my god, Shipless finds hello, my bad. Getrax goes down to Crep. Here it's falling quite apart here for Vitality. I'm not sure if they forgot that the BRDM is an amphibious vehicle. You could have gone into the river and survived for quite a while there. It's a little bit sad here. Quizzy does try to go at some points onto Howl. Look at that. He hits Shipless, but it's a very slow push. He's just playing around it. Takes the shields down. Your cover is now mine.
Nate's coming forward as well, trying to push him away. Unfortunately, Levante's down to the blue at the back. It does beg the question, like, maybe you'd have fallen alive better. And X-Howl is gone because they were being shot at by everyone while the BRDM was being annoying. So Quizzy's doing his very best here to try and get this going. He's being shot at though. The BRDM is very low on health now.
Dobro je, znaš, ali to su sve ekipe koje imaju po 16 boda, ne mogu oni svi. Jedna će odigrat, okej.
Let's see, has a repair kit.
Da. On su mrtvi možda jesu. Ne znam kako šta imaju.
It's gonna blow up shortly. He's gonna get the first hit off though. Might be able to take on Baron, but no, Baron does have a angle here. Easy peasy for him to take down Team Vitality. S2G turns on. We talked about them. We expected big things for them. We looked good in the first game in a wrangle. And now they're turning up just a little bit more. 7 kills so far, 17 points within striking distance of that top 5, especially with Joe and TMO out already.
Starsky's committed to the water on the swim over and making landfall. Had to throw down smokes to keep themselves alive. I do have to agree with you. I wonder what they would have thought about if they'd have gone for maybe the amphibious play with the BRDM. It would maybe worth asking Vitality after this, but
I can understand that maybe 10 teams or 10 players from all the teams are shooting at them and the BRDM blows up quite fast. But there's so much chaos going on. Levante jumped out because it probably didn't have enough heals to do as well. But just a quick, like one of the short distances, you're going to get over quite quick. It's not that slow, so a little bit sad to see that they didn't get
Našima treba win, naši ne smiju da razmišljaju ni o čemu drugo nego win.
If they were able to maybe push into Ghetto Gang's
Naši
position,
moraju
because
uzeti
Ghetto
win.
Gang's actually surviving with a 3-man with one guy on the other side.
Ili drugo mjesto, baš jebeno drugo
They can take
mjesto.
this though. Ascend still alive and in play here. O'Connell goes down to a K9 headshot from T-Bone.
no tag team. Rafa has himself a Lynx on board as well, so there's a way he can try and make something work with that. Boar's taking a lot of damage though now to some of these teams that are looking at them. Vulnerable shield has to go out, knowing that PGG He's looking at them here from the high ground.
4 boda je
In the
razlika.
distance. One thing's for sure, though, is that no tag team is making some bold moves to the middle of this circle right now, just below where Bushido Wildcats is, and maybe they kind of perch
Zato
near
kažem,
that
ili
pillar,
win, ili
could
jeben
make a big
drugom,
game of this
jebeno
one,
drugo
considering
mjesto.
they're in 4 seeds, no kills yet for
Ili još
the
jebenije
Wildcats.
treće mjesto.
Yeah, Wildcats, if this circle's West, James, I have big expectations to them to do a 8-kill win or something like that. The circle did pop. It's somewhat decent for them, but still they're gonna have to fight their way through. No tag team and PGG.
Znaš, ja ti čak i ti, evo ti, no tak gubi.
Push here after losing one player.
Znaš, no tak ako faila ovo,
towards the middle, considering
uopšte nisu
everyone is
safe.
gonna be fighting towards those edges here. I think might be
Ali
able to
ti je,
get quite a few
znaš, to je baš veliki pritisak na Jogu jer oni moraju vinati, dok sve ove ostale ekipe, ali bukvalno sve ostale ekipe treba im od 5 do 10 bodova.
Okay, where are they going? Repositioning here. Maybe to try to take that northern. Yeah, maybe to try
Mislim,
to
nisu
take
sve,
this northern
da,
edge
od
away
5 do
from
10, dobro sam rekao, nekima treba 5, nekima treba 10.
This is not the play, guy. Reversing into that spot there. Cannot find Salik though with Arcana. These guys are just bolt gods or what?
Yeah, they're having a good fun with this one as well now. They've got 4 alive, 3 kills to their name so far here for Ascend. They're looking for number 1 guaranteed in today, all things considered. But so is PGG, still alive, still rocking it up in that north side at the moment. Schiller connects with a nice nade against April. As for Ghetto Gang, I mean, technically, I'm surprised they survived as long as they did from that water. They've done all right for themselves, but I don't think it lasts much longer here, Avenger.
I don't think so either. I don't see that happening, honestly, but again, squeezing point, salvaging point. It's gonna get close. Look how close it is even. They're out there. Ghetto Gang, sad for them, man. They had that compound. That is the magnet compound. And then we get a crazy phase 3 shift that throws all their plans into absolute spanner here. That's so unfortunate for them. SG, though, 11 kills. They've turned up, James. They've tied 5th place now. We talked about them at the start of the day. And now here by game 4, they're able to turn on and get some points here. Schiller 7 again, another standout performance for this guy. Blue zones, nades, everything is being thrown onto no tag here. They still, yeah, they still. Oh, Rafa goes down 2 doors, find that too many teams, 2 central already. They should have fought for an edge rather to go central at that point.
Isto znači, i pogledaj sad, imaš ovaj Bushido Wildcats. Jel to Bushido BV, jeste, ja? Znači, oni ako vinaju ovo, sve što će se desiti je izjednačit će se tablica. I bukvalno ulaziš zadnji game, svi mogu da prođu. A izgleda mi kao da će oni da vinaju. Mada je si full formen i PGG full formen.
For them, this doesn't matter, but for Bushido
Wildcats,
this means a whole
Ali šta god da se desi, tipa, ako Bushido Wildcats vina s 15, znači oni će imati koliko, 22, 23, 24.
Da, opet su napad.
Ako PGG vina ili Ascend vina, oni su prošli svakako. Jedna i druga ekipa idu na 50+. Što znači da šta god da se desi, ovi naši mogu sa vinom da prođu dalje. Jer su tako raspoređeni poeni, razumiješ?
Da, ovo njima odgovara.
Hajdel će da padne sad. Znaš, on pada. Malo mrtav je.
Ketter's jumping for info in distance. Oh my god, finds Presenti quite easily.
Ketter baš
He's jump peeking from the other side. He doesn't see it at all. Look at that.
Najbolji scenario nam je da PGG vina sa 500 kg. PGG problem je.
Nije ga vidio.
Ne vidi ga, evo, koga ne vidi, nije jasno.
Ovo
nam je ekstra. I vi kako dijele bodove, svi sad dijele bodove.
T-Bone comes into the barrel. Can he find more? Can he find another knock here? Sabila
Bravo,
opens up. Oh my god,
Ovo je
Ascend's on
idealno, brate,
absolute
bukvalno
mare
idealno.
here.
Okay, hello Wildcats.
Mislim
Now is the
idealno,
time to
znaš.
pounce. Let's strike from the shadows. Let's get this done.
Najidealnije bi nam bilo da BV umre sad. Da Bushido umre i da ostane novih 17. Dobro, mogu ostane 17, ali još.
Okay, now, there's one we
Ali da ne vinaju.
Okay.
Ketter finds another knock onto Kodbago here. They have to go for the rest, and it's outside the zone here. It's Chris is lurking onto them
Ovdje
with
se
an M2 fun.
baš masu Salik
Looking
pita.
to just
Salik se pita
absolutely
masu
destroy
ovdje.
Bushido Wildcats. Celtic here, could he get something? T-Bone trying the confirmation onto Presenti here. Oh my god, it's Chris just easily finds a knock onto Celtic
Neće
here.
bebe.
Wildcats should have started this fight way earlier on, so Ascend. They gave them way too much space here. Oh, look at that though. Salago opens up on Keter. He might be going down here. He does indeed go down. That's
Salik izbacio bicu.
I mean, I totally get it that they're playing for the 10 points at the end and maybe just the cleanup overall, and that might be able to push them on in. In fact, it will push them in if they get the win as well as a few more
Realno gledano nemaju šanse danas. Imaju šanse. Evo sad pričamo 10 minuta o tome. Šanse imaju. Sad pitanje kako je njima psihičko stanje. Realno izgubili su sve jedan fight koji su uzeli danas, tako da vjerojatno su malo pali sa samopouzdanje. Tipa ako mogu da prevaziću taj dio i da kažu sebi ok, boli nas kurac, idemo dalje, fight će doći, samo igraj i odu na sve ili ništa, vine meč prošli.
Naravno, ja mislim da
killing some of the Ascend guys or getting some of the kills onto PGG if they already put themselves into a kind of northern position. And with this circle here, James, surely they're going to be winning this.
Surely, smokes go down here for Ascend, who I will say, as much as yes, they're in #1 and they know that they've already done enough to qualify themselves to the finals. They're a very prideful bunch, and they will be wanting to look for as many wins as possible. They ain't going to be giving this to Wildcats at all if they can help it. They have a number disadvantage though. Spray is going into the side of these smokes as well. Code Marco, let's see what you can do. It's been all meta bay apparently in this game so far.
Ili da uzmu drugo mjesto 20.
Also 7 PGC points to first place compared to the 3 in 5th place. So that's something to play for. It could be cut off. That could be a tiebreaker till later. Tebow goes down.
Bushido, ako vino ovo 26, jel? Sam dobro začuno.
Chris goes down half as well. Surely Bushido Wildcat closes this one out, but I really hope
there's going to be like a 10-point, 10-kill win for them
to put them on 20 total here. But
ovim naši moraju da vinaju.
And one more kill for It's Chris here potentially. So
Jel nima uračunava?
Could be 6 more total to come.
Sad jedni imaju drugu imaju uračunato 6.
Oh my god! No! Chris gets 2. Is he going to be able to get a third? He's going to move very aggressively on this. He knows that he's not even with him. This could be a disaster for Bushido Wildcats. If they do not get this win, Avenger, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely insane if they are not able to close this one out.
Mislim, treba im win i jevi ga, treba im da je zvage i tamo umiru.
Traded knock maybe here and they go 2 versus 2, yeah. But still, Ascend has a little bit less advantage in terms of the terrain, in terms of the circle is pushing them here. They are currently outside the zone. They can just slide in a little bit and a nade already. Oh my god, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. Oh, it's not too short, James.
Too short.
Difficult
to throw it through some of these tree branches as well. Sometimes they do get knocked on that, and that's a double blue zone, which is way too short as well. You can see Chris has moved up onto the position, which is a little bit further towards any kind of semblance of them playing the circle. But Crossbow has the majority position when it comes to the center. That's a good move here from Bushido Wildcats to try and lock this down. Leaving Code Marco on edge. Try and see if he can sneak on around here and get that backstab on the boys.
Velika šansa da onda Ascend win.
Cover comes down perfectly for him as well. Oh, the spot from Code Marco. Yeah, he's down.
Teško je what is it?
Surely should be it. He sees T-Bone as well in the distance, goes for a big spray.
25 poena, 25, dobro je, znači imam bocu manju uzelo što sam mislio da će. 25 poena, naši sa vinom, računaš da je prosječan win s 10 kilova, to je 20 poena, to je 28 ukupno. Znači njima bi idealno trebao win s 15 kilova, ono da bi bili safe. Jebi ga, mi ne odustajemo od njih, sad ćemo vidjeti da li su oni odustali.
Dobro, ne odustajem dok ne vidim da su pali u jednim game. A koliko može proći po gula?
What were Bushido Wildcats doing? I mean, yes, that game does put them in a great position on the leaderboard with the win because they had to get that win. It looked dicey, but it's so tough now at the top of the tables with Ascend and PGG getting another good game. Anyone can have a chicken dinner, 10 kills, and get themselves into the top 5 now. It is so scary for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we can play devil's advocate on the other side as well, right? We're being a little bit critical. Like, they know as well, I guess, Avenger, it's like, okay, but if we just survive, maybe in turn the kills will come to us. And unfortunately for them, where they were playing from, no one was interested in going anywhere near them the entire game, aside from being downhill from them.
I'm critical because I know these guys are so good players, right? And I think, and I raised them to such a high level of standard. You can see Metabay with that drive-by. He destroyed him. And that's the things I want to see. And I understand the priority of survivability and being 4 alive for that late game. Because if they're not 4 alive, it's Chris destroys them, right? He easily takes 2 1 versus 1s. And I understand that that's the priority, right? And for me, I expected the win from them. But I just wanted the 7, 8, 9 kills alongside the win. And that's why I hold them to such a high standard. I know these guys are so good players, but I really wanted to see them come out a little bit earlier to lock that down, either by backstabbing and third-partying Ascend as they were fighting and spreading out. But they know that Ascend is already qualified, so I understand the kind of discipline of saying, guys, if we go in against these guys, they're going to throw everything at us, commit every single utility just to survive. Yeah. We need all the utility to late game.
Well, it is still 3 spots open, because as much as they got to win, they're only 2 points clear of the barrier. Here are Bushido Wildcats. Yo is in 4th place with 24, technically joint with S2G, who, as a Turkish team, was able to make a massive jump up as well in this game. Thanks to Schiller again, Black. Schiller in day 1 was amazing here for S2G, but they didn't do enough. In day 2, he's been amazing, but it still might not be enough with just 1 game remaining.
I mean, Schiller's basically the walking cane of S2G right now, because they are leaning on him hard right now to get them through a lot of these late games and these mid-game performances. But I think S2G still can do this. I think they're very good at prioritizing getting 4 people towards that late game. Again, that game is very hard to be hard on them for, though, because of how difficult it was of a game to play for every single team inside of that lobby. It was not an easy game whatsoever. I think that overall, when I'm looking at this going forward, though, I honestly, production, if we could bring up the leaderboards again, I think that's what most of us would quite like to take a look at, because it's a ridiculous roundup of teams. Thank you very much.
Bog Dulke, šta je sa RL, nisam pratio. RL igra sutra, ljudi. Predlanje sutra. Dulke be like 1% chance, 99% fake. A jevi ga vrać. Ja stvarno vjerujem u njih. Zato sam i kritičan.
This is crazy. The new guy's throwing his weight around already. Production do this, production do that.
Čim ja mogu da kažem, kao super igraju, nemaju sreće. Ja vas dogovorim svoje mišljenje, mislim igraju kao kurac cijeli dan. U ovom mečaju nisu imali sreće, ali i dalje mislim da je loš kol da padaju padobranom u gradu. Ne bi to nikad kolo za 3 života, zato što ne postoji zona koja ide taj kol. Nema te zone koja ide tamo. Ja ne znam da se vidi, možda ima naš fazon, kao ima, uvijek ima, ali nisam vidio. Ali da kažeš, jer fazon da oni su dobili taj fight. Čak i da je vratila zona nazad. A ništa ne bi radili. Bio bi kick sami dalje.
I mean, it could be 3 different teams.
Al da kažemo, taj fight je baš bio unlucky, jer sjećate se da je Slaven uletio i ona bomba šta je ispala ubila dvojicu. To je ono, ako možeš da kažeš da je nešto bilo unlucky, to je bilo unlucky. Sve ostalo, što individualne greške, što timske su bile za go kurac. Evo ga, loš dan. Ako ne prođu danas, sutra gledamo i njih i Redline. Jebi ga, sutra je samo top 3, tako da ono, idealan scenarij, obje ekipe prolaze, ali bit će baš čupavo. Bit će baš čupavo. Ljudi, sutra ćemo da radimo predict, a bit će 50 evra price pool za predict. Ono, standardno. I pobjednika pa ćemo da imamo. Od kako su prestali streamova, sve je krivo nizbog. A dobro, znaš, šta god oni, svi s fazona da im radi, znaš. Nije baš od kako su prestali streamovat. Oni su osvojili onaj prvi kup i poslije tog prvog kupa su krenuli igrat za kurac, jer šta znam, mislim, znaš, ono, bezbjedili su playoff i od tad sve što rade loš. Ja sam tad pričao da mi se ne sviđa način na koji igraju, jer mislim da će da plate glavom.
lineup. Obviously, sure, Ketter is one of my
Što ne znači
guys,
da je
my
to sad
roommate
razlog
at
zbog
PUBG
čega
last
oni
year.
loš
Such
igraju,
a
samo
underrated player.
loš.
We've seen it
Samo
already.
loš
The
dan,
amount
loš
of
kolo i
knocks he
sve
gets
loš.
with the bolt actions, some crazy knocks he gets.
Tako da nije
from
to baš
long
do
range.
streama, nego
Ins-
jednostavno
insane
znaš,
performance.
tako je.
And of course,
U tom su
to
nekom
pair him up
naletu.
with three
A jeziva
extremely
ekipa,
experienced players,
bukvalno
these guys
jeziva
have been,
ekipa, ne znaš
you know,
ko je
to
bolji od
PNC,
kojeg u
to
fajtu,
PC,
ne
back in the
želiš da se
Chris,
fajtaš protiv njih.
T-Bone for Team UK throughout the years, and back with Heroic, and like these guys are sturdy
Ne znaš
players.
ko bolje
And
puca
then
od
he
kojega.
comes in and also plays alongside these guys and does this well. It's so exciting.
A imaju taj sistem svoj, znaš, kao svi kolaju, nemaju ono konkretno IGL-a, možda i to, znaš, možda to malo ubija, recimo, igrača, mislim, Slavena možda malo ubija, znaš. Znaš, možda malo frageri previše razmišljaju, to je.
But anyway, we can actually listen on PGG's
Sad može biti da nije
here
to, nemam
from
pojma,
this
to oni
game
znaju.
as we get ready for the final one. So let's check
Jesu
in.
uspjeli proći, ne znam, evo čekamo, imamo još jedan game. Moraju da vinaju game, znači sad ovo nema. Sad ovo nema, čak ne moraju ni da jure killove, samo treba da vinaju game, ono. Bilo bi idealno, ono, 15 killova, ali ne mora, znači bitno je da pređu 10 killova.
Направо едет на скалу, по-моему, забил.
Tako da realno ne moraju da jure killove, samo da vinaju game, ono.
У тебя возможно справа.
Васик с ебалом один был.
Уехали.
В траншейке.
Nisu 4 tjedna odigrali ozbilje. Nisu, znaš, ali sad...
Вот у меня траншея вот тут где-то, либо
To
на
oni
мне
znaju,
прям.
jebi ga, to oni znaju. Oni znaju šta je problem, znaš, mi sa strane možemo samo da nagađamo.
Бегут в опане. За деревьям, ебут, а нок.
Realno nisu. A sad, mislim da to nije jedan razlog,
Еще
znaš.
двойка,
Nekad nemaju
двойка
sreće,
живчик,
nekad su loši kolovi,
Двойка
nekad se
живчик.
samo
Инка стоит.
previše zajebavaju. I sad sve to kombinovano
Добить нахуй.
Не могу, не вижу.
ti da tu lošu komu koju imaju.
Еще нокнул одного. Максим, твои хрен ребят, или забила?
Макс, ко мне заехать.
Поехали.
Koliko mogu?
Смог даю.
Stari,
Даю.
promijeniti
Мы стоим,
dosta.
бой здесь с тобой стоим.
Ne treba ni tu ništa nužno. Pa ne treba ništa nužno da mijenjaju, znaš. Mislim, nemam pojma.
Одно.
Znaš, pa da, mislim samo da psihu treba malo poštelaju i to je to.
Avenger liked most, which was divide. He loves that.
Restart zaboraviti na ova
Let's
dva
go!
dana i
It's,
to.
you know, everyone understands.
A nije 2 dana, znaš, oni su prvi dan igrali fantastično. Evo sad, oni su realno
jesu,
prodali
ali
zadnji meč samo i to je to.
Realno gledano mentalno,
These guys maintain confidence, they maintain four guys live, and they have such an impact on a lot.
Jevi ga, znaš.
At this point, going into the last game,
I to ti je malo problem, sad mi pričamo tu kao da oni, ljudi su bili na bod da uđu u finale, juče. Jel? I sad jesu prodali i sve to stoji, ali ipak to je bod bio. Sad da su oni uzeli taj bod juče, ne bi sad bilo priče o tome. Jevi ga, ovo je surova igrica. Kao i EMEA, jedan udarac. I te dijeli od toga, hoće li ti ljudi komentarisati loše ili dobro. Tako je taj jedan bod. Sad mi pričamo o tome kao šta je loše, a evidentno je da loše donose odluke ili šta god.
I think today when you're watching this, the glue is finding together in this team and they look like a whole unit. I really do like it a lot. And especially when you're watching these 2-2 splits they're going for, a lot of the time it's very clear the communication on this team is top notch at this point, which is great to see. And I think PGG is only going to find more success off the back of this.
One more game, one more Erangel before we wrap things up here, and this might be a moment where I think to myself, you know what, I could ask you guys, who do you think's going to make top 5? But the fact that there are still 12 teams that could quite easily, there's no answer to it, Blank. It's a tough one. It's really a tough one.
It's easy to, who doesn't make it, James? No.
There's 2 teams that don't make it, I'll tell you that much.
I'll say this right now, I think there's 2 teams that doesn't make it, guys. That's my bet.
Well, we're getting word that one of our teams unfortunately crashed, so we're just kind of rejoining this lobby and getting you good to go. More time to talk with the new guy. And Martin, of course, as well. But it's definitely been a treat, Martin, considering the games that we've seen, and be it the insanity of the Miramar game and the wonkiness of this rondo. It's always cool to see teams have to be tested by a rondo like that, and I do feel bad for Boars that they kind of abandoned the pillar.
Man, that was in until phase 6. Like, they would have been able to lay the hammer down onto Bushido Wildcats, onto Ascend, onto No Tag, like everyone at that kind of central south side, they would have been able to have such an impact. That would have potentially been a qualifying game for them, right? We're talking 10 plus kills, like 4 plus points from placement alone. So yeah, that would have been cool. Sadly, didn't stay there. And also, no one would have thought that phase 3 shift, and then on top of that, phase 4 shift happened back to back. That's just so unheard of. It's so rare to see those wonky circles, I'd say.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that the majority of teams are playing that game right. That's the crazy thing, Blank.
Yeah.
They're all like, they see that shift towards the north, they're like, okay, we'll all go towards the north. We'll have a great old grand time up there. And then, you know, even if we have to fight through teams on the edge, at least we know that maybe if we win those fights, we're going to have a spot to play up here. No, none of that. None of that. All to the window, trying to figure something out.
I just checked, right, guys? When just before that circle popped, right, on the southern side, the only teams on the southern side was Ascend and No Tag. Bushido Wildcats was on the north, outside blue, kind of by Nanchang. Far rotating, right? But there was only 2 teams that was on the south side. Ascend obviously doing great, but No Tag team, they could actually taken anything they wanted and probably had a big one from it, though.
Blank?
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where I think that you have to be very, very confident in your gameplay on the day. For a team like PGG, for instance, take the example for them, is the fact that they want to fight down there. And I mean, for those circles, we've had plenty of them today, even over on Miramar. That was fairly insane, where you've really got to fight for your life in this tournament. I mean, 5 games a day is just, it's so hard. It is so hard.
Yeah, we're going into game number 5 now, and knowing that Hicks is a BRDM in real life. That man looked like a tank. But anyway, it is time. Blank, thank you very much. We'll check in with you after the game as we have our last Erangel here to wrap things up. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You're in for a treat, because 12 teams could quite easily make it through into the finals of just this game alone. With me as Avenger to bring you the last game.
Yeah, it is, and it's a crazy plane pass to start things off with. We basically cover the entirety of the map from Stalpa to Maborsk here, and yeah, with this one, James, damn, what a... I don't think I've ever seen a best of 1 for 12 teams in 3 spots. Like, that is just crazy. 10 points between 12 teams. Any of these teams with a great game can make it. The question is, what's the cutoff going to be like, and how close are you going to be to heartbreak here?
There's going to be a lot of onus on some of these teams trying to get those central positions very early on a circle like this. And if you get a circle to start off the game, you are going to be laughing, and you need to shore up your defenses as quickly as possible. One thing that's always concerning me is the fact that James is very far away from the rest of his team on Ferry Pier, looking for vehicles along the road and then bringing that on back. I get it. I understand it. It's a big play to try and get as many vehicles on board as possible. It's a far west circle with a lot of water in it already, Martin. As if we hadn't tested these teams already, we're going to be in an accelerated game state. Uh-oh.
That's just so scary, man. I cannot believe we go west once again here. And it's so far west that we're not going to end anywhere close to where we've seen before. And damn, the tendencies in these circle, man, it's just so much west. It's absolutely crazy. No Ted team laughing here. Ghetto gang laughing. And construction workers laughing after them being here. It's actually kind of cool to see them go in and grab this and see if they can get something out of it. Meanwhile, though, we have S2G. 5th place right now.
Jer no tak baš dosta loše brani splitove, a igraju splitove često.
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Ovi naši vole da krešaju.
Though about construction workers, I like that. Where's Pat Pavard? We need the WTF
treše idealno njih da kreše.
For construction workers being over there.
Tjebo ih Lukas tenko.
Yeah, no, I feel like technically our Turkish teams, as I said at the beginning of the day, should be able to do something very good in this lobby, like S2G, of course. It's not just been Chilla really today, also Quep has been able to do quite a lot for the team as well. But Bushido Wildcats, what I also noticed from their cameras is that they're on the same location together. So they've taken it very seriously. Obviously, they're kind of locked in. Bushido Wildcats, all in the same location, playing this out, knowing that there's a potential for them to be able to jump up. And I think that technically both Turkish teams should be able to survive.
Yeah, we would assume so. We would hope so for these guys. Been quite the game for them so far. And S2G, with their performance, man, it does feel like they're going to be able to. Their angle was great, and the last game was obviously fantastic for Schiller. Once again, huge performance from him. But you know, construction workers and team vitality in a fight for survival. Vitality needs a
together.
banger game. 4 kills to start things off with here would be huge.
This is
They need to win.
It's such a throwback. South George versus Crates in South George. This is we don't get to see oftentimes anymore. This kind of fight that does go down from time to time. But back in the day, we used to see this all the time.
Yeah.
So I love to see this. As let's see what the guy's going to be able to do with it. Nobody's willing to go all the way up the cranes because that's suicide nowadays against some of these players.
One of the guys. Oh my God, Vat's gone down. Getrock's actually super
Ovo
low
je
as
jako
well.
loše.
But it's Ironside M4. It's a little bit rough here. I cannot believe it.
Papavard's in shambles. No WTSG anymore. Crazy stuff. Although he's not down and out just yet. That's for sure. Oh my God. Well, anyway, as we already have emergency pickup coming in. Nothing. From Yo, as they were a little bit further away by looks of things.
Okay, idu north side.
I was going to start talking about boss here. Their angle into this next circle here might be huge. They actually have quite the opening here with Yo taking this E-pickup here. That whole southwest side could be quite easy. Easy entry for them here, but let's see what happens with construction workers and T-Vitality here. It's a rough fight here. Levantis is going to have to disengage just a little bit. You cannot heal when you only have 1 first aid. You cannot use that on a blue zone tank when you have the angle here. But let's see what the angle of approach is for this team here, James.
Yeah, no, wasn't something that they were going to take on any.
Poslaćete klip, jedan dolke što mi je
Anyway, looks like
Gjorma
Wizzy here is just moving to see if he can get any shots on this rotating pass on Baldini. Of course, they were still kind of stuck in that fight for a little bit, but they are disengaging from construction workers completely now. And not many shots been taken from Baldini, although maybe they'll shoot them from the vehicle. You can see here, hello, my bad vehicle. Just taking a few pot shots wherever they may. Moving in on this northern side.
Can they get further? Can they get deeper than this? Baldini. Close to hospitals, obviously a little bit scary here, but Ghetto Gang is actually locking down this quite nicely with a Bermuda Triangle almost with how many combos they've already locked down here. Sancho, they're going to pull up. Surely this is a pull up from the easy. Sancho's going to have a hard time with a level 1 helmet and a barrel to defend this alone. Is he going to get some help from anybody? Is any other guys? No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like it's going to be left us to himself. Now, meanwhile, also Red Zone just straight on top of them. It's going to create tons of cover outside the compound later on.
Yeah, I don't know about this. Here from I think that maybe, unfortunately, they might have held their split for just a little too long, considering how, I guess, desperate some of these teams are going to be, right, about trying to actually make something work in this final game to avoid being able to play tomorrow. Or, as Blank will put it at the beginning of the day, the opportunity, the chance, the potential for congratulations, you've qualified for tomorrow.
Pa meni izgleda kao da je pucao po...
Not the best of situations.
Znaš, ono, po stranama drve.
If you can get as many games played as possible, obviously it's the greatest, but you want to make sure you get to the grand final. That's where all the points are at, James. Like, there's only 7 points for first here, where there's 250 PGC points for first place in the grand finals.
And tomorrow's going to be terrifying because only 3 teams qualifying. I don't want to play that. Nothing. No. Oh, dear me.
All right, James. With this and how everything kind of goes in, PGG coming in extremely slow. The question is really, though, do they come in slow and try to take something and wrestle something away from someone else, because they're just going to commit everything. You don't want to run into a team unless it's going to be 4 free points for them, but you don't want to be running into a team that's already qualified this much, 49 points. There's no contest here. S2G though, they're discussing something happening at this. They're like, oh, what's going on over there? What's going on over there?
Are they just on a school trip up there? What's happening? That is ridiculous. Well, I mean, I guess they were totally convinced that there was no threats coming from the east side. Of course, they do have Quepro over there, so they are technically in a 3-1, but it's funny to see them as clumped up the way they were. But that was Bushido Wildcats who were just on board with. They're coming in quite late, and they're coming in behind Boars. Maybe they run into them. It's unlikely that they do. There's still a lot of room down on the south side of that circle. If they go all the way around and probably even maybe go all the way just north of Primorsk, I won't put it past Bushido Wildcats to try and get on that west coast. I wouldn't be surprised.
GTG.
I wouldn't be surprised at all here. And also committing to a compound phase 1 with all your cars or everything, and you're losing this a little bit. Not sure it's worth it. Sancho going down though, that's a little bit rough for them. They need as many people upstanding here. They're, you know, sure, not close to 5th place, but a great game they could have done it. Duffy does find one of Balnini guys.
Šta kao, uzet će lik 4 boda, jel?
Quiz is still stuck.
He's waiting patiently.
He is waiting, that's for sure.
That's the big one here. Anybody's as well looting. And, you know, hospital and all their area around it is just going to be one big red zone right now. That's going to be a little bit dangerous, but also that kind of opens the door for a lot of the teams to drive in and around, because all the information from audio is kind of gone when you have the red zone going on.
Yeah.
Circle is closing shortly here, and in about a minute we're going to see where the next one goes. Micah and him, and then finds SJOG. They're losing this. Cripper finds one. Goes down to Aris as well, and Baron's out. That's SJOG out there in the cutoff, James. And they're not going to be inside for the grand final through day 2. They're going to have to wait to day 3.
Well, okay, somebody got hit by a red zone. I need to go back and see how they actually rocked up on Everest, because the thing is that we were making a joke out of the idea that SUG was looking at 3 alive having a picnic up at the top of Everest, but if they just let them roll up like that, things have not gone right there for SUG at all. Oh no.
Njemu je zajebano bez haksa igra.
I honestly cannot believe that
Kakve su to smradine, druž. Odjednom, naš samo prestane da haksa i ono bude najgori ikad.
It's such a great spot. Never mind, there's 50% water in play still. Everest is not even in.
This is a problem, and as Blank would say, congratulations SUG, you've qualified for day 3.
JB.
So,
G.
Well, no.
Čini mi se da je pozicija Joge Bonito JBG.
So much water in this circle, so there's going to be a bit of an emergency here for some of these teams as construction workers is trying to wiggle their way on through.
Sad ako ne vidim send,
what might be some of the dips in those fields. So many of the compounds are already taken.
Da, ako ne vidim. 5 prolazi.
Samo 5, ali vidi, ako vinaju imaju šansu.
Šta, ostaju svi Vajto?
Ne, onda sutra, ovi svi što ispadaju, idu sutra, priključuju se Redline i druge ekipe i ide top 3 sutra. Ovo je bilo blizu Ketera. Znači, Yoga čeka shift sad North George, South George. Ako se ne deši shift South George, oni moraju da sendaju ako žele da vinaju. Moje mišljenje.
Oh my god, TMO falling to Exile, losing 2 players here. That is just so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's getting dicey now. It's really getting dicey very quickly here. The Mythov has just jumped up into the top 5, but if they lose out here, their position could quite easily be under threat. Exile now putting in a lot of damage against them. Still up in Everest and trying to deal with all the players down at the bottom. Ares is gone. The Mythov is bleeding out to the point where their tournament run is going to be in jeopardy, and they're going to have to play out tomorrow as well.
Yeah, for sure. Micah, I don't think 27 is enough. Can he disengage? Can he get something from it? How is chasing? It's driving straight for him, and it's. I think it's the same car. I think he's gonna seat swap and try to.
Yoga. Moguće da sam sjebo, ali sutra ih.
This is also again a stalemate. It's not worth it. PGG's coming in and they're gonna be, oh my god, straight hot run on Team Vitality. Can they get the points? Can they get something out of this? They're out there, they're turning around here. As soon as they land, it's gonna be a straight 3v2. That's gonna be rough. Hello, my bad. Actually already disengaging from this. Nate's dropped on the ground. Selic finds Levanta here. He's gonna swap out, and they've already engaged.
Da, čini mi se da ima dolje mnogo lakše.
Unfortunate for Vitality to have a team that's already qualified to hot drop straight onto you from emergency pickup.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, the rest of them are not even here really to be able to hack.
Više mene sad zanima za minutu ovaj shift koji pada. Mora na Jogu da padne. Bravo, Simone. Bravo, ajmo dečki, ajmo dečki.
PGG trying to shut this down.
Ajmo dečki.
Gedrock's in this building, still alive, still kicking, but Levante's gone as well now.
Ajmo dečki, ovo je sad dobra šansa za Jogu da se rašire. Evo Joge ljudi. Ali samo dečki moraju paziti da je 30 sekundi do shifta. Bolje pozicija nego killovi ovdje. Evo mi se sviđa, brate, kad vidim da...
Na njihovom mjestu moraju igrati poziciju.
Da. I ja isto mislim. I mislim da i oni to isto misle. Vidim da disengage-aju. Ajmo, bježite. Dobre, probali su. A ne, ali ide 10 sekundi.
Pa da,
Sad ima, daj shift gore. Daj shift gore. Not bad, iskreno not bad. Može se.
Yeah, he was stuck in crates for such a long time.
Sad u ovoj situaciji možda na ovoj zonu možda bilo bolje da su probali fight.
There was no reinforcing for him. I was trying to figure out this whole time where on earth he was. He doesn't even have that many.
Sad ćemo da vidimo. Imaju realnu šansu. Nemaju baš sad top spot kao što imaju no tag ekipa, ali...
Tough.
Construction workers here, 0 kills.
Ide yoga. Dobro. Dobar spot, odličan spot. Vidite kako Yoga sad igra proaktivno. Znači ono što nismo vidjeli cijeli dan. Gledamo sad kako igraju proaktivno. Cijeli dan nešto se igraju već neki, nešto se glupiraju. Fajtaju. A gledaj sad kako igraju proaktivno, gdje su došli, na koji spot. I sad lagano imaju šansu za win.
Kako je granatu onaj Justus bacio to mu je play karijere.
Jesi vidio?
Bukvalno play karijere. S kim on igra na sreći?
Igra sa Mikom, Aresom i Himanom. To je možda najtoksičniji lik ikada.
Again, they're going to have huge impact on this lobby. I mean, you came in thinking to yourself, okay, what could actually that cutoff be? But we're going to have such a lower cutoff because of the way in which PUBG and Ascend have actually soaked up those so it's made it so volatile here for this lobby today too.
Evo ga, njega su kikali za Ascenda zbog tih sranja. Kuda upravo.
Kad su ga triko i ovi izbacili to da je Berli pa kubatiš u Berli.
Mika pa to
i oni izbaci Miku da kubaci kubati.
Da, sjećam se to.
Yep, tough one. Let's see what they can get done here.
Bravo Simone, gdje je nokovo?
Been able to do quite a bit here throughout the day.
Gore iznad njih.
Kind of account for their kind of potential skill. Obviously, they was able to do something at the beginning of the previous games. And now they're just kind of bide their time down towards the bottom. They do have some vehicles still available to them.
Koja razlika u igri Yoga? Nenormalna, vidite kako se oni kreću sad. Vidite kako se kreće Yoga sad. Koja razlika u odnosu na sve ostale gameove da su
and did see it just across the way. Flash goes forwards, Fex starts things off. Hello Sampai responds in kind though. Where are the reinforcements here? 4 construction workers. Looks like they're not helping Fex out. They need to be coming in fast and hard against this position and shutting this down. And they are doing Hello Sampai and Marshall shutting them down.
That's crazy. Now it's just needed left. Oh no! Yeah, it's falling completely apart here for construction workers.
Iskreno ću reći, construction workers se imaju dobar send. Vidi, odavde Yoga ima fantastičan send. Fantastičan spot imaju, ali isto tako mogu da igraju ovaj ridge. Ja bi ga sendao. Da sam njihovo mjesto, ja bi ga sendao. Ima takav split imaju u fieldu da je to bolest. Ja bi to sendao. I sakara ono. Ali mislim da će oni da odigraju edge, poznavajući njih. Odigrat će edge, pokušat će uzeti 4, 5, 6 bodova. I onda radi third party, crasha third party na timing, možda centar.
God, that's such a long rotate as well. I don't think they survived. I think Boss completely shuts down this rotation. It's the fields, it's the sent for it. Keta finds Crossberg, meanwhile Marshall finds Flores. It's already falling apart for Exile here.
Bože, sačuvaj. Možda top 3 najgluplje stvari koje sam vidio u PUBG. Majko sveta, se prekrsti milijevom ide. Možda najgori send u životu koji sam vidio. Ovo ne prošlo na kvalifikacije Adrije.
field, where from those fields on the east side, they
Pogledajte
could make a
Send,
miracle
pogledajte
run today.
Send koji rade ovo. To su trebali oni raditi. Po mom mišljenju. Idu pičkom. Evo ga, ovo što igra kod Marko Vitalo. Ali dobro, okej. Oni su izabrali ovo, to je njihov playstyle, vidjet ćemo. Ari, jebo si mi majku, ali hvala puno živio.
All the way in the compound towards that swamp area. Yeah, exactly. So technically they have options available as well. There is a big push though, actually on towards Yo here as Starry Sky has moved up alongside them as well. That could be quite detrimental to them. PWD is going to be greeting it to start things off here. Silas knocking on the door, seeing what he can get done, charging up a bit of a nade. Going to be throwing that on through, seeing if he can do anything. I think somebody moved into the back rooms. Ooh, okay.
Ovo će biti zanimljiv fight, gledajte. Navijamo za vas ovdje.
Here comes the reinforcements from Starry Skies. What can get done here? This is
Ajmo jebovin, mogu da vine. Treba malo sam se poklopi fightova da mogu third party odradi fino. Gle bombe ove, bombe Silerza. Bombe Vaza.
Vatso finds Cappy, now it's 2 knocks on Yo. They need to deter this ongoing onslaught that's coming on from Starry Sky here.
Skontajte da je lik ubacio bombu kroz one prozor što ima one daske po njemu. Ugledajte što bacio bombe, ljudi, što je ovo?
Do have a Panzer Faust in the hands. Yeah, stick the res. I like it. He's got a Panzer Faust in the hands. That's actually huge here. He's coming in. He's gonna need. Oh my god, he's gonna jump out. Oh my god, his mom is gonna find him.
Ljudi,
just 2 here. Michael did get the res off.
Vazo bi mogo da prođe s ovim. Ako da shiftijem dolje. Mislim, ako ne ideš to, ovo je pravi spot. Ma gotovo, evo Jim pada. Bravo, dečko.
Yo is down, and that is going to be them having to play out day number 3 here.
That's insane. The
Dobre.
shift even came there.
Yogi ponestaje spotova.
Push from Starry Sky.
Mogli bi da
Oh
uzmu...
my god, I cannot believe that's
Jel
exactly
ovo
how it turned
rupa,
out for
jel
them. And
nema
also
rupa
staying
klebala
Fall Guys
ispod
strong is
lijeva
massive.
PGG-a?
And also we have to say that 20-point game was a dream come through for Yo, but they only had 4.
Imaju rupu ovdje, ali to je ne ide dobro rupa. Najbolja rupa je ovo gdje su PGG i Bushido valjda. Ali znaš šta je... Ajmo. A ne, ovo je iza noko, ovo je iza noko. Ne, iz ove pozicije... Ne znam što se pisao. Ja ne vidim kako mogu proći sve pozicije. Kako mogu vina iz ovog spoda. I sad na ovaj third party uleti. Ma ne, ali jednostavno su zakasnili. Nervira me kad vidim ovo, brate. Nervira me kad vidim da ovako odigraju, brate. Jebote, sendajte jednom u životu, brate, na treću zonu. Jednom u životu sendajte, jebote, živo. A nije naše pozicije, brate. Kolo sam im play 3 zone ranije dulje. I samo gledaš kako ih PGG prestiže, ono. I sad moraju na pure talent, što bi se reklo, da prođu. Ono. Eto, ide sad send. Ide sad send. Ide sad send na Bushido, ide send. Ajmo, molim vas, ajmo, molim vas. Ajmo. Nije, samo su zakasnili 40 godina na ovaj play. Jebote, Bog.
Taken down to and only 8 points. It's complete opposite to what Blank said. He said, these guys are top 5. They're not Blank, they're last place.
A jes, lakše da gledaš.
Ma ne zborim ja ništa, naravno da je lakše da gledaš, ali... Jednom send nisam vidio od njih, brate. Znači, bukvalno kao da je svijet crno-bijeli, jebote. Znaš, ono, kao igramo Edge sad, kao da je postulat da se igra Edge non stop. Kao da ne postoji drugi play, nego igrat ćemo Edge. Pa ako imamo metar zone u Edge, igrat ćemo metar zone u Edge. A ne, nerviram se, zašto mi je stalo. Sutra treba 2 ekipe naše da se bore za 3 mjesta.
Where is this mortar going? Where is that going?
Straight toward balls and Storm request. And Ghetto Gang as well. No tag teams out. And they're outside the top 6. I cannot believe it. They had such consistent performances, but not enough kills. and not enough placement points throughout the day puts them at 25 points. Look at Starry Sky though, 3 more points and they're into the top 5 position here.
Oh, they're losing Nitro, but surely a storm from that compound, surely just a few more points would push them over the myth of. As we do have still Storm on Request technically has 4 alive, but they're in a bad spot on that north side. Eventually, people are going to start shooting at them once they have to move into these circles. And Boz is one that has 12 kills, by the way, in this game, and has rocketed themselves up the board. What a game from Boz.
Both Storm and Request and Starry Sky with 3 and 4
Storm and Request. Moram da ti pošaljem naš sajt, nešto Instagram. Da pogledaš video. I prvo kad pogledaš video, pogledaj posle komentar.
Does Storm and Request get something out of this one? Good shots here from Silas. Taking on multiple finds. It's Chris even. That's such a good... It's gonna get stolen. No, he gets the confirmation. Such a good
position. Ma gotovo ljudi, ja ne znam, matematika je to čista, ne znam, to mi je računalo.
Shots coming in from Silas. Doesn't heal. He ego peaks them with 37 HP. Unbelievable scenes here.
That's the thing about Silas, man. Like, there were so many prodigies in this. Oh no, he's dropped his nade at the wrong spot. Okay, actually, never mind about Silas because this is important here for Storm on Request because currently they're unfortunately dropping the nades at their base.
Pogledaj Bushido što igra. Ono što Yoga trebalo da igra. To tu men će napraviti sranje svim.
PGG is the top 2 dogs fighting off against one another. They know that this is just for fun in the end. They know that they've been able to move on through. Maybe a few PGC points here and there between them if PGG is able to overlap them, and they do. They take number 1 off Ascend here in the final formative moments.
Look at that. Bushido Wildcat striking at the right time here. Storm and Request has a chance, James. They can still do this. I think Starry Sky wins no matter what. The question is, can they take on Bushido Wildcats and take their spot away and get a few more kills? Potentially could take over Bushido Wildcats too. Let's see what happens. They're out. They're gone. That's it. And that is our final 5 here. Starry Sky makes it. Bushido Wildcats off the win of the last game and a potential good performance here.
Bravo, Vazo, doktore.
What's crazy about our final 5 that's able to make it forward is 5 of the 6 last teams.
Sutra će da bude, ako sam se danas nervirao, sutra grizem tastaturu bukvalno. Znači, dvije naše ekipe moraju biti u top 3.
Starry Skies and Boars have been able to just rocket up the leaderboards here. And look how Boars is flexing out as well against this compound. They're feeling it, man.
They found the gauntlet. They found everything here, and look at that. I'll say this though, it is a heartbreak for Yo. They had this compo. They're not able to defend it from Starry Sky, and it puts them into such a great spot here for them. Marshall tries to lock down the angle, tries to lock down Starry Sky's push into this next circle. Silas already inside. Got the information here.
Gledajte spot, Bushido.
Jesi pogledao video?
The question is,
pogledaj video I posle pročitaj prvi komentar.
4th and 5th, because there's PGC points on the board as well for these teams, and they're close, they're tight.
Yes, they are, and we've seen those PGC points come right down to the wire at the end of the year. And we've seen even some, in inverted commas, kind of surprise rosters be able to make it from our region, right? If you think about how Team EMEA started out at the beginning of 2025 and then became those kind of organizations towards PGC, it's because they were unsigned orgs that then made it to PGC via the PGC points. So
Ja znaju ovi da su prošli, pa ne znaju, dakle znaju. Broje, znoje se, ali ne znaju još uvijek.
For sure, and Boss with the 12 kills and the top 4 guaranteed here.
Znaš, ono, pretpostavljaju da su prošli, ali ne mogu biti 100% sigurni, jer, znaš, ne znaju koliko su tačno TMO, koliko je tačno TMO imao kilova, znaš. Uvijek postoji šansa da si nešto... Znaš, možda sad, evo sad, pošto im je neaktivno skoro, možda neko broj, znaš, ono, ali mislim da ne znaju 100%.
Proper gaming in this one. Every time a team was tried to crash in them on the radio tower, then they knew exactly what they needed to do from those dips. Mystics had a little bit of favor about being able to have that dip in for as long as they did over on the east side.
Pa I da znaju, bore se za poziciju više za PGC poen.
They've been able to transition cleanly and
even
move towards some of the smokes that they've thrown down in the middle of these fields. Just concerned how many smokes that they have available to them later on. Snakes trying to dislodge Bushido.
Oh my god, it hit the other side of the Dorito. Look at that. More nades coming in.
Pogledajte koliko je ovo dobar spot, brate. Plače mi se kad vidim da su ova dvojica tu uzela, a ne naši četvorici.
To come the way of Bushido Wildcats here. So no, plenty of utility here. 6 stun grenades. He's prioritized the stun grenades. You're not going to need 6 first aids. That's crazy. Maybe some blue shot, but yeah, we'll see. Good covers on this.
Za koga pričaš?
5 kills so far.
Za Bushido.
Pa ne mogu zašto su duo, da su četvorica laga.
Pa to.
I'm not sure that Bushido
A i to ti je pitanje, znaš. Mislim, vjerojatno Bor zvina ovo, ali ono. Sve zavisi gdje će metak završi na kraju.
To make sure we're in.
Jedan ok mijenja smjer puša bilo koje ekipe. Sad svi idu na lijevo, jel? I onda bi Bors trebao da vina. Ali ako se desi na kontra stranu nok, odmah se okreće puš.
Who probably are a bit scared, and yeah, as you say, Starry Skies 8 though is definitely nothing to sniff at, but it's so close to the cutoff that okay, we're gonna have some deployable cover here coming on in for Bors as well. They're making small leapfrogs forwards, but this is kind of what happens in some of these field endings, especially when all the teams know that technically there's not a lot on the line.
Imamo Redline, imamo
It's not
Najlopa.
just top 5, it is also a sprinkling of PGC points here and there.
Yeah, for sure. Balls, though, they're poised to win this one. Look at their angles. Look at the cover they have already, James. Could be a big lockdown. Eventually, though, we're going to see Bushido Wildcats have this fight here with Slorjak with this zone pushing him out now. Going to be trying to push him to the smoke here. Surely Starry's guy is going to peek on this side here. Maybe throw an
Baci mi koliko 3 bombe, 4.
into one of these smokes.
Dobar moli.
Going through as well. That could be on the money. No, it's not. It's just short. Oh, Medibay finds him. Oh, okay. Look at that. Okay, PGG, great effort. Great campaign for them today, though. 63 points.
Što znači, ma ne mogu oni bi nas dvojicom, ali pogledaj sad situaciju gdje imaju 4 igrača.
Huge uptick for them compared to yesterday. No, Stylers, the Stylish guys trying to
Sutra, a ne, kad opet igraju što su prošli nas, koji dati nisu. Sutra igraju ovi što su ispali. I ovi što su bili, koja ne znam tamo pozicija, ona neđe do 20 i nek...
Do 21. Ja mislim da je 17. do 21.
Ima 2 playoffs, ali za prvo finale, ima i 2 finale. No, čitam šta Dino piše.
Great
to
to actually have available to you. Really changes the dynamic of a lot of these field endings, especially. Big nade though, nobody goes down just yet. How has he been able to sneak up here?
Lako sam pročitao na speri da idu direkt.
30th angle, everyone Star's guy, Mama goes down. That's so unfortunate. But that locks down Star's guy completely.
Ne, nego imaš jedan playoff za jednu finalu, drugi playoff drugu.
That's for sure. Look at that, Marshall opens off on Bushido Wildcats. More shots coming in too. Oh, he's got a disengage. 7 kills and almost 1,000 damage. Almost a 1k clock performance for him in this game.
Yeah, 960 damage done at the moment, but Hicks is actually one-man army on this side here, trying to shut down Starry Skies. They're trying to transition on through, but he gets another one here. Vazo is down. That Starry Sky is absolutely debilitated in all of this. And he's going for more against Bushido Wildcats. He tries to take Medibay, and yes, he does, but it will be Code Marco replying in kind. But this should be Bors running through these fields, cleaning everything up. Silas remaining, and he's gone.
You cannot be giving the Infinity Stone to the boss. They are going to be absolutely destroying everything with it. Look at that, 15 kills. 2 more to be had, even if they found both. They're not going to flush here. Look at that. It goes their way, and that's just insane. Look at that. 17 and a win to shut the day off for boss and guarantee a top 5.
Ali pitanje je da su živi bili, ko bi radio killove. Bushido bi bio mrtav, recimo.
What a spectacular jump up from the Boars here for the last game. I didn't think it was going to be them towards the very end of this, but they have.
Imali bi killove na Bushido, imali bi killove na PPG dolje.
Joining us once again to talk about this is Blank, of course, and this provided so much for the Boars and then for the win.
It's such an amazing spot on the map as well. You can really bide your time here a lot. But if you've got the chops to make it happen and fight from this position, there is so much to be had from here. It's really fun area to play from. But I will say, for Bors, I don't know what happened between Cups and the PEC Championships, but they have either done a lot of fixing in between the team, because this is not the same Bors we saw from those 5 weeks. This is a completely revitalized team.
Well, no doubt Marshall really the MVP for them in this game, right? 7 kills, never mind everything else that they were able to take away from this Martin. So just a spectacular showing from them in what was, for everybody else, kind of a difficult game, apart from them with that dip. Everybody else having to deal with these fields, it was just tough.
And also doing it with a 3-man, right? They had Louis having that angle inside, basically. They have to go into the swamp side or the southern side, right? So it's a 3-man, and I can tell you as much as I think the week spent off the cops coming into PC, it's been looking for the Infinity Stone, that's for sure. Like, they have leveled up to another level here, and the man themselves, we're talking about it, Hicks, has the off angle, has the opening, knocks onto the Starry Skies guys, and completely locked that down, yeah. Bushido Wildcats, I'll say this, though. Great performance in terms of their consistency and placement, but we need to see more kills for them once we get into the grand final.
And here we are, 27 points. That will be definitely the biggest game of the day for Boars. To jump up into that top 5. Congratulations to them. You've qualified onto the grand final, and I think for actually, I'm trying to think if any of these players, Avenger, have ever been in the final of a PEC or PCS or anything regionally. I don't think so, right?
Hello, Senpai?
No, for Boars? Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Well, yeah, true enough. 50 points for them, able to jump all the way on in. Bushido Wildcats survives the onslaught, as well as Starry Skies Blank being able to jump on.
Yeah. I mean, the stars definitely aligned there. I think this is a scrappy squad, but they have really, I just admire them so much. They really gave it their all throughout the entirety of the cups. I mean, even when it looked a little bit gloomy, that star was shining in the sky for them there, and they've come out swinging and managed to get into 5th place here with 30 points. Again, that is one thing that this team has amongst all the other squads. It's just this determination, which is sort of unrivaled.
Yeah, we get one of our teams from Turkey being able to survive the Onslaught Avenger, but not S2G, as I don't know what was going on Everest. That's a disaster for them.
Yeah, I can tell you this much, though. They had 22 kills. That's the 4th most in the lobby, but they had 2 placement points. And that's simply not enough to put them into the top 5, though. Marshall, so close to 1K club. Both also pretty close for Silas, too, but 7 kills, man. Balls just turned on in this game, and that was just an absolute blessing for them and for us to watch as well. That was great game. I love that.
Silas, that smile, that damn smile. He's a cheeky chappy, especially when we were watching his stream all those times. But good to see him being able to do so much with that. And here's the PGC points update, right? Because every single day throughout these qualifiers into each 2 weeks of final, you get the opportunity to get some PGC points on the board, and they do teeter on down from here. So congratulations, of course, to PGG for taking an extra PGC point against Ascend in this last game, Blank. Because who knows? Maybe 1 point is the difference maker at the end of the year.